Drewzy, what's up, mate?
Good day, Dill. You ready for another massive game of footy this weekend?
Get their first win of the year.
We've got Carlton, who got embarrassed against Richmond last week, and they're looking to bounce back against the hottest team in football, the Hollywood Hawthorn Hawks. Now, we've been talking a lot of footy recently, and I'm not getting sick of ya, but I want something new, someone fresh. The first guest of Footy from the Flat. And I'm going to call in one of the all-time greats of the AFL YouTube space. He goes by the name of the young King Cookson.
Yes, guys, welcome back to another episode of Footy from the Flat. A very special one tonight for a couple of reasons. We have a massive clash between Hawthorn and Carlton. Particularly, that game is a big one because of that round one result for Carlton, losing to Richmond, which was extremely unexpected by all. But we also have a special guest on the channel tonight. I'm joined by the one and only YouTube royalty here, young King Cookson.
Yes.
How are you, mate?
Oh, doing well. Now I'm nervous after that.
Did I go too big?
No, it was good.
No, not big enough. This is a pioneer of AFL YouTube right here, boys and girls. Don't get it twisted. One of the greatest to ever do it.
Whoa, just Kados, mate, is what I've heard. So
No,
it's all right.
Kados is your mate.
Oh, yeah.
We boys, we do have a pretty big clash tonight to go through. It is Hawthorn up against the Blues. I was going to say who is this more important for, but it's obviously Carlton, right?
Yeah.
What are we looking at here?
A dub for the Blues, I reckon. They absolutely choked on last week.
You actually think Carlton will win tonight?
Yeah, I've tipped them. It's not like I put the house on it. It's going to happen. Like, clearly Hawthorn look like the better team, but I don't know.
Footy narratives and that.
Yeah, I just think Carlton are a real emotional football club. Vossi's a super emotional coach. And I don't know. I think the more emotion in it, the better they'll look. But I mean, it could be a 10 goals to 1 first quarter, and I look like an idiot.
How do you think that plays out as far as from a Blues perspective? Do you think they're just going to come in with just like a massive amount of physicality, just pressure, and kind of put the Hawks off their game?
Yeah, I don't know. I just think the wetter it's going to get, you got Cripper in the middle. I don't know, just winning inside footy. It clearly, Hawthorn look pretty good at the moment, so it's a bit of a rogue call, but I don't know. It's a bit of a feel. It's not, Carlton do this better than Hawthorn. There's none of that. But
do you think there's an element with Carlton though, with that if they play with too much emotion against a team like Hawthorn, they absolutely they come flying in, they rush the footy, they win that contested possession, they get a little bit exposed on the outside, Drews?
I was just looking at young King Cookson's background there. I thought you were throwing that one to Cookson. Go again, sorry. I was completely
mate, whose show is this?
I wanted to raise a point. Where did we all have the Blues finishing on our ladder predictors this year?
Adam first.
I had them 12th.
I had them 10th. And I know we're only one round into the season, but it is panic stations at the Blues. People spoke to the depth of the Blues in the off season. I haven't seen it.
We've talked about it a lot on this channel though with the Blues. It's all about... It's kind of where you think the importance of football is going because they have an unbelievably good spine to that team. We've talked about it with players like Wiedering, Cripps in the middle, Mackay, Kerner. That part of the team. But in a way that I feel like it's kind of moving away from that in footy, the way that it's going. It's more important to have these half forwards, high half forwards that we talk about, Drewzy, and really good wingman players like that. And I think maybe Carlton the way that they've built this list is being exposed a little bit.
So if we're saying high half forwards and the outside players, the sexy types are the ones that win your bread in modern football, and we're looking at these two teams, I mean, I think it's night and day. When you look at the high half forwards of the Hollywood Hawks with Dylan Moore, both of you probably, I've spoken to you both about Dylan Moore and you froth at the mouth and when you bring him up.
Yeah.
Jack Ginnivan, who am I missing? Young Nick Watson.
Connor McDonald.
And then probably the Blues' biggest area of or lack of strength is that high half forward role. And then you go to the wings. I think Carlton do have some pretty solid wingers, particularly Blake Acres. Is he in tonight?
Yeah.
Very underrated player, big-bodied outside player.
Good as a marking player as well. Can push forward and really stretch teams. But I think the problem for Carlton, and you sort of mentioned it off the top, Cookson, even though you are tipping them, that those small forwards, and particularly tonight, it's very wet, very rainy in Melbourne. Are those Carlton players, you're putting a lot of pressure there on Motlop,
Who else is in there?
Yeah,
I was like Matty Owies tonight.
I was going to say
wouldn't
Durden. Is Durden in there?
Crickets. No, he plays for West Coast. No.
I've actually got... Williams is going to be there. I'm not sure Zach Williams is the type of player that you want to hold all your hopes on, particularly in a big clash like this one.
I thought this would be a packed game tonight. 12 minutes from the bounce, and looks like Melbourne versus GWS last week.
Yeah, it's not super keen on the rain, are they?
However, last week, wet game.
Was unreal.
MCG.
I told you it was going to be a ripper before the game, didn't I?
Me and Cooko went and watched GWS versus Melbourne last week. Probably the game of the round.
Yeah, Lockie Keefe's like the greatest player of all time. So where does that conversation come into things like Lockie Keefe, Gary Ablett Jr.?
Well, we do have the top 10 players in the competition here on our run sheet. It goes Errol Goulden at 10, Max Gawn at 9.
Drewzy, just to pull you up there. So this is the Fox Footy voted for by the players. So voted by their peers here.
So we've got Errol Goulden at 10, Max Gawn at 9, Petrarca at 8, Zach Butters 7, Jeremy Cameron 6, Lockie Neal 5, Heaney 4th, Cripps 3, Dacos 2, Lockie Keefe.
Number 1.
Clearly number 1.
I mean, it's got to be Bond, isn't it? Spoiler alert.
I reckon it's like the coolest thing to be voted as the best player by your peers. I reckon that means so much more than getting it from an umpire or,
Do you guys have any problems with that list at all? Is there anyone that you go...
Maybe Heaney a bit high, Gawn a bit low?
Ooh.
I don't know. Goulden maybe lucky to be in 10? I don't know. He's
a nice player though.
Oh, yeah, he's super good. Yeah, super good.
Yeah.
But like, is he a top 10 player?
First
I don't know.
time Max Gawn's been too low in his life.
That's
I think... joke.
I think Gawn maybe a bit higher.
We'll catch on.
I think Heaney's like certified A grader, like when all that talk was coming out. I think he's a superstar, but is he third best player in the comp? Fourth best player in the comp?
Heaney, 4th.
Yeah, is that?
Based on last year?
Based on last year,
okay,
100%. Yeah. I think he's such a hybrid player, which is probably what's kind of bringing him into that conversation, right? Like such a good marking player. He's got all the athleticism to go with it as a mid. And I reckon if you went last year, if you took away the fact that what happened to Sydney in the grand final, he had the best round 1 to round 2023 season of any player. That was an unbelievable individual season by the Heen Dog.
Yeah. No, that's fair.
The Heen Dog.
The Heen Dog.
Is that what they call him, is it?
Yeah. In private.
I don't have a problem with him being a top 10 player. I don't know. I think Max Gawn's a better player than Isaac Heaney.
Do you?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Is that a legacy thing or now?
Maybe. I just think Gawn just as a ruckman does it every week. He dominates every ruckman he plays against every single week. And he's given some pretty average Melbourne teams a pretty decent look at winning some games.
So what you're saying is if you match up on these players one-on-one, you don't want the top dogs getting defeated.
Well, going off what you said, I think if you're just purely going who was the best players last season, I don't have a problem with Heaney being above Gawn. But I don't know, is there any criteria for that list?
Well, it's voted by the players, isn't it?
Is that just who was really
who scares you the most?
Yeah, basically. Well, Max Gawn then, surely. No, Heaney superstar, and if it's going off last year, pretty sick list.
Who was the AFL MVP last year? AFL.
It would have been Heaney for sure.
Was it Heaney?
It has to be.
Yeah.
Gee,
2024.
Was it
Dake? Bond?
Bond. Okay, yeah.
In 2024.
Bond was number 1 on that list, wasn't he?
Bond's won it 3 times. Number 1 hasn't been revealed yet, but it's got
Bond's 2023 season was absolutely unbelievable. I don't think statistically there's been a season like that overall for what Bontempelli did. The fact that he didn't win a Brownlow. This is what I always talk about with you, Drewzy. The Brownlow, it's a bloody clearance award. Bontempelli does his best work outside the clearance. He barely got a vote last year, and that's because his CBAs went from 80 to 60%.
Yeah, Cookson's on this train, aren't you, Cookson?
What, the Brownlow doesn't mean much?
The Brownlow, where is it type?
Well, I mean, it's if he doesn't win one in his career, it's just lost all...
It's crazy.
...validity, I reckon. He's, over the last 5 years, probably more, he's the best player in the comp. And it's nearly any footy fan can see that.
Do you reckon if Cripper wins his 3rd one, he does a beverage and he's up on the stage and he's like... I've already got 2, but the man that deserves it most is the Bond. Come here. And listen around.
I feel last year was so weird because I don't think many people had a problem with Cripps winning a Brownlow. He's a superstar and he's
a great player.
Yeah, but to get, what did he get? 46 votes?
Yeah,
most
I mean,
votes
that's absolutely mental, isn't it?
Pretty crazy.
He didn't have that sort of season.
Yeah.
I feel as well, it has to be somewhat, what has to come into the Brownlow, or not even necessarily the Brownlow, but the award that we see as the most prestigious award in the game, it has to come in that you win something. I feel it should be going to a player or at least a player that's going deep into finals.
Yeah.
Like it's weird to me that it's Carlton get knocked out in an elimination final, Cripps wins it. And it's usually like that. It's almost you're better off being in a team that doesn't dominate and have like a bunch of gun midfielders around you.
Yep.
So, like, you're saying, like, Gary Ablett at Gold Coast, Nat Fyfe second, Brownlow at Freo, we finished 14th, and he was, like, the all-Australian captain.
Yeah.
That's true. And, like, in the world of soccer, or the world's game, like, that is taken into consideration. So, like, Rodri, when he won the Ballon d'Or for Man City, it was like they did the treble or
They
whatever.
did the treble, yeah, exactly. And now, like, kind of Liverpool getting knocked out of the Champions League, Salah's kind of
Oh, no.
lost.
Yeah.
What a shame.
And like it almost, for like Salah, it's like because he plays for Egypt. You
Yeah,
can't choose where
exactly.
you're
He's
born,
got,
it,
he's
comes
got
into it.
no opportunity to be able to do that, which is a little obviously that's a little bit unfair, and we don't want to necessarily just copy soccer, but it's a talking point. On that conversation around Cripps, I was listening into the press conference today between Michael Voss, coming back from that loss, and I asked him about Patrick Cripps being in the ruck, and Voss's rebuttal to the criticism of playing him in the ruck was, well, he's won 2 Brownlows doing it.
Has he?
Thoughts? He's definitely played in there. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like this has been a longer conversation than just now. He's definitely has spent time in the ruck over those couple of seasons. My point on that would be, you can't just say, oh, he's won a Brownlow, because your team hasn't achieved what you've wanted to achieve as a team, right?
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah,
I
so
don't-
he's saying, like, oh, what do you think of your best player playing in the ruck? And he's like, oh, he's won 2 individual awards. And it's like, well, you haven't gone deep in finals, mate. That's
Yeah.
the point here.
And
Like,
he's been like pretty injury prone, and like he's battled through a lot of like back problems and stuff as well.
Yeah.
Like, why would you want your absolute Rolls Royce? Like he's holding that football club together. Why would you want him in the ruck?
I think it's really strange when you look at, most of the data on, ruck contests and stuff like that doesn't back up that you're kind of getting a lot out of it anyway, a lot of the time, as far as like from a pure hit out
Yeah,
perspective.
100%.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cripps isn't really necessarily bringing that as far as like, you're not putting him in the ruck because he wins hit outs. It's just like a physical presence.
Then why use your best player? Wouldn't you use Jack
Exactly.
Silvani? Like
Put Jesse Motlop in
that was Jack Silvani playing his best footy when he went up as a battler in the ruck.
And
Like,
I think that has to come into a bit of a wider conversation around Voss. Like, there's definitely some questionable calls that he's made over the last few seasons, as I lose my phone out of my pocket there. Down on
I
the
got
ground.
it. You keep talking.
Yeah, but just some of the player moves. I even think the persistence of playing pit net consistently over like letting a TDK just run free in the ruck, that athletic, versatile bigman that TDK is, you're kind of capping his potential.
yeah.
I think there's been like a few weird ones as well with younger players, like an Ashton Moyer, who just can't seem to even get a chance in this team when they seem to be crying out for that kind of forward of centre, like point of difference type mid-forward player. He's sitting there, doesn't get a game, and you could say, yeah, okay, maybe he's not ready to impact, but at least give him a try.
And he's looked pretty good when he's been in.
He has.
So circling back, how can we change the Brownlow? What
geez.
needs changing?
Whoa, where have you been, brother? No, I don't know. Do it like a NBA style thing where you get like journalists or reporters or whatever, and then I don't know how they have like a player vote as well, or am I thinking the All Star?
I think you're thinking All-Star.
So with the NBA MVP, is it just like journalists, or
I'm actually not sure.
and they all get like a third?
I like the fact that we do it game by game, because I
You
think
reckon?
on the night of the Brownlow, I like that it gives that jeopardy of like, we're going back through games
Yeah.
and you go, oh, what happened there? And you start thinking to yourself, it kind of adds to the theatre of it. I think it's just a really simple one of like, take it off the umpires. The game's changed so much. Like,
yeah.
how long, I don't even know the answer to this question, but how long have the umpires voted on this award? Like,
Too long, yeah.
it's crazy.
So what would you want, like just the Fox Footy
Well, the
commentators to do it? Or?
The NBA MVP is decided by a panel of sports writers and broadcasters. So
Yeah.
maybe we can work our way up and have a say on the Brownlow by the time, we're
Yeah.
45.
I mean,
50.
some sort of a panel put together, like whether it's a mix of ex-players and, the media.
But they're doing game by game.
They're doing game by game, so you still have that same system. It still feels like the Brownlow. It's just not the umpires who probably walk off the field, as we've talked about on this stream, Drewzy. They walk off and say, what just happened out there?
Yeah, gee, I
'Cause
saw
I'm only-
Paddy Cripps a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And like you would if you were trying to umpire a game and pick who was the best player on the ground, like it's near impossible.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, especially when you're looking, who's put their arm over someone's shoulder instead of like, that lead and that hanger. I reckon like you look at GWS versus Collingwood, and I've like penciled it in my mind that if Sam Taylor doesn't get at least 2 votes on Brownlow night, it's just like, which he's not going to. I know he's not going to. But he was like clearly a top 2 player on the ground, maybe with Finn Callahan as well.
Yeah, they were clearly the best 2 players. Though.
And like, I don't know, I love Sam Taylor so much. And it just annoys me that I'm going to look at Brownlow night and be like... Well,
that's the thing. And that would... Bringing in different people to actually watch the game from the outside, and I'm not blaming this on the umpires at all. They've just got a different job to do, and they can't concentrate on it. But it would bring different players into the game. You'd start to get players, I'm sure, like Jeremy Cameron's, those sorts of players, like hybrid forwards into it. You get the intercept defenders and stuff like that. It'd just reshape and sort of like transcend the award a little bit for me, make it a lot better. Can we circle back to that Carlton conversation, Drewzy, when you rudely interrupted me?
Sorry, mate.
What do you think about, I guess, like the coaching legacy of Michael Voss, what he's done at Carlton so far, and is it problematic for them going forward with wanting to achieve the ultimate?
Yeah, I think he's not, I don't know, he's one word is like man motivator, as I said before, like emotional coach, which is like, I don't know, it's pretty cool.
Run through wall type.
But it sums them up. Like they're such an up and down club. Like they look amazing. They're going to win the flag when they win 6 in a row because they're like riding on that roller coaster. But
they're almost a mirror image of their supporter base.
Exactly.
Aren't they?
Exactly. And like, I don't know, I feel like you want a Sam Mitchell or a Chris Scott or someone who's like super calculated at the top. And it's like Hawthorn even showed in the last 2 weeks, Essendon had a little run on against them. And then they kicked 2 goals really quick. It's like, and same with the Sydney game. Like Sydney are coming back into it, and then I don't know. It's like your head coach is not only like a representative of themselves. It's like your football club. Like if it's a calm Sam Mitchell who's like a genius, like you can just listen to him talk, and it's like he knows exactly what he wants.
As soon as Sam Mitchell came into the game and started coaching, all these new terms sprung up.
Exactly, yeah.
It was a little bit like Damien Hardwick in the era of Richmond, right? Like you started to hear all these new things about footy that you'd never heard before. And I think Sam Mitchell, listening to him talk, even his input, I mean, I'm going off tangent here because I'm talking about Sam Mitchell now, but his input with like how he's kind of changed recruiting as well. Like, I don't know if you guys have listened to it, but I find it really interesting hearing Sam Mitchell talk about recruiting and the idea of getting in, not necessarily the attributable parts of a player, but getting in their sort of mentality around being self-motivated with how the game is. Like we're always having this conversation about you can't train with your players as much as you'd like to. So he gets guys in that he knows are going to be able to take a program home. They're going to be motivated to get better. They're going to understand instructions.
And it seems like just non-negotiables. Like he sets, this is what you have to do if you want to get a game. If we're going to be a good team, this is what we have to do. And it's like he paints it black and white for his players. Whereas like someone like Vossi, it just feels like, come on, boys. Like
contested ball.
Yeah, and I don't want to do him that much of a disservice. And like he's obviously had a super career, and he obviously knows what he's talking about. And there's a place for him in some coaching rank or something. But I don't know. As your head coach, do you want someone who's just like riding the roller coaster, as we said, with their fans? Like you want, what you're talking about with Sam Mitchell, where it's like we get these guys in because they're going to be able to meet the task that I need from them.
Even tonight, like looking at this game, I noticed that they'd only made, after that performance that could probably only be labelled as like one of the biggest upsets of all time. Like, I don't know if it actually is. Like, it's the freshest one in my memory.
I think it was, as far as betting odds, I think it was like 6th or 7th as like the biggest.
Time.
I think the biggest one was West Coast beating the Bulldogs last year at Marvel, which nearly kicked.
A couple of years ago. Yeah.
Was it not last year?
I reckon it was 2 years.
Maybe it was 2 years ago. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I remember
and it
that.
Nearly kicked
when the Dogs
Bulldogs
were trying to make the finals.
And it did kick them out of the finals?
Yeah, I think it did, yeah.
We haven't spoken much about Hawthorn. 50 seconds away from the bounce. What do we like about the Hawks this year, Cooko?
They just got it going. I don't think we've seen the best of Hawthorn yet this season. I think they've just had enough to win the games that's been put in front of them. Like
they've managed moments really well.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they've got out to big leads early in the game and then just been able to. Like I think how they handled Essendon last week was absolute perfection. Like they got out to that 5-goal lead, pretty much sent a guy behind the ball. Essendon had an extra in midfield, dominated clearance, but they just kept chopping them off and just hurting them on the counter attack, and that's so debilitating when you're up against that. You're surging the ball forward, you're getting inside 50s, repeat entries, and then the other team just whisks the ball up the other end and kills you. I think like that's them, isn't it? Yeah, they're absolutely lethal. Like if they get an opportunity, and I think we're very, very close to the start of this game. There's Patrick Cripps.
There we go.
Boys,
the big ruckman. That's my ruckman.
Predictions. I'm going Hawks.
Look at that.
He's going big as well, I reckon.
Yeah, 47.
Oh,
47.
I'm going the Blues by like 4.
Hawks by 38. Here we go. Bounce of the ball. Lloyd Meek straight down to Nash, the Irishman on his 100th outing.
Oh,
Great
John
matchup
Deacon.
for Cripps there too, Nash.
Yeah.
That's almost the perfect
Perfect
stopper.
You almost want the physicality with him, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, here we go. Chol.
Oh, in the wet. Wow.
It was way too easy.
Wow. Was that Young? That's Young, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do we know
Lewis.
who's now with Mackay out? Who came in for him?
Lewis. Yeah.
Oh, so Lewis Young. And
I
then
thought he
what
was
have
already
they
in.
have they chucked? Is Kemp and Silvani both playing forward, or what's?
So Harry Mackay is a late withdrawal from this game. So the two outs for Carlton in the end were Francis Evans, small forward out, in for Curnow, and then Harry Mackay has gone out. So they've sort of, in some ways, replaced the same sort of player there with Mackay and Curnow in the end.
I feel like in the wet you'd rather Charlie roaming around.
Oh,
there.
100%.
Yeah.
I think in the dry as well.
Yeah. True. Sorry.
He's definitely a better player, but sort of a like type in the sense that both key forwards.
Yeah.
First blood to the Hawks. Marbior.
Big Marbs.
I'm going really early on this, but how ugly can this get for Carlton?
Oh wow. Well, I'm sticking with my baggers. They're not my baggers, but I'm sticking with them.
That was if that was meant to be the response,
Yeah.
free kick out of the stoppage, and that's an
non-existent.
uncontested mark.
Do you reckon Wiedering looks at that and goes, "Come on, mate, what are you doing?"
Probably.
Like honestly, Lewis, you've just been put back here and you're dishing up that for me already.
Wiedering's matched up on Hardwick, which is interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Far out.
Do you want Wiedering just as your deepest lying fullback, or do you want him a bit higher up? Because it felt like
I want him
last
on.
week, I can't even remember who it was that was playing on him. Oh, here we go. TDK out of the middle.
Oh, get in.
That's
Oh
huge.
my.
That's an
huge.
emotional man.
Oh, what a goal! Talk about a response. That's a goal. That's
That
a
is
6-pointer.
Absolutely.
Why are you even disputing
You
that?
don't need to review that.
Why are they?
What? That wasn't touched? What? Sorry, what?
What's happened there? We don't have commentary up loud, so we can't hear what's going on there.
I don't like Carlton at the best of times, but that was a goal.
It has to be touched straight off the hand, right?
Sorry, what?
That's a goal.
Why is that not being reviewed?
If that is the moment and it's not on the other end,
Did they pay a free kick?
or maybe.
What do
It
you
must
mean?
have been. Well,
Maybe.
I didn't. I think you could. I thought you could just do whatever you wanted on the line, basically. But that's not touched. That had. Yeah, it had to be a
it's a
free
free
kick.
kick.
All right,
Yeah.
that's pretty soft, but Jesus.
Far out.
Usually, I swear they let anything go on the line when you're like shepherding through a goal.
Yeah, you can assault someone. Usually,
Yeah,
can't you?
exactly. You pull out your
Crikey.
you pull out your Sam Waller.
Okie dokie. Yeah, last week, I can't remember who was playing on Wiedering, but just took him to the goal square. Surely if you're such a dominant force like Wiedering is, you got to be higher up, closer-ish to the contest. You don't want to just be dragged wherever your opponent wants you.
Again, I think that comes down to Michael Voss, right? I feel like they want to have him there structurally. They always want him to be there deep so nobody gets exposed close to goal.
Yeah.
But that's a decision that I think other coaches could make, and they would bring someone like a Sam Taylor.
Yep.
If the situation needed it, they'd bring him higher up, cut the ball off a little bit earlier.
It's not a very proactive way of looking at the game, is it?
It reminds me a little bit of sometimes how Simon Goodwin's very pragmatic with someone like a Stephen May, with even you'd think that they'd want to move the ball a bit more fluidly and get someone on kick-outs like a Salem or a Windsor, and they consistently go to Stephen May
so
to
he
do
can huff it long just in case.
Yeah, and it's so that he's not exposed if the ball comes back. Everything's about protecting yourself.
Yeah, you don't really see the best teams being so cautious, do you?
No. Do you think Hawthorn are cautious? Sam Mitchell?
I feel like it's calculated. I don't know. It doesn't seem
Yeah.
as cautious. I don't know. They're prepared to go when they need to go at times, and I don't feel like they're sort of always looking to rely on just a get out of jail free card like a Melbourne or a Carlton can do at times.
I mean, it's a difficult conversation because obviously Wiedering, he's a particular type of player. He's the kind of guy that he is more a little bit more of that traditional fullback, whereas if you're comparing it to Hawthorn, they tend to have a little bit more mobile defenders, right? A little bit more hybridy.
Yeah.
We've got Paul watching from Manchester, England.
Hey,
Told my
Paulie.
boss to sod off, not working today, watching Hawks. He looked confused as fuck watching from Manchester.
You have to do the accent.
That's a monk, man.
That's a proper Manc accent. Big ups, Paul in Manchester.
Yeah, let's go, Paulie. Do we know what that was a free kick? Yeah, like it must have been.
He was sort of like holding his shoulders down. I feel like if it was in a marking contest, you'd want that to be paid, but on the line, maybe not so much. Walsh puts his head down and he gets the free kick. He gets rewarded.
Does he?
It was holding the man.
That was soft.
Was it? Oh, it wasn't on him. It was on
Hewitt.
Oh, okay.
Leighton, come on.
Let's see here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Just a late, just a big
Why don't we
ruckman.
just get him out of
and
the
that's
way, though?
nearly a high as well on Walsh.
I thought it was a high on Walsh. But, like, is that one where you've already tackled someone, they've got rid of the ball, you just have to let go there and then, or you just, like, get out of my way,
I think
brother?
there is a responsibility on the player that you kind of can't make that mistake to keep dragging them down, even if you can't see the ball or whatever.
Hewitt's kicked a goal. Cookson's predictions looking good.
It's sitting thereabouts. That's all right.
I mean, since that first goal to Hawthorn, they have had a bit of continuity of keeping the ball in the front half. We are only 3.5 minutes in, but... Interesting start, though. It feels... I don't know if it's just because we've got the sound down, but it feels like a little bit like a lack of intensity.
Yeah.
I mean, there's two players tackling one player there. That looks pretty intense.
That is intense.
I'm not talking about camping.
I'm going to open up some stats.
I'm just here for the jokes.
Well, like over the last 2 years when Carlton have been playing their best footy, they were like dominating clearances and stuff. And I guess you sort of see what it is right now, 4-1 very early.
Over that same time, though, like they've had a dominant clearance profile, but they're not necessarily the most efficient team at scoring from that.
Yeah, no,
like
that's fair.
a big inside 50 team, not necessarily the highest strike rate.
Yeah, they don't have like the best ball users out of their midfield either.
Exactly. I did a piece on them last year, like a bit of a video, kind of breaking down the types of midfielders that they've got, like Cripps, Walsh, Hewitt. They don't really have that real kind of game-breaking guy.
Yeah.
Those, like that sort of forward of centre, strike mid, if you will. You know what I mean? Guy that kicks goals.
Like a Will Day this season.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Will Day. Even like, you know, if you're looking at Sydney, like Heaney and Chad
and
are
Warner
probably
both do it,
probably
yeah.
both that sort of a player.
That's the most Carlton kick I've seen.
And then
all day.
Errol has like a lethal foot. So I guess they have like sort of every aspect.
That just allows them to play like a totally different way, I feel.
Yeah.
Sitting, gee, how's he got free?
That
Hardwick,
was
is
a
it?
great grab from MP, by the way, just
was huge.
earlier on. On the way here, these kicks from Carlton, bro, are just their downfall.
You can't
well
play
done.
like that now.
Well done, Motlop. It's not up to the level, is it?
I was like frustrating watching Essendon last week. They just absolutely butchered the footy. They've got like Zach Merritt, who hits every single target available, and then I don't think there's another player in their midfield that was capable of hitting kicks consistently.
A bit of a symptom of the fact that their kind of biggest ball winner out of the middle was Cordwell, right? And he's a bit of a chuck it on the boot. Like he's a trier.
And everyone was getting around him, which was good because what do you have, 36 touches?
Oh, it's a massive. It was a huge statistical game.
And he's like physical and he moves well. Like he's very fit and like
yeah.
But as far as kicking the footy, it wasn't beautiful.
He's like an ideal fantasy player, Jai Caldwell, because he's just like no one's ever going to him. No one's ever going to go put time into him, but he just racks it up.
I find it crazy how intense an AFL game can be. Like I played all my junior footy against Darcy Parish.
No way.
He was the best kick of the football I've ever seen. And then he comes in the AFL and it's he's kicking his and it's like wow, like he silly ability to kick the ball.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he's seen as someone who was butchering he's got a little bit, better with it as he's
he's seen
matured.
at AFL level for sure as someone like an accumulator. That doesn't really hurt you.
Yeah. It's insane.
Whereas like at junior footy, he was probably playing off half back and like he could play anywhere, right?
He just did whatever he wanted and just had 50 every game he played.
It's the same thing, right, with height even, because he probably would have been one of the taller guys, bigger bodied guys, and then he's a midget at AFL level.
Yeah. Well, it's like I played
that's high.
Like under 14s and 16s with Charlie Curnow at Torquay.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, with Charlie Curnow?
Yeah, we
You're on
played
the same team as Charlie.
Yeah, from like under 12s to
No
under 16s,
way.
me and Charlie were always in the same team.
Just
and
boys.
Yeah,
That's where he learnt his craft.
he used to just roam around in the back line, just racking up touches, Luke Ryan-esque. And then he spent a summer just getting really fit with his sister, who does decathlons and stuff.
Yep.
I don't know if she still does, and obviously his brother was in the AFL at this time.
Oh, Ed, yeah.
How many athlons
he
is in
just
a deck?
like he was always that guy that you could tell was like super good at footy, but he's just a bit of a chiller, like. And then he trained with his sister one summer, came back, he was ripped, and we never saw him again because he was just at the Falcons. And all of a sudden, an elite key forward. It's like, hang on, Charles, when did this happen?
That's interesting, like that conversation, because I feel like that's a familiar story with players that are in that under 18 system. It's not necessarily the ones that have like dominated junior football.
Yeah.
A lot of the time, it's like, I don't know. It's like they find that athleticism or whatever it is, that bit of skill late.
Yeah.
And then they've developed the other skills almost like while they haven't been good.
Yeah.
Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like while they've been poorer at football, they've developed these little parts of their game. And then when the athleticism comes and those extra things come, then all of a sudden they're an absolute gun. Where the player that was dominant from a young age, they have a lot of holes in their game.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, Charlie's biggest thing, which is crazy that he plays as like a key forward now, was he was just one of these guys that always knew where the ball was going to be. Like, my grandpa used to be like, it's the chicken man. Like, he's just everywhere.
There's always those guys, right?
Yeah.
That you play with through junior footy and even players just playing local footy around the place. There's always those guys that just know where to go.
Yeah.
Find the ball. Seem to have so much time and space. Joel's had a great start to this
That
season.
mark was all hard.
What is going on
Putting
there?
the block on, though, to be fair.
Why is Wiedering wrestling with Hardwick? What's going on there?
Well, yeah, that was just a good block laid from Hardwick. Cam McKenzie has funnily started this game very well. On the way here, we were
What
talking...
are you talking about? I don't know who that is.
On the way here, I was just like, man, this is very wet outside. And, we're talking about how good Paddy Cripps is going to be today. And I was talking about, outside players, talking about Cam McKenzie. And I was like, if you were Cam McKenzie, would you want to stand in front of Paddy Cripps today? And we were having a bit of a discussion, and Cam McKenzie, to his credit, has started fantastically well.
I actually rate him. McKenzie.
Oh, yeah. He
was a top 10 pick,
started this
wasn't he?
season really well.
Yeah. Good mover.
Thanks for not chucking me under the bus as much as I thought you were going to there.
What actually happened?
What happened?
I just said...
I have no idea what you're talking about. And it's one goal apiece in the football game.
There's Adam Chera just being
I
guarded.
can chuck him under the bus.
It's good to see his hamstrings are still sticking together right now.
No, that's
I don't
it's the
really
first
rate
quarter.
Chera.
Neither. We can agree on that.
Football.
I feel like if you haven't been able to...
Football.
His hamstring goes every second game.
Yeah. Like he's a nice player. Like he's
Aesthetically pleasing.
pleasing.
Yeah.
Like, smooth mover.
But does he have the heart? Does he have it?
Is he really up to the level? He's not a game breaker.
He's up to
though.
the level.
Yeah, he's up to the level for sure. Game breaker. I don't know. It's like there's not a whole heap of guys that are game breakers.
Who would you rather in your team, Adam Chera or Jai Amos? I know they're different players, but just answer the question.
Adam Chera.
Amos.
I don't
Easily.
I don't really rate Amos.
He hasn't done much in a while.
I don't rate Amos that highly, but I don't know how many Adam Cheras are kicking around the AFL.
Yeah, no, that's actually also
Dozens?
a fair call.
Whereas
it's
it's the same as and it's good having you here, Cookson, as a North supporter, but it's kind of the same as that Logan McDonald, Will Phillips conversation.
Yeah.
As much as you can't say that Logan McDonald's an absolute game changer, he's still a key forward. Like structurally, he's a lot more beneficial than someone like a Will Phillips.
Yeah. No, I feel like Logan McDonald's had bigger moments in 3 games than Will Phillips has and will in his whole career. Like, I don't want to, hate on him too much, but I think that's not even a conversation, is it really?
No.
Like, I think pretty resounding. How handy would it be to have a Logan McDonald
I know.
at your disposal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The biggest concern for me for Carlton right now is their ability to exit the ball from defensive 50. They just keep bombing it. And
Can I just say what has happened to Adam Saad?
Yeah.
His ball use, like what is going on?
Josh Weddle just hit
Not
a
enough
knee
wolves
side.
going on.
Josh Weddle just hit a knee slide celebration to mark that ball. It's like he already knows he's going to kick the goal and he did the celebration first. Look at the knee slide. How far do you reckon this is?
So Weddle's pushed forward here clearly.
Fair knee slide.
Do you think that's the fact that Mackay's gone out of the side and then you've got an extra tall defender and you're just able to flick him forward?
Potentially.
They can do it with anyone. They can do it with Sicily.
I know.
They can do it with Weddle.
I reckon Weddle would have been the most stoked man alive when he saw that Barris and Battle were coming over.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to play centre half back anymore.
I think he's such a good player. And the ability, like they've been able to, in this game, drop someone like a Frost.
Yeah.
Just with those new guys coming in, it's unbelievable.
Yeah.
Carlton have not marked the ball in 10 minutes of sport.
Yeah, they've had no control over this game.
Yeah.
Paddy Cripps takes the mark.
in
There he
wet.
is. The
What
ruckman.
position is Weddle playing this year?
I mean, half back.
Utility.
Half back. I do reckon, like, ultimately you want him on the wing.
Their defense is so tall at the
Yeah.
moment. It's like, what do you got? Sicily, you've
Well,
got Battle,
yeah.
you've got Barras, you've got Weddle. They played Frost last week. Like, they're all over 190.
Yeah.
Well, Sicily's 188, I think, but he plays really tall, right? And then Hardwick, your smalls are basically Hardwick, Impey, and Amon kind of rotating.
And Hardwick just go. They do have. You're right. They do have a lot that just like playing both ends of the ground.
Yeah,
Don't they?
Yeah,
which is
they're
such
so-
an asset.
Drewzy, they're so modular.
Do you reckon sometimes if you
Sorry,
have?
is that Russian?
Do you reckon sometimes if you have too many guys that can like go both ends, it can maybe get a bit confusing? Or
I think there would be a theory, and I reckon old school pundits would say yes. You want to be in the like this, you know. I know like Kane Corns always talks about that with like you want to be in the meetings with the same line
Yeah.
that you always have. But I think if you're able to live with it, and if the club, like it comes down to how strong the club is, right? Like almost culturally, like if they can kind of educate and give that sort of development to the players, then I think then like why not?
I feel like with most of those guys, I'd want to cement them in one position. I feel like Sicily's an exception because he's just a brilliant footballer. He's like so clever. But I feel like with a lot of the others, I would, as a Hawthorn, if I was a Hawthorn fan, I would like want to see them sort of hone in on their craft.
Okay,
You know what I
fair
mean?
enough.
Personally.
I just look at that game against the Swans the other night, and do you
Sorry,
remember?
boys. Could Blake Acres be in
Ooh.
trouble here? He has just laid an elbow into the neck of Nick Watson. I reckon he misses a week for that.
Well,
Potentially.
Continue.
It's not that sort of action's not kind of the one that's majorly in the spotlight at the moment, though, is it? That sort of a thing.
Contested mark from Cam McKenzie. Keep talking.
I was just going to talk about that Sydney Swans game the other week and how when what has happened with this guy.
Nah.
that's my guy, Cam McKenzie.
When Sydney were
kick
coming at
22.
Hawthorn in the third quarter,
Yeah.
just that flexibility to be able to move players around, I think that completely bamboozled
Yeah.
Dean Cox.
Yeah, true.
Like Sicily goes forward, pretty much won them the game, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
In that game that we were covering. So
Hawthorn
it's-
did that to Freo last year as well. Late in the year, they swung Sicily forward in the fourth quarter, and we just didn't have an answer for
Yeah.
it.
Sicily's done it heaps. He did it against the
Dylan
Bulldogs at
Moore.
Marvel the other last year as well, when it sort of actually kickstarted Hawthorn's run.
Your man Dylan Moore with a snag.
He's just a stud. Like, I would hate to have his job, honestly. Like, you just run so much. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And me and Drews were saying in the car, like, he makes that high half forward role look cool because he gets the rewards, but, like, he does it when he doesn't get the rewards as well. Like, he does it all game, just clocks those Ks up. And, like, I mean, there will be games this season where it doesn't go his way and he's still going to do it.
For sure. And I think like the one asset that Moore has, and you guys kind of mentioned it there, like with that ability to be able to run, he can work through things. Like, do you remember in round one, again, the Sydney game with Hawthorn, Nick Watson, he was having a lot of problems like shaking the defensive pressure he was under from Wicks. Like he had a pretty tight lockdown role. Moore's able to get through those moments because he
Yeah.
can just, he can run off
Outwork,
them.
yeah.
He's such a little hard nut as well. Like he looks like a competitive little bastard, doesn't he?
Yeah, super strong as well. Like,
Yeah.
like for his size, like, he just makes some noise every contest he hits as well.
He could genuinely play, I reckon, as he's a little bit small, but he could genuinely play as a centre bounce midfielder
Yeah.
and a small forward.
Yeah.
So flexible.
No, he's a superstar. But like, you see a lot of the guys that run as much as he runs, like who you were talking about?
Ed Langdon.
Ed Langdon,
Oh, yeah.
Ollie Hollands, Darcy Wilson. I could see actually one day being a bit more like Dylan Moore. But a lot of those guys, it's like they're clocking up and they're doing that sort of new school wingman role. It's like goal square to goal square.
Yep.
But Dylan Moore's got the physicality.
He's got
as
the
well,
inside
which
stuff.
is
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
like
100%.
it's weird to look at someone at his size and be like, oh, he's so like impactful on a 2025 football field. Wow, that is good by Will Day.
Oh, not a good kick.
Yeah. But yeah, like usually you're like, oh, the Bont or the Luke Jackson. It's like these kind of bodies that like bring a bit of X factor. But when you can run as much as Dylan Moore, you're as clever as Dylan Moore, you work as hard as he does, and you're like, strong nugget as well. It's like, I don't know.
Exactly.
Oh, what
Pretty-
a tackle from Chera.
The thing is, I find myself as a North Melbourne supporter just watching Hawthorn and just being so jealous. And the players that I'm jealous of, it's Dylan Moore. He was a bloody rookie. They didn't even pay anything for him.
Yeah. He'd be pretty sick. Like, I think any club would want a player like that.
Yeah.
Holding on McGovern.
McGovern's lucky there. Wow.
What do you mean he's lucky?
I didn't think it was a free kick.
I thought he was all over him.
As a North fan, who would you like out of any player in this Hawthorn team? Who would you pluck?
Oh, it'd be hard to go past Will Day.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. For North Melbourne, though, specifically, right?
Yeah.
To make us...
Barras? You don't reckon?
Oh, yeah. That's where
Sicily?
I thought
Maybe a
at
little
first I
old.
took it as like...
Just the best
Just the best player on their team.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Yeah, Sicily. For North.
Sicily, yeah.
Sicily.
Is he a little bit too old? Like, he's not old, but I just mean like...
Okay, we're taking age into it as well.
Well, just because like he's
What's he,
elite
20,
at what
28,
he's-
29?
Yeah, like he's not old, but like is he like a little bit... But
yeah,
you want him.
yeah.
I
as
agree.
in like
I
for
would-
when we're peaking.
Yeah, he might be
who
like,
would be
trying to... But the way he plays, he's not like... I don't know, super explosive. Like, I guess he's pretty athletic. Probably more athletic than I
Sicily.
give him credit for. Yeah, but he can probably play for a lot longer.
I think so. Like he's another one of those players. Like he's a key position defender, but he does like have that ability to kind of slow the game down around him. Like he's so calm on the ball.
Yeah.
I think you'd love to play with him, right?
Yeah.
Like the physicality that he plays with.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like I still don't have any sort of trust, I suppose, in North Melbourne, like with the current regime, that I would even trust. Like if North Melbourne, like if our football department had hold of the Hawthorn team, like we wouldn't be running it as well. You know what I mean? Like I know that sounds.
Do you reckon
really,
even if Sam Mitchell was at the helm?
You got
That's a good
Sam
question.
Mitchell's professor.
Yeah, true. But is he as motivated as he was back in the day?
I don't believe so.
And I feel like the game's changed a lot. Like
It has.
I'm not I like Clarko and I'm hoping it can work, but I don't know. Is he there? Is he going to get the Malthouse at Carlton sort of treatment where the game's a little bit different?
I actually reckon there's a broader conversation around that in the AFL at the moment. You've got coaches like Ross Lyon, who's come back to the Saints. You've got Clarkson. Even some of the coaches that haven't necessarily changed clubs, but they've had success in the past, like a Simon Goodwin. I'm not sure if the football that he's playing now is really up to...
It's like overly defensive, take care of behind the ball.
Yeah, and it's a lot about territory.
Yeah.
So they're not really working those like passes inside forward 50, like in the like a team like Hawthorn. They're just absolutely amazing at it, and the transition football that they play. I don't think Melbourne moved the ball, even though they still have some great players.
Well, I feel like they just get, like, especially watching them on the weekend, like Christian Petrarca, wow, he was so good.
He's such a good player.
And it's like, if your best avenue of moving the ball forward is Petrarca breaking through six, like,
I mean, it's such a
he
good
can
weapon
do,
to have.
Exactly, but it shouldn't be like your go-to sort of style. Come on, the bag.
Cottrell's kicked one.
That is the most...
It was a free kick to Kerno,
Right.
and then
He just took
they
the
played
advantage.
advantage, yeah, but I don't think Cottrell knew too much that was going on there. There was a big don't argue from Cripper on Dillmore then, like one of the all-time biggest don't argues I've ever seen in my life type
Cripps
style.
already has 8 touches.
Oh,
Kerno's getting into CJ. CJ hasn't played footy consecutively in a
he's
long
back.
time.
CJ hasn't really been a part of this new style winning Hawthorn. Like, he was playing really good games when Hawthorn were losing every week. So I think that's pretty crazy that you can just add him into this well-oiled machine now.
I mean, he essentially came in for Frost.
What's he done here?
huge.
What's he done here? I think
Oh, okay, yeah, that's a free kick. He
is it?
drags his neck. Yeah, for sure.
Pulls
He
him
drags
down.
his neck
He
down
actually
after.
got the spoil.
Yeah.
He didn't
I don't
need to
know
do
why
that.
he did do that.
Oh, he just
Him
goes
and Charles
in-
having some
I didn't see that.
little bit of, what is it? Little bit of needle.
But what?
Is that like the British thing? There's some needle there. Is that?
Oh, okay. So
maybe
Scrim got suspended. Scrimshaw. He's another one I
true.
didn't mention before
Yeah.
as well, in that tall defender.
Yeah, he's
another-
good, Scrimshaw.
He's a
a
great
beast.
player.
Yeah.
They got him from GWS.
Carlton are cooking here.
Yeah.
See that kick though?
Nah, was it Gold Coast?
Might have been goal.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Doc.
think you're right.
Sauce. Cottrell, Akers.
Akers.
Oh, fumbly. Oh, high
he's
in
just-
the back.
He's just Colby.
That
I think it's a
from-
free kick Carlton here. It is to Akers.
Gee, they're getting a lot of free kicks.
That was pretty soft. It looked like he just threw it out.
yeah.
He fell into his back, brother. What game are you watching?
You're just saying that because he's ex-Freo.
What do you mean?
You're just
bro?
saying it because you love Carlton.
Every
You
every
just
player
love
that
Carlton
leaves
so much, man.
Freo, I usually give shit to, but I can call a spade, bro.
You wouldn't be saying that if it was Griffin Logue.
Yes, I will. Oh, mate.
I didn't see a free kick.
Carlton
No, neither.
have done well to defend, and now they're having their shots on goal. Blake Acres, they need to take the most of these.
Blake.
That might not even score, you know.
That's hit the behind
Weirdly,
post on the full.
Blake Acres is the barometer for the Blues.
Can I just say, Hawthorn aren't punishing as much as they have been in the opening 2 weeks. Like that clearance by Walsh, they were in prime. It's
That's
against
high
CJ.
and in the back.
Okay, yeah, that was.
It's not in the back.
Yes, what are you talking about? He's just fallen into his back.
Momentum.
That's pushing the back.
I don't believe
He's
so.
just giving him
Do
a
you
little,
watch the game?
a little side cuddle.
You don't know
TDK.
You don't know
Get out of his
ball,
way.
Drewzy.
I'll ball
Lack
on
of
ball you,
ball
bro.
knowledge.
But Carlton have done well to absorb.
Yes.
As we say when we play FIFA.
And Hawthorn hasn't punished.
They
Yeah.
haven't punished, but I think Carlton have done well to defend and bring the heat.
me.
But how long can Carlton sustain it, Dylan? Over to you.
That is correct. I don't know what to say now, Drewzy.
It's probably their weakest
Cripper's
point, isn't it? The
genuinely
Carlton
just
back line.
thrown
So
What do you guys think about Ollie Hollands to halfback? I'm not I don't think attributally that works for me.
I don't know why they've gone for that. I thought he was pretty solid on the
I
wing.
don't think attributally is a word.
It's probably not. No,
It is now.
But you know what I mean.
Here we
Like,
go.
Dylan loves making up words.
Yeah.
Sauce. Left
Silvani.
foot, he says. He says, I'll go on the left. No
He
worries.
played so well last week.
Silvani.
Who's
yeah.
17? Is that?
Camp.
Is that Camp? Yeah.
Oh, weird stuff.
Yeah, it's just a bit
Weedle.
of... Carlton are putting the heat
I
on
reckon
them
we got
here.
a game here.
Yeah, we do.
Bloody oath we do.
Carlton are back in this.
This bloke, Cripper, he puts his cape on.
Who's that?
Cripper,
Yeah.
He's had 9.
Jamie Cripps is a just West Coast legend.
what's
Oh, Charles.
gone on there?
Sausage.
Put it on your boot, son.
Oh, what a smother from CJ.
CJ was a fiend for the footy there.
See you at the show tonight. Have you seen that? Oh, you
What's
don't
that?
go on the Diggy Doggy, do you?
3 minutes to go in the first quarter.
Have you seen that? No. It's like it's just the dumbest thing ever. It's just like CJ filming Guinea and Watto, and he's like singing a song. I think it might be a Drake song. I don't know.
Oh, might have. You know, I love to bring up random anecdotes on this podcast, often relating to a night out at Electric, but this one isn't from a night out at Electric. I was working at the Box Hill Hawks last year as an assistant strength and conditioning coach, and when it come time for finals, a bunch of the Hawks players come down to train.
That's stayed in.
And I was helping with like their gym stuff basically. So I got to see like a bunch of like the Hawks 2s boys playing, and CJ was coming back from injury, so he was
Yep.
down there. And I just wanted to break the ice with him. So I was like, seeing he's a DJ and whatnot, loves spinning the decks. I was like, oh yeah, he's spinning the decks. He's like, oh yeah, Sicily gets him out sometimes. You have a spin. And I was like, you ever listen to drum and bass? And he's like, no, but like when it comes on, I love it. I was like, here you go, mate. Here's some drum and bass tracks. He gives me his phone. I loaded up with Subfocus and Dimension. So if you think it's drum and bass, you might think of that dude that did some mediocre training at Box Hill. Over to you, Dylan.
Was that the story?
Yeah, that's it. I introduced CJ to drum and bass. I'm proud of that.
Isn't that how you bonded with 5 years old?
Yep. Well, other than being a lifelong Freo fan,
If you don't know drum and bass, Drewzy will not be able to talk to you. That's what we've learned there.
if your frequency isn't 174 beats per minute, I don't want a thing to do with you. Over to you, Dylan.
That is the chav Drewzy.
Proper chav.
They're under the pump here, the Hawks.
Yeah, just as Drew said that Carlton was soaking it up well, they've gone, nah, we're going to make the Hawks soak it up
Well, it's
well.
absorb, and press. You know? It's a slingshot effect, if you will.
The Giants.
The pressure factor down there. So
Oh, he's ripped his head off.
Oh, gee, yeah, that's high. Surely.
No?
Am I seeing this wrong?
No,
I feel
I
like
thought-
I've got
yeah.
every decision wrong.
No, I thought there was a bit of a high going on there.
Yeah.
Just
Oh,
wanted-
De Koning.
good tackle from
Would
Nuke.
you love to see a Luke Jackson deployed in the way that Tom De Koning is at the moment as that solo ruck?
at the moment, without Darcy, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, I
Yeah,
sort of
Liam
wonder why.
Reedy out
Liam
there.
Reedy, he's not really,
no.
he's not up to the level.
I feel like you should shuffle on Sean Darcy. Like, he's good ruckman, but when you've got someone like a Tom
Yeah.
De Koning or a Luke Jackson, like that dynamic ruckman, I feel like that's like
don't
what you
need to.
want. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a big conversation in the AFL at the moment, but clubs are definitely they're too eager to hang on to their assets, right? It's like, we have Darcy, he's a good player, so we don't want him to leave. Almost like
it doesn't work.
yeah, exactly. Like,
Well,
why not
give
try
him
to get
time
some,
to get fit And if he gets injured again,
It's not about him.
Yeah,
though.
it's not about him
It's
or
not about
Jackson. It's
him.
about they shouldn't be playing together. I don't.
Yeah,
like,
and you could get with the capital that you would pick up for Darcy.
they've played together at full fitness for 5 games, and we won all of them. I know it's a small sample size.
okay, yeah, fair. But yeah, all right. Well, I guess when you look at it like that, but it didn't really need. Did either of them have good games though? Like, is that just coincidental?
Well, we're talking about before Paddy Cripps playing in the ruck and he's winning 2 Brownlows. So I think you bring it back to this outcome based. Freo win 5 games with the 2 of them in the side.
All right, fair play.
Just wanted to
Correlation.
shout out some chat members contributing right now. Wooden Spoon Data is in the chat.
Woody.
MOB, Gridio M. Thank you guys for joining us tonight on the stream. Make sure you hit that like button if you are enjoying what you're seeing. We got 1 minute left in the first quarter. 1 point in it at the moment. It's been a good game. And here we go. Footy from the flat. Happy to be
Footy
here.
from the
Footy from
flat.
the
Josh
flat.
Ward, he's been good since he's come in for Warple
Yeah,
in the last couple of weeks. Oh, Joel.
Marbs.
This matchup's not working for Carlton. The Lewis Young v Chol. There's too much of a size difference there for me.
I didn't mind Lewis Young over the last couple of years, but I think he sort of just can't match up on anyone at the moment, can he? What
Should
is?
change his last name to Old, maybe.
Yeah,
That's poor.
That is poor.
Another one.
That's gotta be, is that push in the back, though? If you push someone in the back, is it push in the back?
Wiedering is SMHing.
I think it was in the side.
I reckon you're capping. This won't go in. This will go out to the left.
No, he's got it.
No, that'll miss.
Come-
Oh,
post.
geez, just the inside as well.
Oh, never in
no,
doubt if I call there.
I'm liking the trim this year from Chol.
Yeah.
He's gone from the iconic blonde splatter at the top to the dreadies. It's nice.
It's a bit more rock star, isn't it?
I like it.
See, Sard should just run and carry there. Do you
Yeah.
reckon he's lost a bit of confidence?
100%. Like his ball use and just his like perception of pressure, I feel this season has been, I mean, it's small sample size obviously, but he just feels like he's always under pressure when he gets the ball.
And I feel like he, instead of like trying to be aggressive and run forward, he like doesn't want to have to run back. So it's not like he's like pushing forward and then pushing back. He's sort of just like hovering and doing nothing.
It's sort of like a player. How old is he? Because it's sort of a symptom of a player that like their legs have gone.
It's shadows of when he first went to Essendon. Just
Head's
like,
gone.
yeah. And then he really built into that confidence at Carlton, which is like weird that
Adam Sard is 30 years of age.
30. Okay, he's getting, I mean, it's not super old, is it? But
he just needs more woof.
it is quarter time, guys. What do you make? What do we make of that?
Carlton did well to respond. They absorbed the pressure. And speaking to Carlton fans throughout the week, they're saying, this is it. We're done. Like, they're already throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Very Carlton.
And it's like, back your boys. I know, you know, they've been through some hurt, and most clubs have, but you'd like to see that as a Carlton fan, even though they're down on the scoreboard. I reckon they had the game on their terms more. It was more contested. Hawthorn liked to get on the outside, and they stopped that. So I'm having a bit of a redemption arc on the Blues here.
What's happened to this guy?
Hawthorn are getting arrogant, and Carlton are losing their confidence. So I think, I don't like Carlton when they're arrogant, and now Hawthorn are being arrogant. So I'm back in the underdog.
I'm going to throw some stats at you guys here.
I'll catch them.
Hey, hang on, that's not right. I've gone to season average instead of match. That's why that number seemed unbelievably
Cripps
high.
has 30?
Well, it actually said that Cripps had 13 clearances.
Checks out.
I'm like,
I'd believe it.
That cannot be right.
Hold up, Gridio. I've got the chat here. He's saying, do these guys see the chat? Yes, we do, and I just gave you a shout out. So thank you for being in the chat.
Come
we do
on,
see you.
Gridio.
You're my
If you
guy,
got good
Gridio.
questions in there, we'll answer them happily.
Is there anything else in the chart?
What do we think of Fontaine's DC?
Say that again.
Oh, it's just
Is that the do the dirty work like Rodman? Is that what?
No, Fontaine's DC is Irish band.
Oh, I think my mate Jacko went and they were in Melbourne or something. The other
No,
night.
there's another Irish band. Anyway, give me some stats.
Right,
Dylan.
okay, my bad.
Some stats. Patrick Cripps leads the way with 10 disposals, 23 fantasy points. But this is very Patrick Cripps, right? 2 kicks, 8 handballs.
Yeah.
So he's very much a facilitator.
He's turned it over quite a lot as well. I don't know if you have his efficiency there.
From his 2 kicks, they're both missed target, have they? What about his handballs?
Well,
Have
one
they
was a
been
dump
shocking?
and he threw one, got done holding the ball.
Efficiency's so difficult though, because if you kick long and the ball hits a contest, you immediately get a tick. for
True.
that.
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Wow.
You don't have to retain the ball. If you kick to a contest, it goes in as an efficient disposal.
What if it's a kick to a contest and an intercept mark, but like a contested intercept mark?
That's a turnover.
Well, that's pretty weird, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like your percentage is dictated by
What
the
happens
contest.
on
It's weird.
What happens on the other end?
But
yeah.
But if your man like does some amazing contested work and takes a contested mark,
Yeah.
even if it's a very average kick, you get.
Yeah, I think
Weird.
that's where it's a little bit better to look at stuff like meters per disposal and stuff
Yeah.
like that to see how direct a player is being. And then if you take that further and go to like score involvements and stuff like that and juxtapose that against a position,
Yeah.
you can kind of see like where they're operating, if they actually their disposals are turning into scores. But you look at that from Cripps, I mean, he's obviously getting his hands dirty. He's only had the 2 clearances.
Apparently, Brian Taylor said, "What a mark from Jath," and it was Chol.
That is very,
That's
very
very
BT.
BT.
It's interesting. So Cripps' direct opponent, Connor Nash, actually has 4 clearances.
Wow.
So he's out clearanced him.
Sort of letting
He's
him go
cleared
in,
him.
shuffling him out.
He has, but Cripps has obviously had more of it on the outside with 10 disposals overall. So
Just from the eye test, who do you think has had the biggest impact on the game? Stats aside. It's been pretty contested, hasn't it? Maybe Weddle?
Yeah, Weddle's shown his
looked
face
good.
around a
Weddle
bit.
has been good. I thought Dylan Moore was good for that goal. I don't know if he's done that much around that though. That's a bit-
TDK's look pretty solid.
Chol's
from
been
what I've
pretty
seen.
good.
Yeah.
Yeah, Chol's taken a couple grabs.
Yeah.
I don't know, Cripper. I've seen Cripper heaps and like, I don't know.
Stats don't lie.
I just like seeing the big physical boy. Just all he wants to do is win every contest he can get his
Yeah.
hands on. And yeah, I don't know. You got to love a player like that, I reckon.
What would you rather? Would you rather a Cripps like, win at all costs kind of guy? Or would you rather like the most kind of physical specimen of an AFL player? Like who's a good, I mean, maybe a Will Day versus Patrick Cripps comparison here.
Well, I don't know. I feel like Will Day's a hard one because like obviously we're seeing like signs, and since his debut, you've seen signs of what he could potentially be. But I don't know.
Yeah, of course you're going to say Cripps as far as like what they've put down.
Yeah. What? So you mean like the?
More, forget that it's Cripps and more like, would you rather the competitor or the physical specimen?
Maybe like a Bond? Is that
Yeah,
a decent?
that's a
Probably a Bond. Yeah. But
Is Cripps not a physical specimen?
no, he is. But he's not like, I don't know. I think you mean like a
Athletic.
tall, athletic, like silky.
Yeah.
Like Bond moves like a
Cripps is
6 footer.
Cripps is a specimen, but like he's slow.
Athlete versus warrior. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm taking Bond, I guess, and then like
He's both though, isn't he?
Yeah, true. But I feel like Will Day could be both.
He could be.
Like,
Absolutely could
so
be.
if
You don't necessarily, just because you're the specimen doesn't mean you can't be
yeah.
the competitor as well, I
Well, yeah,
suppose.
I'd take the heights of what Will Day could be and what Bond is over Cripps. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd take any of them at North Melbourne, though, to be honest. Like, you look at our warrior is Jai Simpkin, who I love Jai Simpkin, and I'd never blame a loss as a North Melbourne fan on him. But, he was nearly so... I mean, he was good, but he was nearly so good. Like, he just lacks that polish, lacks that
Yeah.
finish.
Yeah.
Gritio M asked, what is the TLDR of the first quarter? Which I just searched up and it means too long, didn't read. I would say Hawthorn had the game on their terms for the first half of the first quarter.
Absolutely.
Carlton did well to absorb. They kept going with dump kicks out, but once they started to move the ball by hand and gain some territory, they did well to lock the ball in the forward half.
I
of the
would
ground.
say if Sam Mitchell would have been saying one thing to the team at quarter time, it would have been, we need to be more punishing on turnover, because they had a couple of opportunities where they were in the best position to intercept the ball at halfback and just a bit fumbly.
Yeah.
Just didn't really have their game going to punish.
Second quarter
I feel like-
starting off. Can I grab another beer deal? Is there another one?
Go for it.
Let's go.
I feel like wet game, I mean, like, it's sort of both teams defending well, but probably being helped a little bit by the wet.
For
more,
sure.
More Carlton than Hawthorn.
Oh, Will Day out the front. Big one inside. Oh, that's Hardwick's
he's
nearly marked the
been-
ball like 3 or 4 times.
And is that a free kick? Yeah. He was
Yeah.
tackling him. Cheeky
Again,
Mitch.
probably exposing Ollie Hollands a little bit there in a one-on-one matchup.
Yeah. Poor Ollie.
Yeah.
Surely.
Oh, it was actually, no, it was McGovern. Sorry.
This is actually a weirdly, as far as Ollie Hollands, I don't want him at the halfback, but if he's running with Dylan Moore, he's probably one of the only guys that could nearly go with him around
It's
the
a good
ground. It's
point.
probably not a bad matchup for him.
It's a good point, yeah. Hardwick's an incredibly difficult matchup. I feel like he's always got the wrong guy
Sausage.
on him.
Yeah, he sort
Goal.
of exposes whatever his opponent can't
Yeah.
do.
He's a warrior.
Yeah. How old is he? I feel like he's been around for ages.
Who's that Hardwick?
I reckon he's
Hardwick,
only
yeah.
mid-20s.
Yeah, right.
Mid to late, maybe. Maybe 28, 27.
He's like sort of one of the guys that's overlapped in the really bad Hawthorn team.
28 years old.
I say overlapped.
How
They were
old?
really
28.
bad.
28,
They were really bad. at the
Sicily's
start of
never won a
last year.
flag, has he?
I feel like he has he. I feel
Sorry?
like he.
James Sicily hasn't
I
won a
feel like
flag.
he-
No,
he
way.
hasn't?
No way.
What is he? 28.
Yeah.
What was their last one? He wasn't real young.
20.
He might have been on the.
I don't think he was in the. I don't reckon he was drafted.
What was their last one? 2015.
Yeah. Yeah, that's 10 years
10
ago.
years. He might have been an 18-year-old on the
Yeah,
list.
He was the 56th pick in the 2013 draft.
Well, there you go. He would have been on
Okay.
the
I don't
on
think
the
he was in the
list.
team,
Yeah,
though.
no, I don't think he. Did he play in 2015?
No.
What pick was he, Drews?
56.
Oh, that's a steal,
Oh,
isn't
yeah,
it? Jeez.
Guinea. to
Oh,
Waddy.
Watto.
Oh,
He
here they
loves
go.
a sausage. Have you ever seen someone who loves a sausage more than Watto?
See, this is Hawthorn
Yeah,
to
Tom
me, right?
Papley. Sorry.
What about Papley?
He loves the sausage.
Same sort of
Oh,
ilk
yeah.
of player, aren't they?
This is the thing, like, so Carlton were getting on top from the clearances most of the end of that first quarter, and then Hawthorn come out and they put 2 goals from centre bounce
Yeah.
straight on them.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang. And then, I don't know, like, I feel like they'll just be able to resist this pressure. They'll probably kick a couple more.
Yeah.
They just play the moments so well.
Yeah, you need if you're Carlton, you need someone to bring some X factor to it.
You do.
It's what good sides do, isn't it? Just cometh the moment. Let's just put 2 on real quick and make the most of.
Yep.
That just comes down to training, doesn't it? Preparation. Like,
Well, they're just all on the same page.
Does
a
it
lot of
come
time,
down
aren't
to
they?
character too, though, of the players in the side, like what we said off the top?
I feel like Sammy Mitchell's creating that sort of. I mean, yeah, you had a point. He probably goes after the guys that he wants, but I also feel like he's like
Harnesses
creating
it really well.
Yeah, and like creating that character. Like if you want to be a part of this footy club, you got to have this about you. With Carlton, like how do they change the game through the middle? Like I know they've got TDK in the ruck. Is it rogue as to say Chuck Charlie in the midfield? Is that?
Oh, it's
that
a bit rogue,
outrageous?
but it's like I don't know, like you'd want to do something because
that's a holding the ball.
Chera, George Hewitt, and like no offense to Sam Walsh, he's a good player, but I don't think any of those guys are going to break the game open for you.
Yeah. Who was it? There was someone on SEN saying that Sam Walsh is like their most important player.
Daniel Hoyne brought that up
yeah.
in the champion data
That's the one, yeah.
conversation. What he was saying was that Sam Walsh, when he affects the game outside stoppage for Carlton, that's when they're at their best.
I reckon there's bit of truth in that. Like, and I mean, I don't know if it's like coincidence, but it's sort of when Walsh was playing his best footy, Carlton were playing their best footy.
For sure.
Carlton are showing signs of losing their defensive shape here early on in this quarter. They looked all at sea there. Like the Wiz was just leading back at goal, just a little tick lead back. I don't even know if that's the right terminology, but
Little tick lead.
I
That's
like
sexy.
oh, hello, a little bit of footsies. I want to stop that. It's kind of comforting.
That was a poor finish from
Is-
Watson.
Is Sam Doherty playing?
Yeah, he is. Like what? I was going to say what's happened to him. Well, he's had
Poor bloke. He's had
terrible.
many things.
Yeah,
going
a lot
on.
of things have happened to Sam Doherty, but yeah, he's sort of just not impacting at the moment.
What is he playing? Like halfback?
No, like
On
they've
the
had
wing?
him sort
What
of
is he?
a little bit on ball and a little bit of wing.
Oh, really?
Even a bit of half forward.
Yeah, right.
I think they've tried to use him as that, I don't know, almost like that guy that kicks the ball inside 50, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Essendon have sort of done
Brian
a bit-
Myers vibe.
Yes, yeah, that sort of a thing. Like, because he's one of their better ball users.
Yeah.
But I think they've had to, like, you know, rob Peter to pay Paul there a little bit with kind of putting, well, like, they've lost their halfback distributor.
Yeah, I don't. That's what I sort of got the vibe I got from North Melbourne when we said, McKercher and Cheese will not be playing halfback this year. I'm like, how are we going to get out of the back line? I know we've got
Yeah.
Caleb Daniel, but geez, he showed that he may be
And there's absolutely, I mean, the one now.
Maybe what? Sorry, finish that sentence.
struggling to kick like back in the day. Maybe Bevo had a reason not to be playing him halfback anymore.
I think, like,
Bit harsh. Bit
I
early,
actually,
bit harsh.
to be honest, like this is going to sound harsh on Caleb Daniel, but I think Bevo's actually on the money there. Like Bevo cleared out all of those guys that lack the athleticism of the modern game. Like
Yeah.
they cleared out a Caleb Daniel, a Jack McRae. Jack McRae put in a classic Jack McRae performance at the
Super
weekend.
coach.
Had like, I don't know, 13 clearances or something like that.
Yeah.
But just doesn't find a target. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
there's no cut through with anything that he does.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I looked at Zach Fisher's season last year, where I'm sure the majority of North Melbourne fans were pretty disturbed by his ball use. And I mean, I think Zach Fisher seems like a cool bloke, but
I actually think he uses the ball well.
oh, really?
Yeah, I think his use is good. My issue with Fisher is like defensive acumen when he's got to play on something.
Oh, I swear, I watch him. Yes, come on, Charles. I don't know.
It's a good
You'll
kick.
get front on. That's free kick.
That is a good
I saw
spoil.
him butchering the footy a heap last year, and I thought, oh, that'll be cool. Like, get Caleb Daniel in that same position. He uses the footy well, but I don't know.
Sorry, I think Amon has done absolutely everything. Oh, it was Impey, sorry. Impey has done everything he could there to spoil that without
Impey.
giving front on. I thought he did well, and the free kick was given. I feel like as soon as a defender is running back with
there's
the
actually
fly,
nothing you can do anymore.
But I think he actually got the ball.
He got the
there.
ball. He did. He absolutely got. The only thing that you could say there, if you were arguing that, was like, did you just pay it a mark? Because it was a little bit late. Like, did he have?
He controlled the ball before.
Did he have enough control before you would actually say it was a mark or not a mark?
I'm just happy Carlton got one back to keep it interesting. We'll have a look at the replay here. Over to you, Dylan.
They're still in this game.
Yeah, bloody oath. Footy's a cool sport. How like,
Hang on, let's watch this.
well,
Cam.
it is. It's like how
he gets body.
much interpretation there is for the rules. Like so many other sports, if you look
Yeah.
at a replay, it's like, all right. Like in the NBA, they review everything, and it's like, all right, well, we can see that was off him, or that was a foul because you got him there, and it's like the criteria.
Yeah.
But with footy, it's sort of like, oh yeah, it's a little late for my liking, or like, you had that at the right time. Like I feel like it's sort of hard. Like if there was a review system in footy, it would still be like, hang on, I don't know.
The complexity with that, I feel like the
know what I
complexity
mean?
of AFL is the 360 nature, right?
Yeah.
Like in a game of soccer, there's definitely still
line,
grey
yeah.
areas.
The offside rule sort of
Here we
goes.
go.
Hard, running through the
He
middle of the
heard us.
MCG.
Whoa.
That's the
1v1
aggression.
jab. Oh! Zachy Williams. We've got a game on our hands, boys.
Yeah.
Me, I like football.
Carlton are back.
What's
Zach
the next
Williams.
I don't know. Couldn't tell you.
I like football.
We were having a conversation there.
Yes.
Yes. So AFL complex because of the 360-degree nature.
Yeah.
What this brings me onto a conversation about the suspensions during the week, mainly a conversation around Jackson Archer and that suspension. What did you boys think of that?
Free my guy Jacko.
Ridiculous. Hate to see that. I was talking to Cooko on the way here about what they brought to the tribunal or whatever it was. They said Jackson Archer decelerated by 25% between...
They actually proved that, did they?
Yeah, so they must have got his GPS and been like, from this frame to this frame, when whoever it was starts to fall over. Who was it?
It was Cleary.
Cleary, yeah,
When he
Costanza was like
starts to-
half tackling.
I will say in defence of Cleary, he was also shoved into that contest as well.
So do you almost suspend the bloke that pushes him?
I mean, you could.
Well, Costanza just copped that, brother.
I do think there is a conversation. I'm not sure if this one is the best example for that, but there definitely is a conversation on your decision making. You know how like when there's a red card in soccer, right?
Yeah.
They don't care about malice in judging a red card. If you're late, you're late.
But
True,
it was
but-
almost like he wasn't late. It's almost like he's going to period 1 at school and it's like, nah, period 1 time's changed and now you're late. You know what I mean? Back to you, Dylan.
It's
I just feel like not every injury or concussion has to be
Yeah, you
punished
don't have
by
to
something.
suspend it every
Yeah.
time. It's a physical sport.
But I feel like the AFL have a different view on that.
my issue. I'm actually okay that Jackson Archer gets suspended for the fact that I'm trying to think of the word. What's the word? Like he's kind of got to be responsible for his actions, right? Of
But
like
what were his actions? Like what was
did
he
he
supposed
actually
to do?
do?
running to kamikaze.
True, it was a little bit careless, I guess.
Into the careless is the word, right? And duty of care was the word that
But
I was
that's what he's
thinking
being
of.
coached to do. And that was another thing that was brought up
And
in
I don't
the
know-
Yes, but that's the
tribunal.
conversation though, right? Like, do they have to stop being coached to do that and be a little bit more pragmatic?
Yeah, stop
When they-
putting
Well,
front on
if your
pressure
last
on.
name's Archie, you're never going to be able to
Yeah,
coach.
exactly.
But I don't know if you remember, there's a few plays earlier in that quarter. Not a few plays. There was one play earlier that quarter where Jacko's and I think it might Luke McDonald maybe, and they both are sort of at half forward and they both like leave it for each other.
Right.
And it was maybe the Bulldogs went up the other end. That might have been like the game sealing sort of goal. And I reckon Jacko's probably gone, I'm not sitting back for anyone ever again in my life.
Yeah.
And then a little bit later in the quarter, he comes guns blazing because he's probably thinking, I'm going to win this footy. I'm not going to sit back again.
It's like, there's no doubt that it's incredibly difficult for them to make those split second decisions. Like, am I going to go absolutely full? Because sometimes that's going to be rewarded for the fact that you go in hard. And Cleary, obviously, like, he's a bit fumbly over the ball, which gives Archer an in. But yeah, I guess like the fact that you've got Constantine coming at Cleary from behind, he sort of pushes him down. And then obviously like Archer's just coming in when by the time he's tried to lose acceleration. But my only argument with suspensions, I think we have to look at it from a perception of it doesn't matter that it's malice. We always talk about it in the media and stuff like, oh, he didn't have any malice behind it. Like, of course he didn't have any malice.
Sauce has dropped a chest mark.
That is
Picks it up. Snaps on the left. That can bounce through.
It's a goal.
It's a goal. I think that's
goal.
touched on the line.
Sorry,
within that conversation, we've just seen Connor McDonald go down with an ankle injury, and he knew.
I did not see that. Yeah, no.
This game is hot right now.
Yeah, this is good.
Yeah, I was saying, you guys were all at Jackson Archer, and I was just like, this is sick.
North Melbourne.
Yeah,
North Melbourne.
Connor McDonald, I didn't actually see what happened, but I saw him holding his ankle, shaking his head straight down to the rooms, and Gunson's
that would be a
walking
massive
up.
out for the Hawks. That is a touch.
Well done,
Wow.
Joshua.
Oh, but is it padding or is it post?
Don't know. I think
We need goal line
It's
tech.
padding.
It is padding?
Yeah, because don't they go even with the line at the bottom? They don't overhang.
Oh, maybe.
Oh, true. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Yeah,
fair
they
call.
do. I did not know that. There you go.
You learn
the more
something
you
new every
know,
day.
hey?
Yep. This is ball knowledge.
1-0.
So back to, I just want to be really clear with the Jackson Archer one.
You
I
hate
don't
Jacko
think it's
and you think he's a psycho. That's
sniper.
what you're telling me.
No. What I'm saying.
What a kick.
It shouldn't be 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But I think you can get suspended for those, like, whatever you want to call them, careless.
Then do you think, like, I know Jacko Archer's not going to win a Brownlow or anything, but then do you think the suspension sort of thing should come away from it?
Yes, absolutely. I think the Brownlow's got to change in a lot of ways. We talked about the voting of the umpires off the top, but I think you could also change the suspension part of it. Because, if you those losing Brownlows should be reserved to
doing a
dog
dirty
acts.
act, like Barry hauling someone in the face, not like genuinely having intention to win the football and hurting someone
100%
because of a little bit of careless or a little bit too excited. And then, I mean, Jacko's not going to win a Brownlow, but
Yep.
yeah.
And the Jackson Archer one's a classic example of, like, wouldn't a week have just sufficed for that? You're still punishing the carelessness.
I think that, it's just like the AFL, anything that goes near anyone's head, they're just like, just let's flog it so then you don't go near someone's head. But in footy, it's going to happen. Like, as you said, a 360 game, it's like
There are
guys
accidents.
going full tilt, which is what we want to see. Obviously, you never want to see a guy get knocked out.
100%. And there are still incidents on the football field, I think, where the ball goes in the air, 2 guys are running, they run hard for the ball, and they should be allowed to do that.
Yeah.
And there's still an accident. And 2 people could get knocked out in that particular situation. But there's that conversation as well that goes on around that of, like, I don't know, I feel like every time this happens, there's like an AFL great that says the game's gone. I'm not, like, Wayne Carey will come in and say, I'm not watching
footy
I've
ever
quit,
again.
I've quit the game. I'm not watching the game
back.
ever again. And, like, it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of a bit ridiculous. Like, the game, to me, the game is still as physical, if not more, it's more physical than it's actually ever been. As far as the contested part of the game. There's just less
Dog
hits.
shots.
Yeah, really. Like,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of if you actually want there to be dog shots in the game, I don't really know. Like, are you actually watching?
No,
Do you
I
actually care
don't
about
want
footy?
that. I'm like, I hate playing local footy or seeing people play local footy and there's guys there just want to fight.
There's always someone there that's trying to just snipe you off the ball.
Bro, it's 21 for Carlton. I keep thinking it's Jack Martin.
Campariali.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Sauce, you owe them a goal, Sauce. You
do.
owe them a goal.
He's done well.
He said, here you go. Oh, what?
That was a sausage roll of a handball.
What's he complaining about? The poor handball?
What was the free kick for?
I don't know. Yeah, he's grabbed him.
Yeah.
Morrison drops like a sack
The
of
one
shit there
leg
for me.
skin from, maybe it's a bit of hamstring taping.
Yeah, Lucas Campariali actually came in. Really good debut. I think he had low 20 disposals.
Yeah, geez, you'll take that.
Running that wing. His disposal can be a little bit questionable.
Tell you what, the Blues have shown up.
Far out.
I think, like you were saying on...
Nothing pretty about what they're doing, but this is
Akers.
effort.
I think
That's
this...
high. Have a shot, Blake.
Me and Cookson on the way here were having the conversation of this wet weather footy, who does it favour more? And I
Carlton.
made the argument that it favours Hawthorn more with
Yeah,
their
I
smaller
would
lineup.
have said the same.
However,
I feel like... Sorry, no, you finish.
You're right. I think because Carlton, their strength is contest
Yeah.
and just battling.
Do you know what you're talking about though?
Nope.
Carlton's strength is hardball. So
Yeah.
when the ball's close, whereas Hawthorn's contested possession is more loose ball
Yeah.
with that extra speed and outside
Yeah,
class that
winning
they
those
have as
more
well.
ones.
So they're probably equally good at contested footy, but just the breakdown.
I feel like the wet is like a great equaliser. Like it's always going to benefit the worst team, I feel.
For sure.
Especially in modern footy where it's like skills, athleticism, movement. Like I feel like if you're the less equipped team and like the
Yep.
less talented
Yep.
team,
But it's a good
gonna
point too that I
favour
didn't really clock before the game. But Hawthorn, such a good kicking team, and we
Oh,
talk
that's
about
50.
that punish
That's
off
gotta be 50.
turnover.
yeah.
And they weren't really able to punish Carlton off turnover in that first quarter, and it's the kicking game, right? Where the footy sort of equalises that. Carlton like to play that territory game, and it sort of plays into their hands a little bit.
And it's also, sort of like what I was saying before, where like Carlton a super emotional team, Hawthorn a super level team.
Yep.
And it's like, I don't know, I feel like an emotional, physical team can be favoured heaps in the wet. Like,
All the tears and that.
yeah, and it's like, I don't know, lower scoring, all the tears, yeah. Lower scoring, it's like the longer the game goes at a lower level, it's like the longer they're more involved and they feel like they can win. And I don't know, the clinical way that Hawthorn go about it, a bit harder.
Carlton have just had a bit of possession here.
I've not seen this all game. Like
No.
a bit of
No,
shit
It's
mark.
just weird.
Bit of uncontested footy. Wiedering started it with the intercept. It's probably the first intercept mark I've seen him take for the game too.
Is he the best key defender in the comp,
No.
Andrew?
I see Jacob Wiedering play in person, and I'm like, yeah, he's actually like you can't
Because
beat
he's
him
just
one
an
on one.
absolute specimen. Yeah,
Yeah.
that is fair.
Like he just seems like a man mountain.
I reckon one-on-one defender, he's probably number one.
Well, statistically,
Yeah,
I'm the
he's-
stats
yeah,
man
I
now
saw that,
because
yeah.
I know ball. Like I think it was the Ben Mackay discussion that was brought up,
Mm.
and it was like his percentage loss is like 10%.
It's less. I think it was like 9.7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like 5%.
Sam
better than
Taylor
Sam
has
Taylor.
had seasons like that though.
Yeah, I
In-
think
in-
he was like second.
And Sam
Yeah.
Taylor's marks the ball. And
That's what I was
hurts
going to
the other way
say,
a
and
bit
that's
more.
the only thing with how they use Jacob Wiedering. I don't think they use him in as offensive positions
Yeah.
as what some of those other guys do, and then it's sort of I don't know.
Oh, jeez, that's
Oh,
stiff.
wow.
I think I'm with you. Sam Taylor, I think he's amazing.
Oh, I love Sam.
but
Taylor.
I also do think Wiedering's in a pretty bang average back line. Sam Taylor's in a
Yes.
pretty
Yeah.
well set up back line. Like,
far out.
and Sam Taylor gets the grace of having midfielders and half forwards that pressure the ball. Like,
Yep.
I mean, Carlton do on their day, but for Wiedering to have like that under 10% loss is pretty insane.
Yeah, considering what he's got to work with. Doherty on the outside wing, inside 50. Kerno, make your mark on the season,
had
son.
to go body, Charles.
Sicily puts Battle in a bit of pressure. Sicily has to follow up. Oh, just great game awareness there from Sicily. That's holding the ball.
Jack
That's holding the
Silvani's
ball.
been
It's got to be.
huge.
It has to be. The umpire's called it.
He's called it. Oh, Walsh has played on.
No, he's
Walsh
called it.
has kicked the
No.
goal.
No,
Flaggers.
it's not a goal. It's not a goal.
Why
No,
not?
He's called him back.
Yeah,
Grow
it's a free kick. Free
Grow
kick,
up.
Carlton.
Sense of
No,
occasion
he made the
umpire.
call. You don't want. Remember that Anzac Day game where the umpires just had no control and like that was holding the ball. It was a bit of a late call, but bring it back. You don't want to see the advantage play there.
Do you
That's
guys
well played
remember
by
the
umpires.
2010 FIFA World Cup?
Oh no,
Was that, hang on,
South Africa.
2010?
Netherlands versus Spain.
Oh, yeah.
The final, I think it was like
Iniesta kicked the winner?
17 yellow cards. Like
Holy
the
shit.
game was just out of control. Like at one point, I think it was PK got like sort of
Gerard,
like
Shakira's, man.
ninja kicked in the chest, and he was like coughing up blood. And the ref just would only give yellows
Wow.
for everything. Like just, it didn't matter what, like the severity of it.
always
Silvani's kicked the
sus
goal. Has that
with
put the
soccer.
Blues in front?
Yeah,
Yes,
mate.
they are in front.
I told you they're going to win. They're up by
You
3. I
did
picked them by
say
4.
this.
Oh,
Mate,
we had-
sometimes you just have a feeling at the bottom of your body.
We had a comment from who was it? I saw it up there before. Oh, where is it? Oh, it was Gritio. What's with the Carlton bias tonight? I said it before, but they're just the underdogs tonight, and the
Hawthorn
Hawks.
fan, are you, Gritio?
Yeah. What do you think of the Hawthorn
Carlton
fan
bias.
versus Carlton fan dynamic, Cookson?
What do you mean?
Like, just we were talking about like clubs we like and dislike, and it's quite well like stated that I'm not the biggest fan of Carlton based on our history, but like, how do you see these two fan bases and where they're at the moment?
as far as these teams, I actually like both of them a lot.
Well, in terms
Carlton,
of like the football they play,
the
and
club
the teams.
or
the players, like both of these teams, sets of players, I actually really like at the moment.
I always get accused of being like anti-Carlton.
I
Yeah,
get
right.
accused of that as well. It's heaps weird.
I like Carlton. One of my best mates barracks for Carlton, so I sort of have a
I
soft
thought
spot
that
for
usually
him.
made you hate.
Nah, he's a good bloke. He's a good, honest fella. But
Cam.
Hawthorn, I love Hawthorn. Like, they were probably the most exciting team to watch last year. Hawthorn fans, it doesn't take much to become super arrogant, I feel.
Yeah, for sure.
Which, I mean,
Does that just come with success? Does that just come
I
with
reckon it's
potentially,
also
like-
their demographic as well, like eastern suburbs of
private
Melbourne,
school boys,
private
that
school,
just
wealthy
sort of,
area.
Of course, we're Hawthorn. We're going to win. But it's
Yeah.
weird. I don't know. I feel like Carlton fans are a bit of a sad vibe, so they're not as annoying. But Hawthorn, yeah, I mean, like, why wouldn't you be happy?
I like I like the football club of Carlton. Like, I like the history. They're obviously like a massive fan base.
yeah,
And I love that the AFL has that with clubs like Carlton and Collingwood and these sort of juggernauts. It's just that, like, it's really just their recent history, right?
yep.
six.
I want to see a Carlton Collingwood grand final more than anything.
I
To be
know.
honest, like when we nearly had it, and Carlton got the jump on Brisbane in that
Yep.
that prelim, I was like, oh my god, Melbourne's going to shut down. Like, it's going to be insane.
That's never happened in my lifetime.
Yeah. Well, when
Carlton
was
versus
when
Collingwood.
when was the last time that happened?
Pull that up,
There we
Jamie.
go.
That wasn't
Last.
it wasn't 1990, was it? Collingwood won the flag in 1990.
Yeah, I don't know who they beat. I don't think it was
It
Carlton.
might have been Hawthorn.
True.
1981.
Was Carlton
81.
Collingwood? Wow, yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible.
That could be wrong, but that's just what it come up and it was like Wikipedia. Yeah, 1981. They have met in 6 VFL grand finals.
It's incredible that they're, like, along with Essendon, they're the 3 most successful clubs, and we haven't seen them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what is it? Essendon and Carlton are both at 16. And then...
And Collingwood, same.
Are Collingwood at 16
Collingwood
now?
equaled with their 23 flag.
Hawthorn 14, 15?
Yeah, they're up there now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Do we count VFL flags or do we just like when do we just go AFL?
It's a good question because it's
It's a
obviously
different league.
it's pretty unfair on the interstate teams as well. Like
Tassie, lift.
Yeah.
Get a flag, Tassie.
like a Port Adelaide, they've got 36 flags.
Yeah, do we count?
Do
yeah,
you
do we
take
just
them
say
in?
that?
Yeah, true.
It's
South Freo and East Freo, if
And
you
what about,
combine
like-
them, would have loads.
I mean,
as well,
I don't know a
so-
heap about it, but I've heard Benry, he talks about it, like how there was the different leagues.
like VFA and
Yeah, I don't know how long ago, but like,
yeah.
to the flags in that, like North Melbourne jumped from one. We were
North
like-
Melbourne jumped.
So did we win flags in the worst one? Do we get them? Like, I
Yeah,
mean,
well, no, we don't is the answer. But yeah,
Yeah,
it's
right.
it's a question,
Mm.
right?
well, it's like in the Premier League, they don't count.
Well, United,
Like Liverpool have like a heap, but they only have one.
they don't
in-
have like a Premier
Yeah.
League. Yeah.
So it's like,
No, they still count those though.
yeah, they do.
no,
Liv-
but they only counted from like from the 2000
Nah,
when it
nah,
became.
they don't.
Oh, it was the early.
Fans do that for
Yeah.
banter.
Oh,
But
okay.
Liverpool's top flight English championships still stand. So
Right.
Liverpool are the
Yeah,
I think it was
okay,
like 92 was the first year of the Premier League and United won it.
91.
There you go.
Right.
Oh,
Believe
ball
so.
knowledge.
Okay, yeah.
I think so. I hope that's true.
Who do you support in the Prem?
Liverpool.
Nice.
they,
I like
they
Liverpool.
count. They bloody
Oh, no,
count.
no, yeah. Well, I don't know. I'd seen heaps of things where they talk about like Liverpool only having one.
How many
Yeah.
have Liverpool won then? Is it 18, 19?
So 20, I think.
Well, no, it's not 20.
Well, it'll be 20 this
It will
year.
be 20 this year, I think.
Yeah.
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 Because United sing 20 times.
Oh, Jack Silvani's the greatest
Cottrell.
player of all time. What's going on?
He's so
Well,
dangerous.
he's got him around the neck at that point. He's literally got him in a headlock.
Yeah, but he's ducked in.
Barris is thinking about the man from the word. from
Sorry,
the
if you
east
have
to the
someone
west.
if you have someone in a guillotine, I reckon you got to pay higher. It doesn't matter if you
Really, but like, what if
he's
they
pulled
got themselves
guillotine.
into it?
Yeah,
I know
maybe,
that sounds like I'm blaming the
maybe
victim.
you're right. Chera, can he
Cam.
impact the scoreboard? He can.
Oh, he says,
and he goes
"Oh,
this.
I'm a game changer." I'm a game changer.
So this is the direction of the Carlton Football Club in 2025.
Hey, they're up 10.
Yeah,
I went unders picking them by
down
4.
10 before you know it.
Wow.
Now I'm back on the Hawthorn train. Fuck Carlton. We had fun here. Over to you, Dylan.
George Hewitt is leading the way for Carlton with score involvements. He has had 4
Wow.
score involvements.
How was his year last year? Because I remember the year before he was like really good. Was he injured a fair bit of last year? George Hewitt? Yeah.
That was just a little off a step job from Cherry.
They had a lot of injuries last year, Carlton.
I know this is horrible, but because they both used to play at Sydney, I always would get Hewitt and Newman mixed up.
Oh, yeah.
But,
Yeah, fair play.
So yeah.
That's not fair. That's pathetic.
No, it is pathetic, yeah. It is.
You do have those though. Like everyone has different like quirks of like,
Yeah.
oh, I have this. So I think
Well, I used to, Caden and Dutchy used to back in the day, I'd talk about North. I'm like, oh, they're just all the same player. I'm like, no, they're not.
It's only that if you don't care
They,
about it.
I actually couldn't tell you like the different. Like, if I
Scott
have,
McMahon
like,
and Daniel Pratt are not the same player. Stop it.
if you put like Will Phillips,
Well, okay, him.
is it Will
He
Powell?
is the same player.
Tom
Come
Powell.
on.
Yeah, see, I don't know,
Mate,
bro.
Tom Powell's a genuine stud.
Okay, well, I need to get to know.
That's
if
a
he
bit
wins more
strong.
than if he gets double
You
digit.
reckon?
Powell, he's a good player. He's not a star.
Oh, I reckon he's pretty young, and he's.
If he reaches double digit wins, maybe
I
I'll
reckon.
start to take
I reckon
notice.
Tom Powell has
Or
like
Cottrell
like-
the cockroach.
he could be like one of the best of our batch. If
Really?
Yeah, I think so.
You think he's that good?
Yeah, because he moves super
CJ,
well
oh,
and
he
he's
shut
super strong.
himself.
Like he like
I
he
think.
has X factor in him. I reckon.
I mean, I still think North's best player is LDU. We probably shouldn't be getting this off onto North again, but
No.
I probably think the best of that young batch is probably Wardlaw for me, if he can stay fit.
Well, I think I look at him and I go, that's our Selwood. If we become with the talented crop we have, if it all goes the way we all want it to,
He's
like,
the only one that defends as well.
oh mate, he loves a tackle more than he loves taking a mark or getting a kick. Like he's exceptional. But no, I think Tommy Powell has like, I don't know, big, strong man, moves well. Yeah, I like Tommy Powell a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I know he's come a long way in the last couple of years. I don't see him as like a
needle mover.
really game breaker. Like he's just
I reckon he could be. I mean, he's not as quick or explosive, but he still is. But if LDU shifted on, I feel like there could be a Tom Powell sized hole for him to fill, and it wouldn't bother us too much.
Enough
And he fits,
for-
he fits the age demographic better as well.
I'm worried if LDU leaves.
Oh, well, I don't want him to leave for sure, but he looked uninterested until the last quarter against the Dogs.
Yeah.
And he has a little bit of that in him.
He does.
And you see him go to the bench and he just looks shitty at everyone.
You would be though. Anyway, enough of the North
potentially.
chat.
Oh, sorry. Can't help myself, man.
Hawthorn kicked the first 2 goals of this quarter, and the ball has not been up the city end of the ground since.
It's crazy.
Jack Silvani legacy game.
I will have to call myself out here. Where has Will Day been?
Well, he's probably copped a tag and he doesn't know what to do with it yet.
Who's tagging him?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just doesn't like the wet.
Has Cripper just gone to him? I don't know.
Cricket a day.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, it's
Walsh is
Walsh.
on him
Sammy
there.
Walsh has gone, I'm stronger than you and I can run as much as you want.
Get in there more. Motlop. Oh, he's stripped. That's got to be ball, doesn't it?
One thing I have noticed, and I don't want to hate on the man that I introduced to drum and bass, but CJ looks a little bit shaky after school, if you know what I'm saying.
How many free kicks is he giving away?
A couple.
Like deep in defence.
But like, I feel like he is a mismatch. I feel like Carlton should just,
Target him.
what do they call it? Like the whatever offense. Like you just run the offense through that guy. Like if it's Isaiah Thomas at point guard, you just run
Yep.
whoever offense on Isaiah
Yeah.
Thomas. Like you're just running that
Yeah.
on CJ right now.
Yeah.
And I feel like he's feeling the heat. Carlton are bringing the pressure. I want to see the man play well, and I wish the best for him. But he is looking at.
That's what would happen to Josh Giddey at OKC. They would like in the playoffs and stuff. They'd go at him on the offensive end. Like when Giddey's playing defense, it's like just if Giddey's guarding you, you just go score.
Yeah.
And then also they'd leave him wide open at 3, and it
Yeah.
was like,
Motlop.
they're
Do a backflip.
flaggers. I didn't
Wow.
mean 4 points. I meant baggers by 40
Did
points.
I say 12th? I meant second.
Emotional Football Club. They'll get. Who are they playing next week? They won't show up against them.
Imagine Carlton if they get up, they're just gonna be like, no one gave us a chance.
Yeah, they'll be insufferable.
Do you feel like, I mean, obviously there's a long way to go and Hawthorn are more than capable of just absolutely turning this around.
It's
still
over.
maybe winning. But even if Hawthorn lose this, you don't mind that. I feel.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, this is a poor performance so far, though.
Yeah,
from
it's
Hawthorn,
poor.
for
It is
sure.
poor, but it's wet and it's like they've
Did you guys notice something then? Jesse Motlop sockered the ball off the ground in a soccer motion. If that was soccer, though, it would have gone over the crossbar, but because there's no crossbar in AFL, it was a 6-pointer.
That's like
What are you, Dylan?
That's what we pay you for, Drewzy.
that's quite an astute little observation there from you, Andrew.
Do you think this Carlton small forward brigade is worrying Hawthorn? Not that necessarily because they are such a good brigade, but just the height of the Hawthorn defence.
Yeah,
They're looking a little bit,
especially in the wet.
shaky on the ground ball.
Yeah, shaky
Carlton's
after school.
midfield is all over him. That's where the game's
Yeah.
being won and lost at the moment. We've got Jesse off True Footy in the chat saying,
We're
"This
on your
is-
channel, brother. I'm on your channel.
This is so weird, kicking back on a Thursday night, tuning into my own channel. Oh, don't give me this shit, VAR.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, Snicko.
Surely that's
they've
well
robbed
past
them
it, isn't it?
twice. No, I mean,
that's
you've got
not-
Snicko.
That stinks.
OMG.
Look at that score review.
And see, Andrew, if it had
No.
been soccer, it would have counted because it hits the bar and goes in. So it's
We're
like,
so good.
it's like
Yes.
the ons and the offs of footy and soccer.
I would, like, those kind of decisions, I know, like, letter of the law. I'd want to see that given.
Yeah, true. Like it's
What
what's
did
the
I-
point?
What did I miss there?
Just
No, we just didn't laugh at a joke. It was just stupid.
yeah, I'm with you.
Okay.
I mean, like,
Live in the moment.
did anyone, any of the Hawthorn defenders, were they like it touched the post, it touched the post?
No.
Or did it just
No,
got
they-
picked up going
They
back to goal?
absolutely weren't.
Is it just VAR? Like the ref has a watch and it's like vibration
Yeah.
on the
Well, I think
goalpost?
they've said every single
There's no
goal
way.
going back to the middle gets reviewed.
Yeah, there's no way AFL would have something that tech savvy.
Yeah.
As far as a
well, aren't they trying to
vibrator?
put Spencers in Spencers.
Oh, just
what is a
gets away with
Spencer? Put it like a
Oh, it's been
oh, here's
FC.
your man. He goes, I'm on.
Come on, Will.
Oh, they're
They-
out.
they
here.
have, like-
Here we go.
This has to be a goal. This just has
Sensors
to
or
be a goal. I'm
something
going
in
to
the
close my
ball.
eyes and I
It is
reckon
a
this is a
sausage.
6-pointer. I'm going to close my eyes.
Hardwick.
Tell me when it's a goal.
No one can when they transition the football
Yeah.
like that. No one can go.
Is it a
with
goal
them.
yet? Can I open my eyes?
No, it's not yet.
It's a
Hardwick's
shot for
lining
Hardwick.
up.
He's a pretty safe pair of hands though, with ball in hand.
You back him to finish
Oh,
the job.
100%. What's this going to be? 40 when he kicks it.
This is a 2-goal swing from
Are they-
Motlop missing that.
Yeah. Are the Hawks the fittest team in the comp?
Yeah, Hardwick's well fit.
Giants. I think the Giants are right up there.
Yeah, Hawks and Giants, I think, are the two best running teams.
Yeah.
He's got it.
He slotted it.
The Giants have been like that for a long time. And what I was sort of, I don't know if anyone was following along at home there, but I did like the eyes closed test. Like this should be a goal. When we were at the GWS Melbourne game last week, it felt like any time the Giants got the ball on the outside or in that half-back zone, it was just like, this is a layup for them. Like they're just going to transition the ball,
Yeah.
hit 2 targets, and it's a goal.
that was in the wet too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Difficult conditions.
Similarity.
I actually wanted to have a
overload
chat
right now.
about that Melbourne, not necessarily about the Melbourne performance, because I think the performance was okay, but are they, when you actually look at that game, the Giants, the players that they had out, they're still missing Stringer, Jesse Hogan, Tom Green looked pretty underdone, and I feel like they had another.
He was pretty big in the last quarter with some of his clean
He was
hands.
actually. He was very good in that game, but
As
do you
well as
think
Toby going through the middle. That was huge.
Melbourne are still a worry? Like I know a lot of people picked them to bounce and finish back in the top 8 again, and I know they've got some good players, but I have question marks over them.
Yeah, I think that's like valid to have question marks over them. I think it was a pretty good performance by them. As you said, it wasn't too bad, but
with those, I mean, Giants are also travelling, right? They're travelling to Melbourne.
Yeah.
They don't play that well in Melbourne.
Yeah.
Overall,
I feel like the way that the Giants, what we've seen from them this year, especially in that opening round game against Collingwood, was, I don't know, it doesn't matter a lot with the personnel out, which sounds silly. Like, obviously, you want your
they're
Coleman medalists playing.
yeah, such a good system team.
Yeah, like the way
Yep.
Kingsley's got, it's watching them defend the footy, like defend the ground, is almost like a basketball zone.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like they're on a string. It's like one guy goes, they fill his space. They're like, I don't know, just super fit. And yeah,
the Briggs was the other player.
Briggs, yeah.
so
I
they
mean,
did-
Lockie Keefe got mauled all day in the ruck by Maxi
Yeah.
Gorman.
And Melbourne still managed to lose that game with all of those things. That was kind of my point. Like, was the performance actually as good as people seem to give Melbourne a tick for that game?
Yeah. I feel like because
I'd give Melbourne a
Giants
tick for that
premiership
game.
favourites. Yeah, I wouldn't.
It was the way they cracked in. Like their effort for 4 quarters didn't wane.
They had patches where they were really on top as well.
All over him.
Just the Giants' fitness and going back to how they defend the ground, I think just always
Any
gave them a chance.
side doing that for a period of time to the GWS, you got to give them kudos, even if it is for a quarter or two and showing it. And the fact that most people have GWS as premiership favourites this year.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think big tick for Melbourne.
Yeah.
No May in that side.
True.
No Cozzy
No
Pickett. So
True.
I feel like if you have those 2 guys in the team, they win on the day.
But then what if you counteract that with... I know I just said the personnel doesn't matter as much, but what if you counteract that with Hogan and who else?
Stringer.
Hogan, May, maybe.
Stringer's a weird one because
Briggs is a big one though. Like Briggs would have competed with Max.
what's their go? They're not going to roll with... I mean, Keith, I got around him. I lost my voice cheering for him, but you can't roll with him every week.
And they've traded. I think they delisted Bruce, who was kind of their backup guy, and they also traded Flynn.
You know who did a massive job that day was Callum Brown around the ground.
He's such a good player.
He looks spent. He's one of the most underrated players in the comp.
He's just the reason that he's not considered in that top echelon is he just doesn't quite have like the polish at the end. Like that game against Collingwood, he had so many opportunities to mark the ball and just dropped a sitter, but he was in the right position, gets separation.
I feel like the reason why he doesn't get his plaudits is because he's not even a top 5 forward in that GWS forward line.
True.
They're so stacked. Like Cadman, Hogan, Stringer, Brent Daniels.
Brent.
Yeah.
But
he got injured in that game
Darcy
too.
Jones.
Yeah.
So like they're just so stacked. Like you literally forget about them just in human nature.
They've got
of
a
listing
wave
players.
of small forwards that haven't even played football to come into that team. So like Ollie Hannaford, they drafted this year. Phoenix Gothard has barely played any football. They're all first round draft picks. Cody Angove, more of a winger, but like he's another one. And I feel like we didn't mention a lot of players there as well. Like, did you say Darcy Jones, Harvey Thomas?
Harvey Thomas. Yeah, Harvey Thomas.
Harvey Thomas can move.
And then they have
The
like
tank
Jacob Ware, who's a bit of a different player, but he like always flirts with the sub role, but he runs.
He flirts
so
with positions too, like bit of halfback, bit of small forward, bit of wing.
I feel like they're just like, I don't know. I think a lot of people have said it that the Giants are in that like ready to go mode. Like they've sort of flirted with, the final. They lost, did they lose to Collingwood by a point that year that they didn't in that prelim?
2023,
And then last year they like nearly won both finals and then got knocked out from both.
That game against Brisbane, I've never seen a game, like I was sure they were going to win that game.
Yeah.
I went for a drive. I remember I'm like, they've got this.
Yeah.
That's
Came back.
crazy.
Ridiculous, yeah.
I was at a rave and we
Do you do anything else? Footy
football
and
rave make content. That's how
I
you
actually said to
Drew.
Drewzy last week, I'm like, a rave's still cool.
And what did I reply?
Yes, if you're not 30.
No, I said yes. It's cool if your age starts with a 2.
So I can come?
my mate had a multi on, and I'm not really a sports bet man, but he had a multi on, and he's like, "This is home. All I need is for the Giants to win, and they've won." And I think that was at 3/4 time. They were
Yeah.
were they 40 points up?
Joe Danaher kicked some.
They were in
snaggeroonies.
cruise control.
There we go. Anyway, that's half time in the ball game. Dylan, hit me with some stats, baby.
Some stats. Okay, so the clearance game is a bit of an interesting one. So De Koning is getting on top in the hit-outs, 30-21.
Wow.
Giving Carlton a 24-20 clearance dominance. And probably more importantly, and I feel, this is just a feeling, I haven't got any numbers on that, but I feel like Carlton have had a lot of their scores from centre clearance, just getting the ball inside 50, and then whether it's like a repeat stoppage, but it feels like a bit of more of a forward half game for them.
Yeah. Territory wars.
It's a territory war, and like you still see Hawthorn wanting to play that transition football, right? Like when they've opened Carlton up, it's been like a walk-in goal.
Yeah.
It's not the night for transition footy, though, is it?
No, it's not. And I think that's why Hawthorn are struggling.
Yeah. But it has looked cool when they've got it going, to be fair to them.
They're the coolest team in footy.
They are. Hollywood Hocker.
Hollywood Hawk.
Playing more like the Bollywood Bockers tonight with that.
All right, boys.
first half performance.
I got a hypothetical.
We love that.
You can take any young player in the game right now, steal them off another club, and bring them into your club.
What's the age cutoff?
There's no age cut off. So this is just
Marcus Bontempelli.
Is that what Freo need most? you reckon?
No. So
yeah,
young,
because it's got to be
club
club specific. It can't be like
Okay.
he's just the best player.
I'd take like Sam Taylor, I reckon. I don't know how old he is, but
Yeah, he's good at 28, I reckon. 27, 28.
Are we
Who
going
else
young
is
players or are we just going players here?
yeah, maybe not.
Let's go young players. Let's say 25 or younger. Let's go with that. Or 24.
I don't know, Sam Taylor, Sam Collins. I just want a good key defender.
Good big.
North Melbourne, that doesn't
Jacob
exist
Wiedering?
at the moment.
Would you take
yeah, how
Jacob?
old's Wiedering? He'd be a bit younger as well, wouldn't he?
Yeah, 25.
I'd
I reckon,
love
26.
Wiedering there. Like
Maybe
he's
27.
Yeah, I'd take Wiedering.
My answer is Sam Darcy from the Western Bulldogs.
Oh, that is an incredibly good answer.
That is
Would
a
that
pretty
be
good
the
answer,
Would that be the
yeah.
best for Freo though?
I think so.
Given-
I reckon it would free up Amos to play a bit. I don't know. Like,
What would you do with Darcy then?
well, we'd have a new Darcy.
You cancel him.
We're just like, S Darcy, just like straight swap, cancels each other out.
And Mac Andrew would be a good one as
Oh,
well.
yeah.
I'd love a
His
bit of
upside's crazy.
The only thing with North, if I look at their defence, I don't feel like we need like Mac's more of an interceptor
Yeah.
than a pure lockdown defender, and I feel like with the way that we've got, I still don't feel like we have a defender, a guy that just wants
it's like
to.
Aiden Core. And
I know, like Griffin Logue and Aiden Core are sort of doing that job. I don't think Combin's a particularly good one-on-one defender.
No.
Like he struggles a little bit with physicality. He like runs and jumps at the ball, comes across really well, and my God, is he a press trigger, like with ball in hand.
Yeah. I feel like Griffin Logue and Combin both at their absolute best are doing like intercept marking role.
Yeah. I do. Like, I would agree, though, that when your team has been as bad for as long as North Melbourne, where the club is at sort of holistically, like every single problem seems amplified,
Yeah.
right?
Let's not get back to North. Let's talk about good young players.
We can't.
We
It's
can't
just-
help it. So this game, what will happen? What has to happen here? What do Hawthorn have to change? Because if they're the ones that are chasing the game.
The camera right now is on the Hawthorn midfielders. We've got Cam McKenzie, Morrison, Nash, Ambrosio, and Lloyd Meek.
Pretty sorry bunch, isn't it?
Well, it just... if you flip that camera to the Carlton rooms, it would have been Hewitt.
Oh, come on. Why'd you
Cripps.
start with Hewitt?
Just, I'm thinking body, age. Like, those were young players there.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the game right now is being won and lost. Great call from you, Cooko, coming in saying that Paddy Cripps is going to have a big game. I know, two-time Brownlow medalist. It's not
Yeah,
the
that's
biggest
not
call.
really a big
but
call at all.
He and that mould of player tonight has been massive. The big bodies.
Devil's
in the way.
advocate, have Carlton left a little bit of scoreboard pressure
Yes,
off the
massively.
table there
Yeah.
with the dominance that they had in that second quarter?
Well,
Should have been 20 plus, and they're looking at
Hawthorn had
under
the
a goal.
same in the first quarter. So, I don't know. I feel like
But
it
I don't
cancels
think
each
the
other
lead
out.
means as much for Hawthorn as it does for Carlton.
No. Like they're going to get shaky when it comes down to it, Carlton,
Yeah.
given what's happened over the past
Oh,
week.
just-
If you
Cool.
give up 41-point lead to Richmond, a 5-point lead sure is not safe against Hawthorn.
Well, you reckon
Yeah.
it just gets into the fourth quarter and the Blues just start to think, oh, last week, oh, last year.
If it's close.
Oh, last 2 years. Oh, last 20 years.
Potentially, I don't know. I think, is the rain still coming down? I just think if you're Carlton, you just want it to be wetter and wetter and wetter. So it's not like, I don't know. If the game just keeps drying up, I think Hawthorn are just going to be absolutely... What are you laughing about, man?
Look at Carlton's last two game sample size here. The last two competitive football matches that they played in: Richmond, capitulation; Brisbane Lions, prelim.
Didn't
prelim?
show up.
That was
Yeah.
a prelim.
No, it was
no,
the
it was like
elimination final.
Yeah.
Of course it was. Yeah, because Brisbane finished out. Yeah, sorry.
Prelim the year
But
before.
that was a capitulation, wasn't it?
Yeah.
60-0.
Yeah.
60-0. It's a soccer score on FIFA when you
When
play
you play-
20-minute halves on amateur. And
What is it? Australia versus American Samoa. Archie Thompson has 11.
did that happen?
I think it's like one of the biggest
Wait, what
international...
was that team called?
American Samoa?
American
Do you-
Samoa.
Dylan?
You're talking about the team that Australia beat.
It's like the biggest
the biggest
international...
international
yeah, and I
victory.
think Archie Thompson kicked like, a heap.
Yeah. It might have been Samoa or...
Yeah, American Samoa.
It's like in Europe, everyone's biggest win is against San Marino.
Yeah, San Marino.
What about
yeah.
Liechtenstein?
Yeah, they're up there too, but San Marino seem to...
Do you reckon Liechtenstein have a team? An international
Liechtenstein,
team?
yeah, they do. Australia have played them in a friendly before. Yeah, I've seen that.
Australia are playing Indonesia in a match right now. Oh, I got a match on Tinder. It's not broken. I thought my Tinder was broken. I was like, what's wrong with it? It doesn't get me a match.
The young King
that's a
Cooks,
new
ladies
one.
and gentlemen.
Australia are up 3-0 against Indonesia, as everyone has been keenly awaiting.
I love the World Cup.
Yeah, it's fun times, isn't it?
Absolutely love it.
But you always get the worst time zone for it, though, just being in Australia.
I was in Russia in
Oh,
2018.
true.
I was living there at the time.
Oh,
Did you go to any
Wow.
games?
I didn't go to any physical games, but I spent a lot of time in the fan zone.
Yeah,
They were amazing. Yeah. Watch what was the game there? The Denmark.
England, Denmark?
Nah, Australia, Denmark.
Oh,
like in the
Australia,
group
Denmark.
stage. That was a massive game.
Did we win?
We didn't. It was a
No.
draw.
Draw,
It was
that's
a
right.
1-1 draw.
Who else? We had France in our group that year.
Yeah, they
and
dismantled us. And
we beat
Peru.
the other team, Peru.
No, we lost to Peru.
Wait, we lost to Peru?
Yeah. We
What,
drew
we
with
didn't win
Denmark.
the game at the 2018
No.
World Cup.
No.
Frick.
What
But
was,
it
what was the last World Cup? Was it 2022?
Qatar.
Qatar, yeah.
We did good there, Australia. Did we?
Yeah, we did all right.
Yeah,
we
we
did better.
lost to Argentina. So by
Oh, no,
proxy, we came
progressed.
second.
Yeah, we progressed.
played-
You're right. Yeah,
and we
sorry.
like nearly. I don't know. Maybe I was tripping and just getting a bit overexcited, but we competed with Argentina. Pretty
Yeah,
well,
I'm
didn't
pretty sure.
We had like the
It
young
went to extra.
fella-
Did it go to extra time?
No.
No.
Or did they
Um,
score late?
No, we
Was it
scored
Kuol
late. Yeah,
You were talking about? That place in Newcastle?
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
He
Real-
came on and like
He
nearly,
almost scored
nearly
the winner.
scored
Or
the
the
equaliser
equaliser,
would have put
yeah.
us to.
Real shades of Italy 06, the Italy game.
Yeah, Lucas
Ger-
Neal just
I was 5.
illegally takes out a leg, and that was a penalty. I remember as a kid, everyone's like, "It's not a penalty."
Yeah, I was in that boat as well. But
Oh, same. I had no idea, but like looking it back, it's like, yeah, that's probably fair.
yeah, yeah,
Fair
it's
penalty, yeah.
Yeah,
And then later in that tournament was when Zidane went headbutt mode, wasn't it? In his last ever
Yes.
game for France.
Yeah, that was in the final. Yeah,
and Italy got the win.
the infamous one. I've got a question, guys, and I was thinking about it with
Is it about the
Lucas.
2006 World Cup? Or
It's not
no,
actually.
Okay,
I'm,
back to
I'm
footy ball.
segueing back into Australian rules football, given that that's our main
Yeah,
product.
that's good.
Lucas Campriali playing for the Blues tonight. A good performance in his opening game. Who was your standout performance from round one of the draftees? Or maybe we can like broaden this to a rising star discussion. Firstly, who was the best performance for round one? Secondly, who wins the rising star?
I mean, from what we went to the Freo Geelong game, but what Murphy Reid did
That was
as a
cool.
moment, that's never been done
Yeah,
before.
that was
Like,
sick.
how many players, period, have scored 4 goals in 6 minutes in the history of the AFL?
Yeah, has it ever happened?
Yeah.
I don't know if it
probably.
has.
Probably.
Like, in a quarter, yes, but like,
In the 20, I heard this statistic. In the 2024 season, 7 players in total scored 4 goals in a quarter.
but how many in
Wow.
6 minutes or whatever it was?
yeah, that's another.
But that just
conversation.
speaks to how much of a game-breaking player Murphy Reid could be. Like, seize the moment. But maybe you can differ that. But other than that, like the rest of the game, he struggled as the rest of the Freo team did. So I think you'd probably go Sam Lawler. He got the rising star.
I think it's
didn't he?
incredible though. Yeah, he got the rising star. I think it's incredible that with that performance from Murphy Reid, that took something incredible to beat that.
Yeah.
And it was Sam Lawler's performance on Thursday night. Like that was, I don't know. Like I felt like watching that game with Richmond and Carlton. I felt like Sam Lawler was the captain of Richmond.
Yeah.
It sort of weirdly felt like that, didn't it? And he's 18 years old. Like he gives you such a confidence when he has the ball in his hands.
Yeah, he's going to be good.
Who
He's,
who else stood out in the
I
rising
thought,
star brigade?
obviously we would have both had our keen eye on Finney O'Sullivan. I thought he was pretty good, especially in that first half.
I thought he was great.
I feel like he fizzed out of the game a little bit.
For sure.
Looked a bit,
And
yeah.
I think he will do that a little bit. Like he was even playing for Oakley. He was never the guy getting 30 touches.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think that like Clarko likes easing these guys into the halfback position,
Yep.
getting them a little bit of ball. But I think Finn will, you see it in moments with him where when he gets the ball in traffic is when you see the best of him because he can get out of it.
Yeah.
And
thought-
he's,
you go, sorry.
I was going to say, and he's got that like penetration sort of thing to go with it.
Yeah.
I was going to bring up Xavier Lindsay.
Yeah.
You guys-
he
you guys
was
were at that game?
he was really he stood out to me as one of like probably Melbourne's best on the day. Maybe not the best, but probably top 5. Like
He's
just
a little man.
looks at the level already.
Yeah. He's got the running ability, but the thing that stood out in that game particularly was the fact that I think he did his best work sort of in tight.
Yeah.
And his
agree.
ball retention was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like he wasn't biting off like ridiculously difficult kicks, to be fair, but he was just, he didn't want to waste the ball.
You're the draft man, Dylan. Who would you compare Xavier Lindsay to? Little left footer, halfback, outside number.
I would say the best AFL comparison would be Zach Merritt.
Zach,
I think that's
Oh my God, that's
this,
cool, man.
this is the
That's-
draft
that's
guru
huge.
right here.
Well, I knew nothing about Xavier Lindsay going into the game. And after I was like, who the hell is that? Like,
I had him a little bit lower down my draft board just because again, you know what I'm like a little bit with like the size of players. Like I see him as a bit of a small midfielder. So he's clean, he's tidy, but like compared to someone like a Lawler, like on the guys at the top end of the draft, even an O'Sullivan, probably doesn't necessarily have that sort of game-breaking ability. I mean, if he went on to be Zach Merritt, obviously that's amazing, but that's kind of my...
I love that call. Give me some more. I like this. Murphy Reid. Who does he remind you of?
I actually did a video in draft year calling him a little bit similar to Harry Sheezel.
Nice.
Really?
That's hot.
He definitely isn't as good as Harry Sheezel. Like he doesn't have the same... I say he doesn't have the same forward craft. He just kicked 4 goals in a quarter at AFL level. But like Sheezel...
6 minutes. It was not a quarter. It was 6 minutes.
Sheezel played junior football as a pure small forward, and he was so creative, and he could sort of... You know, he could win forward half stoppages, turn around, kick goals on both feet. Like Murphy Reid won't do that. He'll kick the inside out. He'll want to be on his right foot. And he's more of a midfielder. Like he's who's a good... I reckon a better comparison for Murphy Reid, it's closer to like a Jack Sinclair from St Kilda.
Really? Wow. See, because I'm terrible with the draft. Like I don't know much about them until
it's not
they're playing.
covered particularly well, to be fair.
True.
But if you want coverage, go to the Dylan
There you
Alexander
go.
covers
I will
the
be
draft.
better kept up to date in future years. But no, I don't know. I just don't like know a heap of the names and stuff. Like
The thing is with the draft, all of the coverage comes hot like a month out from the draft,
Yeah.
and then you're cramming, right?
Yeah.
And then you don't get that full context that you would get if you followed it throughout the year.
Finn O'Sullivan, player comparison.
Isaac Heaney.
wow,
Oh.
wow. All right,
Hot.
happy times. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Is Sam Waller just Dusty? Is it as easy as you're a Dusty?
Oh, yeah, there's definitely comparisons. I would say like...
Does
who
Sam
else?
Waller kick the ball as well as Dusty?
Yeah.
Really?
I actually think he does.
Wow.
Yeah, like
That's
super penetrating. You would definitely say, though, from a junior perspective, if you're kind of looking at them, what they did in their junior football, Dusty got more of the ball and Lawler was a more impactful player at junior level. Like Dusty was the guy for Bendigo who was going through the middle, or Vic Country, whoever he played for. Like he was getting 30, where Lawler was more like an impact marking forward. And I think Lawler's a better marking player than Dustin Martin.
right.
Are we looking at the best class of draftees of the century?
Oh, jeez.
Like it's so difficult to say that because you don't have enough of a sample size to make those claims. I think
Come through draft, man.
I think what you could say about this draft class, and I kind of said this through like the back end of the year, it's just so deep. Like it was really hard to split those players, even from like where I think most draft years you'd have like a top 10 and you go, oh, they're sick players. Everyone's always a sick player when they're in the top 10 of any year's draft. But these guys, it was like there were like 20 or 30 of them. It felt
Like,
so like
in previous years could be top 10.
yeah,
sort of.
yeah.
Wow.
And then they really start to drop off and you go like, where does this guy fit in at AFL level? Where you had Murphy Reid, who was probably a top 10 in
Yeah.
other years, who fell to like 17. Joe Berry. I'm sure Joe Berry's a top 10 in another draft year.
Right.
Slides a little bit. Now that we're having this conversation about draftees, I was listening to a podcast, I can't remember who said it, but they said that the trade that Port Adelaide did, I'll just bring this up so I don't make a mistake with what I'm saying.
Kane Corns said that the trade for Dan Houston
Yes.
was the worst trade of all time.
What was it? It was
So I've actually got...
Joe Richards.
Yeah, I've got the trade in front of me here on the laptop. So Port Adelaide get Jack Lukosius, Joe Richards, I love the next one, and Rory Atkins.
The rat.
The Rat.
Rogue.
Nobody wanted the Rat, surely. They got pick 13, 29, 36, and 50, and they gave Dan Houston 2025 first round pick 39, and pick 58. So you could essentially rule out 36 and 50, which were kind of 39 and 58.
Let's put a graphic up for that when the video
Yeah, I'm
comes.
a bit confused. I can't lie.
When the graphic's there,
Do
so...
you feel like when there's that many draft picks in a trade, it's hard to call it the worst trade?
You know what
ever
I hate
until-
about that as well is Port Adelaide get pick 36 and they give pick 39. Like, come on.
Yeah, it's like, what's the actual...
What's the point? It's a bit redundant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously, so they get pick 13, but they give away their future first, which is probably going to be inside 13.
Is that so? That's depending on Port Adelaide's season next year.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're finishing this year. Sorry.
Oh, this year.
2025.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, right.
So wherever they finish this year, that pick will go. So you could arguably say, but then again, we talk about the 2024 draft crop. That was a stronger class probably than what it's going to be this year as well. So you kind of have to take those things into consideration. But in some ways, like there's an argument there that they've traded Dan Houston for Jack Lukosius.
Well, that doesn't look good, does it?
Yeah. So is that the worst trade of all time, guys?
I reckon the West Coast trade
gonna
could be up there.
What was the West Coast trade?
I was going to say this.
I mean, they gave up pick 3 for Liam Baker and Jack Graham. They could have had Sid Draper. They could have
Pick 3.
I'll just quickly caveat that just to give a little bit more context. They also got a pick in the teens. So it wasn't like they gave away pick 3 for those two players.
What was it like? What did it end up being?
They ended up being, the pick ended up being around 13 or 14, which ended up being 15, which is Bo Allen,
Yeah, right.
which is a player I don't think they particularly needed. The game is about to start though. The second half, Drewzy.
Carlton, bottle it.
Oh, mate.
Oh, is somebody in the chat?
Sid Draper comparison?
Sid Draper comparison. This is a good one. Who do I think Sid Draper plays
Matthew
like?
Pavlich. No,
That is not
No one
right.
plays like Matthew Pavlich except Matthew Pavlich. Thank you.
Sid Draper, he's on some level, he's like got Horn Francis traits. Like he's a very explosive midfielder. He's not as tall. He's not as good overhead. He's not as good forward. And his disposal isn't as good.
so he's just not good at football, is what you're telling me. Unlucky Sid.
He's a great little mover. Like he's a great little stoppage player.
So he's a Will Phillips.
I would actually say Caleb Sarong.
Oh,
Oh,
so
wow.
he's
So
overrated.
you don't like him.
I said Caleb Sarong's a good player.
Jesse came into the chat and said, it was actually pick 3 for Baker and Allen, not Graham. Oh, sorry, dude. Get out of my chat.
I knew we were going to cop it for that one. But that is for West Coast situation right now, for where they are, for what they need to build this team alongside Harley Reid and the other young players that they have. I think they got so many bargains in the draft, like Bo Allen, Job Shanahan, Tom Gross. But
yeah, they drafted well.
Kind of. But did they draft well for what they need?
Potentially not. Let's not forget that the Dallas
everything.
Mavericks traded away Luka Doncic for
that's-
peanuts.
Yeah.
Well, not peanuts, but salted peanuts.
Do you think when you've got like midfielders that you've drafted in recent seasons, like Elijah Hewitt, like Jinby, who are guys that don't naturally find the football but have pretty good athleticism?
Jinby
I
looks...
don't think Bo Allen was necessarily the guy. He's another guy that struggles a bit to find the footy, but has high upside. I'm just not sure if they picked the right guys.
I feel like they just picked him because they knew Freo wanted him and Berry, so they did a little conspiracy to get Berry to Port, Bo Allen to West Coast, and then we ended up with Murphy Reid, who's going to be way better than both of them.
Freo
anyway.
were hot on Berry.
Yeah.
Berry's a sick player though. I love Berry.
Is that a dislocated shoulder for Mitch McGovern?
Oh.
Or is it a broken elbow ligament? Over to you, Dylan.
I was actually playing a game of soccer when I was living in Russia again, and a guy dislocated, like an absolutely horrific injury, dislocated elbow in a corporate game of soccer, I want to call it. Like,
Was it Arshavin?
yes. Yes, it was Andre Arshavin.
Is that how you say his name? Arshavin?
Yeah, Arshavin.
I'll search that up. Cookson looked at me like, what are you saying?
Oh, no, I reckon I have heard of that.
He
Used to play for Arsenal.
Arshavin, yeah.
Yeah.
Rositsky.
Sounds like a Russian manscape device.
Arshavin's a pundit in Russian football.
Who's the... Charles, you got to...
I love the shake of the head from Cookson. They're like, why is this guy here?
Just disappointed. Dylan Moore, get in the game.
Yeah, what are you doing, Dylan? You're
Chain up.
You're no
make,
good.
Make some triangles. Here we go. Triangle.
Triangle offense.
You know how you were talking about as far as you rank them down a little bit if they're small in the draft, which I feel like most people sort of do.
Yeah.
You want...
I don't necessarily... Like, it's not just about being small. That's like... I think that comes into your position, but go.
Okay, yeah.
Go on.
Yeah, sorry to...
Size
in your
doesn't
mouth
matter.
there, but if you're like guaranteed to get a Dylan Moore type contributor, is that like... Does that level someone to pick one, or you still want to pick a big guy that could potentially Like if you know you're going to get a Dylan Moore, is that a pick one or no?
I think it can be.
Yeah,
I absolutely still think it can be for sure. Yeah, I don't think you have to take like necessarily like an archetypal player.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff comes down to risk at the end of the day. I think there's like, it's tricky, and it does come down to game trends, because obviously at the moment, like high half forwards are really, really
in
vogue for sure. Like and teams, I think ultimately, like what I'd like to see more in that space is teams going after players that they needed.
Yep.
I feel like it's all about like, we just want to get we want to get the best player, and there's a lot of like copycat stuff going on.
Yeah.
Like just take the guy you need. Like if it's North and a Logan McDonald sitting there, you don't have to draft the midfielder.
100%. Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff where like they'll look at past data and that sort of stuff, and they'll go, okay, so like midfielders are the least risky option, like the standard kind of accumulator midfielder, and then they take that guy. I feel like that's what Carlton did with Jagger.
There was a comment about the trade talk there. Tim Stewart said the Chris Judd trade was pretty shit too, besides Kennedy. Having said that,
Cripper. Oh, that's my captain.
Who won that trade? Who won the... Because they got
West
Kennedy.
Coast.
Yeah.
Josh Kennedy, what do you win? 2 flags?
One flag.
One flag?
If the deal facilitates, I think if the deal facilitates a premiership, you automatically win.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, maybe not. That's a bit...
Well, Carlton didn't win a flag. West Coast did.
Yeah, but I think like what I said there, if you win a flag, if the player that you got out of the deal didn't contribute to that flag, then no. But Josh Kennedy was such an integral part of that West Coast team. I think that makes it a win.
Yeah.
So it's
automatically.
Would you say Chris Judd goes to Carlton, they get some good footy out of him, West Coast get one of the best forwards of the modern era? Win-win
It's so
trade?
hard to say, because it's like, I don't know, their careers were in such different trajectories at the time of the trade.
I think it's a massive oversight from Carlton that they let a player like that go.
I never knew that he played for Carlton. He played a season at Carlton, didn't he?
Yeah.
How many games did he play?
Clip that shit up, Jamie. Oh,
jeez.
That's a point.
This game is really hot. Let's have a look at that.
What did the Giants get for giving up Tom Boyd to the Bulldogs?
Oh, that was a weird time.
Dare I say Tom? Yeah,
the Giants were stealing players. So that whole thing started with Ryan Griffin.
Jackson Bonner's the greatest player of all time. It's crazy. Yeah, sorry.
He's got a mismatch there on Amon. That's a good mark. Carlton they've come out in this second half, and they look keen to.
They're up for the contest, aren't they?
They are up for the contest. What was I saying? Ryan Griffin. So it started with the Giants poaching Ryan Griffin, who I want to say was the Western Bulldogs captain.
Yep. And I think he won the best and fairest as well.
Yeah. Very good player, explosive midfielder.
Yeah.
The Giants take him, and they'd already taken, remember, Cal Ward, who'd played a season at the Dogs, looked really promising.
Yep.
The Dogs were pissed off, and I think they wanted Tom Boyd on some level to get back at the Giants.
Yeah.
You asked me what the trade was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, thereabouts.
I just wanted to give some context.
Yeah, and you did. I think that's a weird one, because like as far as the premiership, it's like Tom Boyd played basically one good game in his career, and it was a grand final for a team that hadn't won one in such a long time.
Dogs win that trade then.
Purely off, I mean, it depends. Yeah, like a flag just sort of makes everything okay for a little bit.
It's funny because like obviously like the Kennedy discussion, Kennedy was much more integral to the West Coast's overall premiership tilts and like their success over a period of time. It is funny though, because that game for the Dogs, like I reckon there's an argument that he won them that game.
Yeah.
Off his own boot.
That goal from the middle was just huge.
Just incredible.
There's a Carlton player down behind the play. I'm not sure who it was.
Oh, Gunston.
Oh, this will go
sub.
through.
The Craft.
Oh
no. Let's hope it's not a hammy.
There goes the back.
The back, the hammy.
The hammy, the whammy.
What do you think of Gunston at the moment? What do you think he's going to contribute to this Hawthorn side in the, I guess, 2025 season and beyond?
Experience.
Yeah, I feel like, I don't know. I feel
that's
like
a very ambiguous term.
he's probably boys. I mean, if he's doing that, it's pretty clinical.
Yeah, that's fair.
I feel like you can't go wrong having someone like Jack Gunston around your club.
Oh, it's his nose is bleeding.
I feel like there's more to it than that. He looks worried.
He did have a blood nose. Maybe he's just like...
I'm a great judge of character. I can tell when something's wrong.
Isn't it crazy? Jack Gunston's just out here 2025 kicking snags on the MCG when he like peaked in 2013, 14, 15. Right?
Speaking of like
professional.
Speaking of big trades, came over from the Adelaide Crows. And I want to say the Freo grand final, Drewzy, was the one that he was immense and could have won the norm.
Couldn't tell you, I was asleep.
I was at that grand final.
Were you?
Yeah, sold records for the first half
that
of it.
Was that the one I'm talking about? With
I don't remember. I just remember being bored and watching Nat Fyfe kick 100 points in a row. It was really frustrating.
I do remember that as well. I feel like that's more than the nose with Walsh.
Motlop in the middle.
Motlop in the
yeah. He's a
That's
guy you want to be
crazy.
super coach. You know that Jesse Motlop's CBAs are going to be high.
That is actually crazy. Gunston kicked 4 on grand final day, 2013.
Yeah, he was immense. Like they couldn't live with him. He was just such an awkward size.
You know what? Jesse Motlop has actually been really good tonight. I was
Yeah.
thinking in the first half, like he's
Got robbed of a goal.
He impacted well, but he's getting higher up the ground as well. He's that high half forward.
Oh!
DK.
It was like the worst good mark I've ever seen. It was just...
That looked like Div 12 Resi's training last night. That was like he just one-armed it, but still managed to bring it down.
Are you going to play this year?
Yeah, bro. It'll be a high half forward.
IR Ford.
He has actually just... Oh, I thought he jumped over Sicily.
That's a bit of just a...
Yeah. He's like
Moving
rock
on.
tapped it to himself.
Time on ground. I'm just doing a bit of a stat build here.
GWS gave up Boyd for pick 6
Oh.
and Ryan Griffin. That's not
Ryan.
Peter Griffin. That's Ryan Griffin.
Hey, Peter.
Peter.
Walsh injured again? Question mark. Probably. It's usually how it goes.
Yeah, do we have much going on in the chat?
I mean, you can have a read if you want. Read them
I'm
out,
pretty
mate.
blind. All right, let's have a look. What do we got?
Cottrell inside Fitty. That was a blind kick.
Wow, Griddio's having a crack. Good on your grits.
Hewitt snaps it on the right. That's nowhere near. That's behind.
Mob. Bruh, the glaze. Who are we glazing?
I don't know. That's why I
He
didn't
jumped
read that
over
one out.
Casper. Yeah, that's all right. That was a good clunk.
Casper, get off the swing set. I need to stop.
I'll glaze the glaze out of Tommy Dicone. If that's
I
who he's
love
referring
PDK.
to.
Over to you, Dylan.
Okay, so a few statistics that we have here. Giant Newcomb is leading the way, 18 disposals. He's been unbelievable, 295 metres gained, including 10
As you
kicks.
say that, he just, you're a big nuke man, aren't you?
I like the Nuke.
Big nuke
Yeah, he's
man.
chody, physical. Just an all-round. He's had 5 clearances in this game as well.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting that. I love him. He's chody.
He's chody. George Hewitt's had 8 clearances, Crip 6. So Carlton definitely getting on top in that
Dylan
area.
Moore spins out of traffic.
Oh, Cripper's just killed
Gets
him.
it to
McGuinness.
Chol, definitely
Clever.
not Jath BT. Gives it to Guinea. Haven't seen him tonight. Little pop to the top of the goal square. Ward.
That's when you know a club's all on one page, when Jack Ginnivan is searching into the middle to find a target inside 50.
And Carlton just don't seem to get a goal that easy.
Nah.
Their goals are all coming. They're very hard work.
Yeah.
That didn't seem like an easy goal to me, but they made it look easy. You know what I'm saying? But like, yeah.
What a hit, Guinea. You love that.
That was a great hit.
Yeah.
Would you have
I
preferred
think-
him to kick that in his left foot?
What do you mean? What? Guinea go for the left sided?
We just use your left there. Just
Maybe aesthetically, but he
No,
hit
did
the
you see
target.
how the
You
ball
can't be.
moved there? Like he
Yeah.
manipulated it. It was good.
Would you be that pedantic as a coach? Be like, well,
No.
those ones, if you want to
course
hit
not.
more accuracy more of the
Oh,
time.
he's hit the post? No.
he's
I am surprised though with kicking sometimes how little amount of AFL players
have an oppo foot.
Yeah.
It is pretty crazy, isn't it? I think it was, who was it at the Freo game?
Nathan O'Driscoll.
Yeah, O'Driscoll gets a centre clearance running through and just and hacks it straight up in the air on his.
Was it on his right?
So he was running to the left.
He was running.
And he had pressure
no,
coming
he's a
in.
left footer.
So he must have been running
He was
to
running
his
to
right.
his right. Did he kick
Yeah.
it on his left? Trying to.
Nah, he kicked it on his
I remember
strong
that-
foot,
I
running the wrong
remember it.
way with the pressure coming right there. And
Yeah.
it just went straight up in the
Yeah,
air.
I was
Like,
like, yeah,
Yeah,
why was that
double-handed.
such a hurried kick in the situation?
that's what I was
Crazy.
thinking. I'm like, wouldn't you rather butcher a kick on your left
Yeah.
than just
On
do
your
whatever the
non-preferred.
hell
He's like,
that
I'm
was?
just not doing. He's
Oh,
really
and you're not
playing
preferred.
at
Yeah,
the
sorry.
moment. He's playing the Hayden Young role.
Yeah.
But you can't kick it like Hayden Young, I'll tell you that.
No, he does have a lot of penetration.
Oh, no,
to
he's
his game.
a sick player, but
He's
Hayden
got
Young's
great
one of the
running
best
for
kicks
sure.
inside 50 in the comp,
He's
and
a
then
scalpel.
O'Driscoll's double-handing it straight up in the air.
With all the North talk tonight, it does beg the question why Nathan O'Driscoll didn't play on Bailey Smith on Saturday, but let's just move on from that.
Someone could have played on Bailey
Well,
Smith
no
on
one ran
Saturday.
with him. He just ran all day.
Someone could have played for Freo. Like, it was weird watching a team just be there but not be there. at round
Doherty.
1 as
He
well.
didn't have the
That's a free
ball.
kick. Yeah, come on.
Umpire. Jath. Is that in
This
the
is
back?
what I'm talking about
Look at the
Carlton's
pressure.
entries.
Oh, well
though.
done.
Look at the pressure from Carlton.
Carlton injuries.
So the entries,
Oh,
not
entries. Yeah, yeah.
On
Um,
trays.
They just can't seem to get like too much clean ball down there.
Yeah.
What happened there?
Yeah, it's a wet night. There's a lot of dew on the footy.
A lot of chew.
I just start like thinking before I talk. I'm on one.
Oh, boy. Probably grab that, Lewis.
Grab it.
Grab the thing.
Grab it.
Hey, that's me. Haven't seen me, Ed.
You're looking good, man.
Nah.
What do you mean, nah?
Nah.
Can we show some love for the young King Cookson in the chat right now, chat? I say young King Cookson is sexy.
Div 12 Rezzy's shot 2. What does that mean?
I don't know.
Spooner.
Oh, Mackenzie
Mackenzie, that was nice movement.
kicks it to Gunson.
Haynes.
Gunson half the contest well there. Cherry does well to handball it whilst getting tackled. Watson tackles McGovern.
That's ball.
Yeah.
That's massive.
He says, I might be a little man.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Wooden Spoon Data. You're a legend.
Woody. He's a great guy.
Yeah. Got him on
What a
Insta.
man.
Instagram, I believe, unless I'm tripping. I think we...
Does
Bit of
great
initial following.
videos on Wooden Spoon Data. Statistical analysis of all the teams. Check him
Someone's
out.
gotta do it. Me and Drewzy can't do it. So
Nah. I just bring terrible jokes.
Oh,
Weddell.
Josh Weddle. Weedle.
Oh,
Oh, Charles.
You got to feel for the baggers here.
No, you don't.
They're down 10 in a game that, yeah, they probably should have been up 20 odd at halftime.
No, they shouldn't have.
Yeah,
Come
they
on
should
now.
have.
No. Their XG is expected right now, I reckon.
Thanks, he's a savage.
Or maybe they could have had one more goal.
McGovern is so bad. Thanks, Mob. Liking the haircut. Thanks.
McGovern's had a
Legend, appreciate
really
it.
poor start to the season.
spot.
What did you guys make of the Nick Haynes recruit by Carlton? Do you think that was a good move?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty solid until he fell over 100 times last week. But I don't know. I still think he could be a pretty solid. He's been pretty solid tonight. Doesn't really put too many feet wrong.
He is an asset in the Arsenal, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys caught it. I think it was the Tradies podcast where Sam McClure was talking about Carlton's recruiting. And he was talking about the fact that they don't. It reminded me a lot of North, what he was talking about. It was players that have come from other clubs to Carlton, like how many of them have actually improved.
Yeah.
Saad has.
Would you say Sard's improved?
Yes.
Well, from Essendon,
Yes.
Yeah.
yeah.
Newman, yes.
Newman, Hewitt. Yeah, Hewitt.
He
maybe.
said-
Motlop.
In this
Go,
conversation,
son.
Oh, someone finish. Oh,
Kick
jeez.
it. Oh,
fuck,
Hewitt hasn't
yeah.
improved.
Where's your-
He's a hack.
where's your left?
Yeah.
Where's your left?
Definitely not Jack Martin. Didn't even know he could go
I would
backwards.
say George Hewitt absolutely has improved.
Yeah.
He's one that they've transformed into a midfielder. I don't think he was a midfielder at Sydney, was he?
Fogarty, he was barely. He was like a backman, wasn't he? He playing like backline for
He
Sydney.
was.
Hewitt?
He was at a point, yeah.
Fogarty from Geelong.
They
He
could be out
couldn't
here,
get a game
Cripper.
at Geelong, and he's actually been pretty solid as a smallish
For
forward.
sure.
CJ stops him.
Blake Acres. He's
Yeah.
played his career best footy here. I feel like he was
I
a real
think he's a
fumbling
bit of a
player.
trick one though, because
Yeah, he
I
was
think
very
he
good
played
at Freo.
good. He played well at Freo,
Yeah.
and then came to Carlton and kind of just continued that on. So
Yeah,
but
true.
it,
But no, he's probably played more good footy at Carlton.
and big moments, I think. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
it did give me vibes though of
I'll
like
give you that.
again being a North Melbourne supporter. It doesn't seem to matter who we recruit; they just don't get any better. Like they're just whatever they were, they're that or worse.
Yeah. I mean, Jared Pollock sort of inclusion rings true. Yeah.
But like
CJ
He
just
was
copped
on a
one right
lot
in
of
the
money
goodies.
as well.
I know, but like has anyone that we're getting this back to
Sean
North?
Higgins. Sean Higgins played his career best footy
He did.
at the
He did.
Roos.
There's obviously going to be
Jared
anomalies.
Waite played huge footy for the Roos at
There's always
stages.
going to be anomalies though, because there's going to be guys that are really driven that just get the job done. Like I reckon, wherever Harry Sheasel goes in his career, hopefully he stays at North, obviously, but
He'll just keep
he's the
going
kind of
up.
guy that he'll just keep going up and up
Yeah,
and up.
yeah.
And if it was Nick Dacos, like he'd do the same. But
Yep. That's a good kick.
if you're not like that, you're not going to go to North and improve.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Fox Football. Where's the scoreboard gone? That's why the people come to
Yeah,
the True
everyone's
Footy
hated
YouTube
it
channel.
so
Point.
much they've just deleted it.
I would make an argument with Sean Higgins too that he only wasn't playing good football before he came to North because
he was
of
injured. Injuries.
injuries, yeah.
No, that's fair. I mean, like, he didn't really play a heap of midfield minutes at the Bulldogs throughout his injury
Nah,
riddled.
he was an IR forward.
Yeah. Yeah. He was a very different kind of high half forward though. Like he was kind of get it within 60 and have a ping yourself.
Yeah. He was a great player.
As opposed to like a grind, lower the eyes and hit a target.
We've
Time in
got
forward
Weddle versus Cripper in the ruck right now.
That's what you want to see if you're a Carlton fan.
Weddle
I
wins
don't see
tap.
the point in that. I mean, they've won
Walsh is back on the field.
McGuinness go.
D'Ambrosio.
Oh, they've got the. Oh, Weddle.
Weddle, no, he's wrapped up by Sard. Well done, Sard, and he's gone. Ooh.
What about Chera? Is he going backwards since Fremantle?
No,
Or just
I think
injuries?
he won a BNF for Carlton.
He actually didn't. No,
He didn't?
No, someone fact checked us on that from the last week.
Right.
He came fourth.
Pretty much winning a BNF when you're in the same side as
the
Paddy
old
Cripps.
Falcon.
But he's definitely had. I don't know. Like I would say he's just kind of linear.
Yeah.
Linear improvement. I wouldn't say that he's like gone to massive levels at Carlton.
I hate when injuries just
You got to use that overlap.
sort of, I don't know, can ruin. Like you can't really get a full look at what Chera's done at Carlton because he's been injured for so much of it, I feel.
Anthony
And, like,
Morabito was going to be
interrupted as
the best
well.
player ever.
Yeah,
When
I
he
mean,
did his
that's
ACL.
completely different as well because he just never got started, which is annoying.
Anthony Morabito, the streets won't forget.
That was a Dustin Martin draft.
Was it?
Yeah, Morabito. He went before Dusty.
And did Dusty go 3?
No, Dusty went 4.
Morabito was
went
2?
3.
Oh, was he 3? Who was 1 and 2?
I think it was the Scully Trengove.
Oh, wow.
So
That's
Melbourne,
crazy, isn't it?
So you're telling me Freo could have had Dusty Martin and we took Anthony Morabito.
2000.
Yeah, it's probably just 1 year. Oh, Barras.
I'll-
Or Barras,
I'll
whatever you
check that
call
one.
the man.
I want to say 2008 off the top of my head. I might be wrong. I might
Jack
be getting-
Gunston just going to rip this game.
Martin was 3. Morabito was pick 4, says True Eagle.
Real talk. Did you guys know Jason Paul-Pleasure
Martin
has
was 3, was he?
Ukrainian heritage?
I got them around the wrong way.
Yeah.
Good footballer, also Ukrainian. That's huge.
Who's that?
I don't know who he was referring to the second time, but the first one was saying Jason Paul-Pleasure has Ukrainian heritage.
Wow.
The more you know, eh?
Oh,
That's
Gunston.
a name.
Yeah, Gunston just ripping this game apart.
What's he going to do in 2025?
Probably not a lot.
Clinical finishing.
Look at the Hawthorn fan there. Just like,
Yeah, I've already seen 4 flags. I don't.
yeah.
This is kind of cool. This team though.
Would you say Hawthorn are the most successful Victorian club or maybe club period of the 21st century?
Well, it's really only Geelong that could challenge them, isn't it?
They're probably the most successful club of the last 50 years, right? Because they won a lot of flags in the 80s.
Oh, okay, yeah. If you put that into it as well, yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. But then if you're just taking from 2000, Geelong and them
AFL
both
era.
have 4, do they?
Cats have 4.
Oh,
Oh,
Seven.
so do the Lions, I
Yeah.
guess, in a weird way.
Yes,
but
yeah.
but
Start and the end.
I sort of think maybe Geelong because they've never had the down. Like
They've
Hawthorn
yeah.
haven't had as much of a down as Brisbane did. Like Brisbane is like those 3 flags and then it was terrible for a while.
Yeah.
And now they've got their 4th. I mean, it's been
As a North fan, does it piss you off a little bit when, like North got, 2 years ago, they got the priority picks at the end of first round
yeah.
and everybody complains about it. And like Hawthorn's flags
Oh
were
my
built
God.
off priority picks.
Yeah, were they? I did not know that.
Yeah.
Who were is like Hodge and like Mitchell?
No,
Or
that was Freo. Freo gave them those picks.
Yeah, no, the Franklin. So they got 3 top 10s. They got Franklin, Roughhead, and Lewis, all
Wow.
inside the top 10.
pretty good footballers there.
Yeah, yeah. Collingwood the same. Collingwood got, and we didn't get a priority pick at the beginning of the draft. We got it at the end of the first round. So they actually got teams that got that. Melbourne were another one with Scully Trengove.
Yeah.
That was like they put it right at the top end of the draft back then.
I don't know. I don't know. The priority pick thing is a little bit wild to me. Like, do you like it?
Getting priority picks. No.
I don't
No,
really
I-
like it either, which is
I
a
wish
bit-
they would just remove that stuff.
Yeah.
I reckon there's a lot of stuff like that in the draft. Like even, I think father-son is absurd.
Oh, I like the father-son.
Do you?
Oh,
Yeah, I
Carlton
do like
kick
the
one back.
father-son.
That's what the game
Needed
needed.
that.
Zach
Williams
Williams.
again. That's his second.
Well, you did call for him to sort of rock up tonight.
Yeah. Thought he was really poor last week.
Yeah. He just looks like
he's definitely a recruit that has not excelled at the
Injuries
Blues.
as well has sort of been horrible. Was he done 2 ACLs since signing on?
Has
for the
he?
Blues?
2
Yeah, I think
ACLs.
so.
Wow, yeah.
Yeah, like he hasn't really had a good go at it. I feel like, I don't know, he played some pretty awesome footy as a running defender.
Where do you sit on the injury conversation as far as, I mean, it's obviously hard unless you have intel here, but clubs that get a lot of injuries, do you think it's, partly to blame on them?
Yeah, it's on the 100%.
Well, I sort of agreed with what Kane Corn said, where he's like, they'd take too much time off.
Too much time off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nah.
I'm a
Too
bit,
much time off of like you go to Greece, drinking with the boys, celebrating a nice season, and then all of a sudden you're into running 2K time trials and going
but
like
they
an elite
build them
athlete.
back up into it. There's so much science that goes into it.
Do they though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Look at the injury. Well,
They
look
go.
at the
They go
injuries.
for runs in the off season. Like
Yeah.
they would be in Greece running on treadmills.
No, I know they're fit, and like I don't have a problem with it directly, but I think it maybe has something to do with some injuries. Like
No,
they're
because
getting
if
less
they,
and less.
If they kept running throughout that period, they would have more running load. They'd have more force going through their hamstrings.
Carlton banged on all pre-season.
Jesse Motlop.
Put it
To
through.
bring him within a kick.
Oh, yeah.
Motlop has had the game of his life at the MCG.
He has, their small forwards have been good.
Yeah,
We called them out. That's
rightfully so as well. I
incredible.
think.
Oh, I think so.
Oh,
he says
two.
that one, buddy. Did that one hit the post?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Jesse's just.
He doesn't look stoked. We've gassed him up twice on the goals, and he hasn't gassed himself up.
What I was going to say just on that previous point, Carlton, like they banged on all pre-season about we're working on speed and power. Like that'll do it, right?
Who
Yeah.
said that?
Carlton.
Yeah. Potentially.
I don't know. I want to hear from someone. Like, has anyone come out and spoken on the injuries? Like, I want to hear someone who really knows what they're talking about.
I know
Like,
what I'm talking about, bro. I got my ASCA level 1.
Well, then come on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, GWS were a
All
side.
you've said is things that isn't. Like, tell us what it is then.
Well, GWS were a side that used to get a lot of hamstring injuries because their philosophy was we're going to outrun every team. So they
Yeah.
would do extra running load and then
Yeah.
they would get a lot of soft tissue injuries.
That's what my thoughts on it would be, that it would be from overtraining rather than
Yes, that's what I'm
undertraining.
saying. Like, if you go to Greece and have some time off, your body actually requires that.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay, so
if you keep running throughout that period, like if Kane Corns is saying like, oh, they go to Greece and then they come back and they don't train hard enough, it's like, no.
Yeah.
They,
Kane Corns also puts everything back to how he, like to his career and
Yeah.
how he was as an athlete. And I think he was a lot more of one of those guys that like didn't have that speed and power element to his game. He obviously loved running marathons and shit. So he's kind of obsessed with that
Yeah.
and thinks that's how everyone should train.
the game's on a knife's edge here. Carlton are 4 points down. Hawthorn just had a stoppage in their forward 50 and Will Day turned over the ball with a push in the
I
back.
think, yeah, Blake Acres took an absolute dive and a half to get that ball. If it was Blake Acres,
Yeah, it
Acres,
was.
I think.
Because
TDK.
TDK, more is being held.
Nah, he had enough of it.
I tell you what, Ollie Hollins has had a bit of a crack running with Dylan Moore.
Actually has.
He's-
Dylan Moore has not had much of a sniff in this game since the
Yeah.
first quarter.
Shout out Ollie Hollins.
Who
Well
said
done.
Ollie
Dave.
Hollins
that
couldn't
was
play half
beautiful.
back?
Well, I don't think in perfect world he can, but when you match up on someone with the running ability of Dylan Moore, it's actually worked out
Oh, that's
pretty
a
well.
free kick.
On who?
Well,
That's
Jesse
that's
wasn't
Impey's free
facing
kick.
the ball, so yeah.
Outside of Newcombe, Hawthorn's midfield's been a little bit anonymous.
Yep.
Yeah.
Impey's just ignored a couple of big leads there.
Would you play CJ through the middle? Is that
Nah.
I don't think he's dexterous enough at ground level.
true? He's looked pretty uncomfortable down back.
Yeah. I think you'd hide him somewhere at the moment.
Wow.
Is that... Yeah, he's grown into the game, I feel, a bit.
Oh, no, yeah, he hasn't been terrible, especially
Where's-
this quarter, but he hasn't done a whole lot.
Do you almost go Dylan Moore forward? If he hasn't been having an impact, do you chuck him in the midfield?
You could.
I reckon you
Yeah,
should do that.
for sure. He's someone that's done it before. He'd particularly apply a lot of pressure if he wasn't doing anything else.
But just watch, in this last quarter and a bit that's left, Hawthorn are going to throw
Jesus.
some crazy little Yu-Gi-Oh moves out there
Yeah.
to spruce it up a bit. See, CJ just...
could not read the pill properly there.
Yeah, no.
It feel like this game feels like to me, Carlton need to be 3 goals up right now,
Yeah.
and they're 4 points down, 5 points down. Maths
True.
wasn't good there.
Nah, I hear what you're saying.
Michael Voss,
He's got a shitty look on his face.
what will become of him?
little up
Here's-
and under kick.
Here's a
from
moment for
TDK.
Jaff. Good spoil. Ward. Connor Nash has had a good career, hasn't he? from.
Yeah, he's gone under the radar.
Yeah, he's made a good career out of not a whole heap of.
He's 197 centimeters tall.
He's
Connor
got
Nash.
the world's skinniest legs as well.
Does he?
Never
Look at
seen
him.
high legs.
Oh my god, that's all I see when I look at him.
Walsh
Just
gets
the
an
skinniest
inside 50
pins
for the
ever.
Blues. Can they keep it in? Can they lock it in? It bounces straight back to where it came from just about.
Oh, that's a free kick.
Cottrell, he's
Yeah.
been busy tonight. Jath goes head over the pill. It's going to be a ball
Good
up,
result for Carlton, I feel.
half forward.
I'd like to see Walsh when he gets into those situations just, like to use a cliche term, lower the eyes a little bit. Just
yeah.
just hit up a few more passes.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom DeConing's done well there. They're just going
nice.
territory.
Oh, yeah, they.
Oh, again.
Walsh is getting
That's a great
busy.
Yeah,
contest.
Walsh,
Oh,
shit,
that's got to be a
sling.
dump tackle.
Is that a sling?
No, that's ball.
What's the call here?
That's ball.
Holding the
Oh,
ball.
I thought that- I thought he dug his
Yeah,
head
that was
in.
ball.
They got into him.
I thought
after
it looked
as
like a
well.
little bit of a sling going on.
I thought it was a good tackle.
Yeah, historically, but I thought this day and age it might have been a bit of a.
I want to see it again now. What did I miss?
Maybe me and Drewzy are just getting a bit
Oh, Day.
pedantic.
That's what he does.
Oh, he's tried to claim it. Cheeky boy. Cheeky boy. Wow, the delay on this is not very.
No, it's
It's-
ultra low.
Yeah. What does that mean?
Not very high.
Oh, is that? There's a lot of delay.
No,
No,
not at
no,
all.
no.
I went
Oh.
like that and looked and I was going, oh, now I'm. Oh, I'm pointing.
Good internet connection.
Whoa. Oh, silly. Oh, I
He's
can't.
gonna get caught in like a matrix loop here.
I can't. No, stop me
more
looking at
screens.
us. Trippy.
Who wins this clearance, boys?
Cripps.
Patrick Cripps.
Bang.
Called it.
Fogarty.
Fogarty.
Oh, it's on the
that's-
full.
Oh, he's just not.
Did it bounce?
Is that on the full?
It was close.
Sicily's now playing full forward.
Interesting.
Wiedering hurt the ankle.
Ooh.
Got a
Gee,
boo
if there's
boo.
anyone they couldn't afford to lose,
Oh, yeah, that backline's holding. They've actually competed really well.
they have.
CJ.
CJ,
Just
will
a
I
dump
see
kick.
you at the show tonight?
Oh, that's
here he
a
goes.
throw,
Oh,
wasn't it?
oh, whoops.
Gee, the pressure's
that's
been
holding
good
the
from
ball.
Great
Carlton.
tackle,
That's ball.
Doherty.
That's ball.
Well done.
Sard,
That's-
find someone. Find someone.
Blake. Oh, in the back? Has he been bailed out? No.
I don't really understand why Sard hasn't taken that upon himself to kick the ball inside 50 there.
I don't understand either because the camera angle changed
Yeah.
just as he took off.
Blake
But he had
Acres
space.
Just didn't put the foot on the gas.
Here we go. Dylan.
We don't want to see another goal here. from
tackling-
Oh, the
Hawthorn.
blind turn.
The tackling from Carlton's been pretty good.
It has been really good. Like, more could have got out of that.
Yeah. That's what he's been doing for the last year and a half as well.
Far out.
Oh, it was in the back.
Oh,
See,
what?
this is what we were talking about before. That's
Oh, come on.
Well, you gotta go to
What's
the
he
side.
supposed to do?
Yeah, that
He didn't
was-
grab him to go in the back. It
No.
sort of fell like that. That is poor.
That's right. Carlton have numbers behind the ball. He's got to see out the quarter here. Just remain calm.
Minute to go.
What a
Damn,
clunk.
Brocio's been
Oh,
struck across the
grow up.
face.
What a clunk.
1 minute remains. Can Carlton hold on? That was a
Oh.
great kick.
No,
Is
it's
it?
not.
It looked like a.
He kicked it to Watson.
It was aesthetically, it was nice.
It was just fizzing.
Kerno, can the Blues go end to end here? They can. Go
Cripper.
Oh,
Cripper.
Cripper.
Captain Cripper.
Jath again. Been exposed.
Does well to
Great
engage the
composure.
defender.
Oh, it's a
that
loopy
is a-
kick, but it will work.
Oh, Doherty shot
dog!
himself. Doherty pooed his jocks.
Oh,
no.
no, Sam. Oh, and then he just had to be strong in the tackle.
Imagine they concede from this.
No, surely they're
Victor
not.
and
Oh, no. What's.
they're recycling their bottles. They've
Whoa.
got their bottles from last week and they're recycling.
Oh,
Fuck, Wiedering just goes, hold the ball, boys.
Oh, 2 acts. Sam Doherty would have been the last human on earth that I would have expected.
Genuinely shut
from.
himself there. And I would too.
this game is living on mistakes right now.
Oh, here we go.
We
We're
got
going
a
to the fourth quarter with a
Big
5
last
point
quarter.
lead.
This is awesome. Thursday night football. 5 points in it. 3/4 time. Redemption for the Blues.
Boy, oh boy.
Jeez, not much more you could ask from Cripper there. Sort of
Oh, that was massive.
perfectly not manipulated, manufactured a little high kick there, but
Like, you wouldn't say Cripps is a good kicker of football, but he just finds a way.
it's like I always think of like Joel Selwood. You wouldn't say he's like
Yeah,
a super
same,
good,
yeah.
but in big moments, how many good kicks does he come up with?
Yep.
Well, did come up with.
Even though, like, you could put him forward as well, Joel Selwood. And, like, that one in the grand final, where he just fashions
Yeah,
that kick.
yeah.
completely off balance.
The great ones find a way, and that's something that, Jai Simpkin is.
I feel like that. Here we go.
Well, no, I think of like Cripper and Selwood, these guys that are like legends, and it's like they aren't great kicks, but in the moments where they need to be, they will get it done.
That kick there from Cripps, like, I feel like because he went too up and under, that's why Doherty was like, ugh. I feel like if it was more penetrative,
Yeah.
I would have hit him on the tip.
I feel
But, like,
Doherty
tough
in that moment though. Doherty just had to at least. I don't know. Like he didn't even have a lot of contact coming at him.
No.
He just had to shield the ball.
Yeah, and then even once he dropped it, you would expect Doherty to be strong in that tackle rather than just floppy like.
It was an uncharacteristic moment, but what a quarter we've got in our hands. Let's throw it over to Dylan for some stats.
Well, I was just going to say on that Doherty moment for a second there.
Right,
I think
not.
that just the fact that again his primary position is a halfback flanker. You get a little bit more time and space back there, don't you?
Yeah, true.
And the ball sits up in the air like that on the half forward flank, and you just suddenly go shit.
We've got a comment from UCAT here saying, what a fun game of football this is. Love how Carlton have hope and are going to really feel the pain after the loss.
Wow, the
I
Freo faithful
disagree.
just absolutely.
UCAT's brutal there.
Well, look, I'm not saying Carlton are going to win this game, but what I am going to say is I think Carlton fans' hope was so low heading into this game that all their fan base wanted to see this Thursday night, Dylan, was competitive performance. Show some heart. Hawthorn are the hottest team in football right now.
Yep.
And Carlton, despite being down on the scoreboard, have probably been the better team.
I would agree with that. I think they should have had a bigger lead at halftime going into that. Giving themselves like a bit of a buffer would have been really nice for them.
Of
I will
course it
throw
would have been nice.
this one at you. What would the case be if the Blues had Harry Mackay?
Probably not much different.
Not positive in the wet. I actually think
Yeah.
it's sort of
Okay.
been to their favour not having him.
The extra small.
Obviously, if he wasn't injured, you pick him. But like,
Yeah.
I think it's been a happy accident for them. As we've said, like Jack Silvani being like more mobile at ground level has actually been pretty handy as like their sort of second option up there. Kemp's, I haven't seen a whole heap of him, but I feel like he's competed pretty well.
Kernow hasn't been big in this game.
No,
I know he's
none of the big
perhaps
fellas.
a bit underdone, but
And
like, weirdly, Chol's been quite good though.
Yeah, I feel like he's faded a little bit. He started pretty well.
Yeah, he's kicked a couple of goals.
Yeah. I don't know. It's been like weirdly we were talking about, Carlton would love a Matty Owies tonight and like to Carlton have the small forwards to really show up and do anything. And they've sort of been really good. Like you were saying, Jesse Mollo's been huge.
Yeah. It's one of the better games of Motlov's career, I think. Getting up the ground a little bit higher.
I'm a little bit like so far this season, like that. This is 2 games out of 3. I feel like Jack Ginnivan and Nick Watson haven't really shown up. Like they were great against the Bombers last week, but the game against Sydney, they just, I don't know, like just a bit of a slow start to the season.
Are they a little bit front runner-ish?
Well, 2 of those games were in
Well,
wet conditions.
you said
I'll say it again. Are they a little bit front runner-ish?
But that should suit them. That shouldn't be worse for them.
Well, the big bodies have had the best of it tonight, I feel.
Yeah.
So is that a false narrative that like the smaller bodies are better in the wet? Let's not talk like rucks, but let's talk like, if you're like the strength. In the wet
I
is better
think
than
there's
speed.
definitely an argument when you juxtapose the sort of like the loose ball versus the hard ball and the ball just being a little bit more on the inside in the wet,
Yeah.
which would support the theory of the big bodies
Yeah.
as opposed to the small guys.
Yeah, I don't know if it's as much to do with like body type as it is play style.
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like Dylan Moore's like the perfect wet weather player.
Yeah. And even Ollie Hollands has done a really good job on him.
Yeah.
But you're right. Like, he's one of the guys you'd pick straight away, maybe behind Cripper.
Yeah. And even Nick Watson, just those guys that are really mercurial, can handle the ball really well
Yeah.
when it comes in quick. But this guy's been the guy, right? Motlop.
Jay
Crazy.
Motts. What a man.
Boy from South Freo living out his dream on the MCG.
From South Freo, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, right.
Zach Williams has been pretty sick as well.
Give me some stats, Dylan. I'm ready for it.
You're ready for some stats. Okay, top disposal winner on the ground.
It's got to be Paddy, doesn't it?
He's equal. Yeah.
Ooh.
Josh Ward, Jai Newcomb,
Josh Ward!
and Patrick Cripps.
Wow.
Second,
I would
for
never have guessed Josh Ward.
21 disposals for George Hewitt, who's actually been the best clearance player for Carlton. He's had 6 clearances, I want to say. In fact, he's had 9 clearances. He's also had 6 score involvements. So he's probably been their most efficient, at least,
Wow.
midfielder. Hasn't been as flashy, Hewitt, but he's probably been the guy that's getting first hands on the ball, kind of facilitating for others. And then they just seem to be able to get the ball inside 50 repeat stoppages and get it going again. I do feel like it's been hard work for Carlton. Like they haven't been able to like chain up and move the ball. Partly that's wet weather, but it feels to me just watching the game that the ball's lived inside Carlton's forward 50.
Yeah.
And then Hawthorn have been able to transition, score those easier goals.
That's always been the criticism of Carlton. It's been that they are that contest dominant team. Like they don't have that turnover game or transition.
I feel like it's this game style of that Melbourne was successful with back in 2021. It's the sort of like stoppage work. It's the contest work. It's take meters, and it's almost like take meters at any cost. You don't even want to kick the ball to advantageous positions. Like, I don't know if you notice when Melbourne play or have played in past years, they kick the ball really deep to the pockets.
Yeah.
They try to get the ball in. They come out of clearance. It's almost like the midfielders aren't even looking. Like they're deliberately not looking where they kick the ball. They kick it deep into the pockets. And that means that when the ball, if it is intercepted, it's the most pragmatic way to enter. Because if the ball is intercepted, they're in a difficult position to get the ball back out.
Yeah,
and you can
right.
set up behind the ball. So you either get a repeat stoppage if the ball goes off contest out of bounds, or they intercept and come out again. And
I have noticed that. That's
you chuck the ball. I feel like Carlton are a similar one, and that's like the Walsh conversation there. He gets the ball just outside 50, and he's not really looking for a target.
sort of hacks it to that spot.
This just has to go down to the wire, doesn't it? Last quarter is getting started.
This is absolutely massive. Carlton get the first clearance through Chera, I think it was.
Yeah, Chera to DDK.
Go, Jesse
Motlop
Motlop.
battles well. Motlop! No!
No, that deserved a goal. Wow, he's having some sort of game.
I actually would have creamed if that had have gone through.
Confidence is a hell of a drug.
Carlton fans were all over him after that performance last week.
On his back. Not happy.
Yeah. Yeah, they weren't happy.
TDK's been massive as well.
Yeah, he is massive.
Some predictions of moves that Sam Mitchell's brewing up right now.
Jeez.
Jack Ginnivan halfback. I don't know.
Jack Ginnivan halfback.
50 against himself.
Weddle.
I'd want to see Weddle on the ball more. We're talking about like who goes.
Yeah.
Shoving
Like
that.
it feels like I don't know if you got the numbers on the clearances there, centre clearances, but it feels like
do.
Carlton are dominating, and I feel like Weddle could go in there and maybe do a job.
It's George Hewitt. He's leading the way with 5. It's then Jai Newcomb and Connor Nash, and then it's Patrick. So Patrick Cripps has only had the 3 centre clearances. It feels like he's been more impactful.
Yeah.
Here's Will Day. Left foot snap.
Ooh, that wasn't.
Haynes,
Yeah,
do you want it, brother?
kick. Oh.
You can't pick it up.
He can't pick
he
it
doesn't
up.
give away the free kick.
Chol Express.
Snap.
Oh!
Goal.
I feel for Hainsey there.
Yeah, it's a hard one, and it's just history repeating itself from last week.
That's
a great finish.
huge from Chol.
Yeah, the big fella scoops it up and running to the boundary on the. Is he a left footer?
Yes.
All right, there you go.
might
I'm
be.
terrible with that. I never know what feet players are.
That you shouldn't get done like that if you're Carlton.
Oh,
What
poor
happens
Hainsey.
with this ball? Like
you just-
Haynes is just all over it, isn't
And
he?
then what is that?
Choli, more like Rioli. Am I right?
Oh,
No,
No,
doesn't
yeah.
hit.
Rioli
Like little left
finish,
foot
I
snap.
guess. Yeah.
that ball by Day there. It's almost
Chaos
bad.
ball.
Well, it is a chaos ball, and it's almost a better option than the high ball.
Yeah.
What a great finish.
Jeez, I think, wow, what a finish. That is crazy.
Yeah, far out.
Rioli-esque, some would say.
Oh, Jesse Motlop nearly with the great start.
Give him the
Bang down the
Cholman.
other end.
He must be up
clearance.
there in the Coleman.
Oh, my
Newcomb
God.
today.
How many free kicks?
It's a powerful clearance for Hawthorn, but Wiedering.
Oh, how safe are those hands?
Far out.
Against Sicily as well. Sicily usually
Imagine if he
loves a
hugged
battle.
you.
Yeah, he's a big, strong boy, Wiedering.
Do you reckon he could break a rib
Oh.
with a hug?
Yeah, no worries.
Cripps just giving Day a bit of a, I'm the big dog.
Chera
here.
on the left. He's always been good on both
Charlie
feet.
marks something.
Yeah, he hasn't had a big night
Oh,
tonight.
and he's
Battle.
been bench pressed by Josh Battle.
Wow. Mackenzie.
He loves a
he
kick,
loves
doesn't he?
it. Yeah.
He,
that's-
he genuinely gets so excited when he kicks the ball, Mackenzie.
Drewzy and
Fully
I-
loads it up for an hour.
we like having a conversation about the most aesthetic.
Aesthetic.
Kick.
Yeah, in the comp. Who would you say?
Not Cam Mackenzie. He annoys me the way he kicks the ball.
Who would you say though? We actually pulled up Weddle, didn't we? As one of our. Weddle kicks the ball well.
Did we? That might have been you.
Was it Scrim?
Scrimshaw, yeah.
One of those.
Yeah,
Mullety
Scrimshaw,
defenders.
nice kick.
Dan
I don't know,
Brozio's up
Zach
there.
Merritt. I just like,
Zach Merritt. Yeah.
yeah, he
okay.
just
Yeah.
hits targets. Like,
Yeah.
Lukosius is scrumptious to watch kick.
Oh, Nasiah. Although he did turn the ball over a lot of the
Nice,
weekend.
yeah.
You know who's a great kick of the football? Caden McDonald. Actually is.
Field kick.
Like, we'll be doing lane kicking and he'll just hit like a little chinana and just like nail it.
Yeah, right.
Or like,
Of what?
He's good
Chinana?
in those goal kicking
Chinana.
contests, isn't he?
He is. That's what he lives for.
Yeah, can kick a snaggy.
Clinical. Hawthorn can open up the field here.
Oh, Newcomb says, go on. Let's use the
D'Ambrosio,
spread.
he has a good... Hawthorn have a lot of good kicks.
Yeah, they
Amon,
always have.
Yeah.
Amon's weighted kicks are pretty phenomenal.
Amon's a great player. I think when
Yeah.
they recruited him, he was like the perfect player for them.
Mm.
They've taken, you got to think about it, Amon and Impey off Port Adelaide.
Yeah, they could use both of them.
Far out. They're better than any halfbacks they've got. Big contest
No
here.
way does anyone...
Oh, wow.
Bro. I was just about to say, no way does anyone mark this.
The
That's
dog.
nuts. Well, there's the old trick up the sleeve of Hawthorn. That James Sicily guy is one of the best
Yeah.
defenders in the competition. We can send him forward too. Oh, he's just
Ooh.
made Nick Haynes look like a little bitch.
Tommy. Let's just strip
Wow.
that off Tommy.
Haynes has
He
just
had
been...
no business taking that.
Poor Haynes.
He missed a set shot from this angle against Port Adelaide.
He's
He's
a bit-
learned from his mistakes.
He's
and
actually a
kicked it.
beautiful kick of the football as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
With
hit
the,
one
um,
earlier on. That was nuts.
The Port Adelaide halfbacks, losing Dan Houston as well. It's just a bit of a fire sale there. Is Kane Farrell on the market? Is it? If we
He
have a
actually
good
is.
halfback, you come
Yeah.
and take him.
He's actually rumoured to be going.
Actually?
Yeah.
Why? Why do they hate their halfbackers?
Is he really?
Yeah, I've seen rumours. I think he's out of contract.
Wow.
He can kick the ball. Kane Farrell.
Yeah, he can kick the ball.
Darcy Byrne-Jones was like an All-Australian halfback, and
He
they've
plays
just
forward
I know they've moved him away from there. Maybe they didn't want people to take him. Thought if you're a Port Adelaide
We've
halfback,
had this conversation a little bit with the halfbackers. Like, I feel like there was a bunch of guys that used to play halfback flank, and they were almost like midfielders that just played halfback. Like Rory Laird was an All-Australian halfback. I think Jake Lloyd was All-Australian at one point. There was these sort of guys.
Yeah.
To play that position now, it's a lot more specialised, I feel.
Kane
Yeah.
Farrell is out of contract at the end of this year. The 25-year-old has multiple Victorian clubs that are pursuing the rebounding defender
No way.
who enters free agency at the conclusion of this season.
This is not looking good for the Blues right here. That's holding the ball. He's just dropped it. Bring back incorrect disposal. I used to love it.
Oh, that's
See,
going to be interesting.
what would be classic Carlton right now? Is it that they just rolled over in this game and got smacked, or is it this but they still lose? And so you're still disappointed, but you put in
Yeah.
the performance. It's like
I feel like they're too far in to just get whacked from here, but
Wasn't Carlton's DNA like the last couple years that they did win these games a bit?
yeah, it was.
yeah, right.
Well
I
done,
don't feel like
Fogarty.
they're going to win this game now, though.
No.
No,
Who's that?
that is Kernahan.
It's Jack Rewa.
That's Andrew Dillon.
Sticks.
It is Andrew Dillon. When you said that, I was looking for him.
Bergman might be leaving Port Adelaide as well. Says
Really?
Wooden Spoon.
He's
Data.
good.
Bergman.
Yeah, I really like him.
He's a good player,
Yeah,
actually.
very underrated player.
His brother's at North, right?
I thought they were brothers.
They have to be, sure.
Yeah, I don't know.
Two Bergmans with the same. Haircut.
Miller and Miles. Yeah, I don't know. I thought
Was
they
it-
were. I don't know. Then someone said they weren't.
Was it Jason Horne-Francis that stole Bergman's votes or vice versa? In a
Yeah,
Port
Horn
Ad-
Francis got a 3 for a game where Bergman
had
put on
like
an
30
absolute
and-
clinic. Yeah.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Didn't
Oh, that's holding the ball.
after Horne-Francis's first game for Port, also in one of the South Australian papers, they put Bergman on the front page of the paper.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah. Jason Horn Francis.
Hainsey, find a target, brother.
How do you feel about the Hornet being a North fan? Like I'm pretty positive about him as a player, particularly.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Drewzy and I have talked about this a lot. Camporelli's a sub. Cooper Lord about to come on. You and I have talked about this a lot, right, Drewzy?
Horn Francis, good player.
Well, no, the fact that,
I don't like him.
yeah, like you're a bit more in that camp, aren't you, Drewzy? When players leave Freo, you want them dead.
My
Yeah.
thing wasn't that he left; it was that he didn't try when he was here.
Yeah,
when he was
okay.
with us. Like, I mean, But I always say this, like, as far as like the footballing world, like I have nothing against Jason or Francis, the human being, you know, like.
Yeah.
But in football, like, fuck that guy. But yeah. No, it's a bit annoying that he didn't like try his absolute heart out.
For sure.
Sort of. I don't know. He just gave off vibes like when we'd lose, like he's like, I'm not with them. I'm not going to be here. I don't want to be here.
Yeah, I don't think he ever planned to stick around.
No.
So in that sense, I do think that he.
Did North Melbourne not do their due diligence in finding out his aspirations to stay in Victoria?
100%. I think they had to do a lot better than that.
Just because you have the high pick, like I don't think there's.
I think there's an argument though too, right? That you have the higher pick there. You say like they didn't do their due diligence. Like I reckon there's an argument. Like if you think he's the best player still, and you can draft him still, and you still get the capital. Like we ended up getting probably a little bit unders, but it turned into what Horn Francis and pick 1 turned into Wardlaw and Sheasel, essentially.
Pretty sick.
Yeah, so it's like it's not as if.
Could have we just traded down in that draft though instead of taking Horn Francis?
Yes, and that's another question. You could get more crafty.
Yeah,
and that was my conversation through this 2024 draft year about us having pick 2 and the top of the end was like it was all midfielders at the top end. I'm happy that we got Finn O'Sullivan. I think he. Yeah. I had him as the best player in the draft, but I think North could have just traded that pick for like 2.
Yeah.
You know, a 10 and a 15.
Rather than taking the mess of everyone knowing that you've got a guy that doesn't want to be there and you guys have got to get rid of him. Like, I don't know. Yeah, deal with it early before it's like a name to the pick.
Yeah.
Silvani looking hurt there. Jesse comes in with the Bergman brothers. The AFL website apparently incorrectly reported that they were brothers, but multiple people on Big Footy say they're not.
Wow, well, there you go.
Over to you, Dylan.
They don't follow each other on.
That's incredible.
I thought they were, and then I checked on Instagram, and I don't think they follow each other. And I was like, that's a bit whack.
How could you look so similar and have the same surname?
It's a bit stiff.
It's not exactly.
It's a bit stiff to Miles to say that they look similar, I reckon.
Is it?
No shots. We love our little Millerberg.
Millerberg.
I'm bringing up pictures
Milesy
now.
Berg's a pretty good looking bloke. That's all I'll say about that.
Miles?
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah, he's a pretty good looking bloke.
Let's have a look.
We don't.
Is he fit?
But by God, don't he know it? I know that you're really fit.
I wouldn't say Miles is
you.
particularly.
Have a look at Miller and tell me if Miles is good looking or not.
They look quite similar.
Have you got?
Yeah, they look strikingly familiar. Or just same haircut, really, isn't it?
Same hair. Similar face.
Wow.
Issa Savage said that they saw them together at an AFLW game, so they must be brothers. It's one of the great mysteries.
That's incredible.
Carlton have run out of gas.
They have.
Yeah, this is over.
Well, I wouldn't say it's over, but
16 points.
This is the lowest intensity the game has been.
You've just come on the ground, Lordy. You probably have a crack, brother. That's good by
There he
Cripper.
is. There he is. There's Lordy.
Yeah, Cripps just made it drop into his lap. Oh, what a kick.
No, it's not gonna work.
Charlie has looked all at sea.
Well, he's coming back from injury. Like
Yeah.
he's not there, is he?
We still love Big Charles, but
This begs the question: are Ben and Max King related?
well, that is one of those ones, isn't it?
That's stiff on Max.
And what?
That was
did
just a joke about the looks.
Oh, yeah.
I tried. I tried to be funny.
Sorry. No, I just started thinking, I'm like, what did Drewzy say?
Yeah, no, that was funny.
You had my the monkeys in my brain stopping the symbols for a second there.
That's funny.
Jack Gunston.
We have fun here.
I'll leave it to the stats. I'll do the comedy. No. We need Jesse.
Oh,
So
Sicily.
while the game's
Whoa.
in a little bit of a lull here, can I get some predictions for the rest of the games? Obviously, this one is, it's kind of petering out a little bit.
Collingwood belt the Dogs tomorrow night.
I've got the Pies as well.
Yeah.
Belt.
to the pie.
Belt.
We
Explain. You can't just throw something like that out.
Similar, maybe not to the same extent, but like they did to the Power last week. I reckon Port put on a statement and say, we're here, 2025, we're here.
Port.
Like they beat the
against
Dogs in the same way that they beat
Port Adelaide.
Yeah.
Okay. Double down. What what makes you think Collingwood are so much better than the
Because
Dogs?
the Dogs just don't have the midfield at the moment.
Okay.
And their back stocks are not really that great, and Collingwood's forwards are kicking goals, and Collingwood have Nick Dacos and Dan Houston, who's one of the best players in the competition. I reckon the Pies run rings around
I
the
do
Dogs.
agree that the Dan Houston magnet completely transformed their ball movement off the back half of the ground. I don't know. I think you underrate the Dogs' midfield a little bit.
I think you overrate the
Richards is
Dogs
a
midfield.
stud.
Ed Richards is a massive stud.
Yeah.
They
Libba is a stud.
they got belted in the clearances by North Melbourne, but they still outscored us by like 25 points.
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Bailey Dale and Ed Richards' feet just cut up the roos at times.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. Gee, that's Weddle again. He's dangerous.
That being said, I'm with you. I think the Pies will do a bit of a
Cookson, where are you
number.
going with that one?
Yeah, I think the
Pies.
Pies will do a bit of a number on them.
Yep, so we've all got the Pies there. Essendon versus Adelaide. I
That's
think this is one of the
50-50.
more intriguing
Is that at
ones.
the G or
at
Marvel?
the G.
At the G. Well, I reckon at the G, Adelaide will get them done.
Oh, okay. So not at Marvel, but at the G.
I initially tipped Essendon, and then I changed my tip to
I don't know.
Adelaide.
I don't know if it was last year or the year before. I just remember watching one game, this one game ever, and Essendon just flogged Adelaide at Marvel. But I don't know. I don't. I like
Didn't they
the
have a
look.
really close game last year? Like a two-pointer, and Adelaide won.
Yeah, Ben Keys went and was Ben
Yeah,
Keys.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
so.
Wait, is that was that the fixture where Draper lied on the ball as well?
No.
No, that was at.
That was
Essendon
that
won
year,
that
though.
game.
That was at Adelaide.
Yeah, that
Oval.
was at Adelaide Oval.
I'm thinking of the year before Essendon flogged Adelaide when Adelaide were a
Right.
better team. But I don't know.
But close games last year. I feel like Adelaide are going to be a real force this year, and I think Essendon will be all right. I think they'll improve. But yeah, that one's a 50-50, but I have tipped the Crows because I reckon they got a bit more talent.
Until Essendon
Yeah.
midfielders learn how to kick the ball, I think they're going to struggle playing
Could
at the
Carlton
G.
get going here? 10 minutes,
I hope
3
so.
goals required.
Kick.
Georgie Hewitt, he's been starting
Shara,
everything
can you
for
find
them.
a target? Or you
There
Fly
it is
just
goal.
again,
go,
though. Like,
Who
it's
is it?
just...
Oh, Zach Williams. Oh, well done. Jeez.
Kerno,
Oh,
what can you do? He's actually a witch's hat. He's walking.
yeah. Charlie doesn't want to be there.
Oh, how is that shoe from D'Ambrosio?
D'Ambrosio.
Yeah, that was a great kick.
Damn, Daniel.
They're on here. Watson's got space. They just give it every time, too.
Wiz going to call game
Oh,
set match?
oh.
Cripper doesn't want to chase.
From downtown.
Game set
Oh,
sausage.
my God.
That's the little man saying hi. It's done.
He is the little man. Weddle was holding him up like he's a little baby doll.
Damn.
They're so good on transition, man. Like, that D'Ambrosio kick to open up Will Day.
Charlie Kerno. Damn. He had to do something. He's at 22 points. Wow.
Yeah, it's. I think it's over now. They try. I mean, it has been a performance that you'd be happy with as a Carlton fan, but you're still
Yeah.
0-2.
Hawthorn are just showing they just have enough to beat whoever's in front of them.
Yeah,
Fitness as well. Fitness
Yeah,
has been a
for
big factor here.
Yeah.
sure.
Well, look at that. Cripper.
I love how they just absorb blows. Hawthorn, like
Yeah.
to be able to take all those punches and inside 50s against. I haven't even looked at that number tonight, but I feel like Carlton have had the ball in their front half a lot more.
Yeah.
What are the main criticisms of Carlton tonight?
No,
then?
Hawthorn have actually had more inside 50s. What am I talking about?
That's what I mean. We were talking about it before. Like, oh, Carlton should have had a few more goals. I'm like, yeah. I don't know. It's been a pretty even game. What have been the main criticisms of Carlton, Cooko?
I don't think there's key forwards haven't done much, but it's
They
wet,
can't
so
move the
it's
ball
like,
from the back half.
Yeah, struggle in transition. Silvani.
Wow. Well, there you go. I said key forwards have struggled, and Jack says I am key forward.
He
Hasn't
sort of,
been much of that tonight though. Has
he did that last week when the game was over as well.
Oh, what if he kicks this and then they do the exact same thing 3 more times?
It's a good mark.
massive grab.
Do you feel like the Hawks are seen around the comp now as like teams are going to rock up and give their best crack against them because they're like,
Yeah, for
Viewed
sure.
as-
I just think that's been another part of their game that's been impressive because I think people tipped against the Hawks. Gee, that's a bad miss. One of the criticisms that people had about Hawthorn coming into this season, it's like, oh, now they're the hunted. Are they going to be able to deal with the pressure of that? And I think they have.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like they've played weak opposition. They got Sydney at the SCG in round one.
and Essendon had a real crack against them.
Essendon had a crack, absolutely. And like they just seem to be able to, I don't know, like they're managing the moment so well. And there's not really any weakness to their game. I feel like if they have to, they'll compete in any part of the game.
Yeah.
Some people had the Hawks sliding out of the top 8 just for that sort of argument of like teams go up and they like have a dip.
Yeah,
but
that's like one of those arguments though. Like, how do you actually make that argument?
Yeah,
Oh,
no.
sometimes teams go up and then they have a dip.
yeah. And sometimes the Bulldogs win the flag from 7th and the D's finish 10th the year before and win the it's just
Yeah.
there's not much backbone.
Sometimes the Roos lose to the Dogs round 1 and then win every single game for the rest of the year. It's potential.
That's footy sometimes. But I saw a stat last year and I remember seeing it and it giving me confidence because Freo were 3-0 and it was like 87.5% of teams that start 3-0 make finals and Freo were in that 12.5%. But the people that said the Hawks weren't going to contend this year, they're 3-0. They've beaten Sydney away, Carlton, who people for some reason thought were a top 4 side when they're clearly not. It's fair to say that Carlton aren't a top 4 side now, I think. Like, there's just too many holes in their game. Like,
yeah, they're not. I mean, like, is there a chance they make finals, go on a bit of a run? Yeah, for sure. But
it hasn't been a cohesive team effort at all today.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not. They don't have, and through this period of like, I wouldn't call it success, but through this period where they've been a better team, I don't think they've ever been a team that people have been scared to play. Teams have been scared to play.
Yeah. What's wrong with them? Like, honestly, like I know it's a...
What's wrong with Carlton?
I just think it's all the same.
They're so contest dominant. They're so like...
Yep.
The only way they know how to move the ball is to like bash and crash and like... They don't just have any silky outside transitions.
So they need like a Hayden Young, a Brian Myers, a Zach Merritt, someone who can hit a target inside 50. Is that what they need the most?
I think all of their midfielders are handball dominant.
You know who they need is Nick Newman. Like,
he's a massive out. That was one of the reasons that I had them dropping out of the 8 because I just don't see where they get the ball movement from the back half, which you need. Like, and just that's, I don't know, it's just like that midfield. It's like every player that they seem to get into that midfield is just, it's not fixing any of the problems that they have. Like they're going to win stoppage, but I think it's totally like full club with them. It's like conservative decisions. Like Michael Voss is a bit conservative.
CEO sending nudes, wasn't that?
Not as conservative.
Probably
probably need to get a bit of conservative. What's the word I'm looking for there, Andrew?
I've got nothing for you.
Conservatism.
Probably intercept defender short as well. Like they've got Wiedering who's at lockdown, but they probably need some more rebounding halfback. Some Kane Farrells.
Kane Farrell would be actually a nice pickup for them, but like
it's that quick transition they lack. Like they've scored less than 60 points tonight. That's not going to win you games in football.
Tell me in the Carlton team who's a good kick.
Yeah,
you can't think of anyone.
Yeah, like a good kick,
like a really good
Charlie
kick.
Kerno.
At
goal.
But
it's at the wrong.
He's
spot.
almost too close to goal, right?
Yeah, true.
Like who's finding targets? Around the 50 arc.
Doherty, but I don't know. They don't even want him in that position anymore. I'm with you. Like, what's Doherty's value at half forward if you don't have Doherty in the half back to be able to get it to Doherty at half forward?
Actually be able to move the ball from one end to the other, And you like put that up against the Hawks. I mean, they've got so many good kickers in their team. Like, and they've been able...
and one of their good kickers has just middled that out on the floor.
Sicily just mugged off Charlie. He's like, nah, mate, let's take it slow. Let's take some time off the clock. And has put it out of bounds. Charlie's laughing in his face.
I was going to say, David King just said, gee, they've been good since halftime, the Blues.
But you're right. Even when the Blues were in this game, it was just sort of like hack it forward and have a crack, lads.
I feel like they had to, when they had that momentum that they were sort of going through in the second quarter, I feel like they had to have scored pretty heavily.
Yeah.
Got a tough fixture as well, the Blues.
Well, that...
Who have they got next?
They have...
Oh, Jesus.
The Blues...
That Motlop shaving of the post was... I mean, they're probably still going to lose the game anyway, but...
It's a good point, though.
That was pretty massive.
Yeah.
The Blues have the Dogs next week and then Collingwood.
The Blues have the Dogs.
I think after that they have West Coast and North.
Well, they'll win those.
You'd expect.
That is true. Who can kick the footy?
They just play that territory game. Like they just kick the ball inside 50. They know they've got Mackay and Kerr now, so they're going to compete. They're either going to take a contested mark, but more often they're just going to be able to bring the ball to ground.
Yeah.
And then I suppose they want the smalls to engage at that point, but they don't really have clinical small forwards. So they're just another one of those teams that gets 60 inside 50s a game
Yeah.
and does nothing with it.
Is Jagger Smith like a really good kick of the footy?
No.
Really? What's
No.
what's his go? Just like really fit,
Just
accumulates the ball.
Accumulates the ball.
So did you?
His one wood is stoppage, like loose balls at stoppage.
So they've just drafted another
Another stoppage player. It's exactly
Walsh
what
sort of,
I
like,
said leading up to the draft. I'm like, there's no way Carlton will draft Jagger Smith. Like Jagger Smith, West Coast needed.
Should have they? I mean, obviously they didn't have the pick for it, but would have like a Finn O'Sullivan been ideal for them?
Yes,
Yeah, right.
that's who I said they should have drafted.
But he didn't slide to that pick, did he?
Yeah.
He actually didn't. Yeah, to be fair, North took him. I didn't think North were going to take Finn O'Sullivan. They did, which then I still would have thought that Carlton at that point. I mean, they were in a difficult situation. I guess that they got up. I say difficult situation. They got up to pick 3, so you've got to take. I reckon Draper would have been better, a more like meters gained heavy.
Yeah,
mid.
right.
But yeah, Finn O'Sullivan would have been absolutely perfect.
Yeah. Well, unlucky baggers.
What are we saying about Hawthorn then? Like, again, they just capitalise. They're so clinical, aren't
Yeah.
they? Like, when they get in front of goal, they do not fluff their lines.
It's not just the execution of shots at goal though, right? It's like it's even just handling moments
At the
when
moment,
when the opposition are coming onto you.
Making
like-
the right option every time.
Yep.
Like decision making's high. But it's almost like
Cleanliness of ball
repetition. It's like a team that's trained so many
Yeah.
times of that same situation that they're not even making decisions at that point. They
Yeah.
know where each other's going to
Yeah,
be.
it's second nature.
Yeah.
I was saying that before in those 2 goals they kicked from stoppage. I think it was in the second quarter. Like, it just looked like a set play almost.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that bit of footage they played on one of the Fox shows? It was from a set play kick in.
With the Jarman MP just run through.
Just
yeah.
wandering out into the
That's
flank.
pretty piss ball by Essendon.
Oh, shocking by Essendon, but
It was pretty cool that
clever that they can do that.
Yeah.
I mean, teams do fall asleep sometimes on those kick-ins. I think North conceded 3 goals from kick-ins
Yeah.
against the Dogs as well. Like, you shouldn't be conceding goals from kick-ins.
no. And like all the Essendon defenders were like so worried about their zone that they were like just all point. And then I
Yeah.
think it was, I can't remember what it was, someone just chased him through the whole way. And it's like, is anyone going to like do
Yeah.
anything?
That's proper coaching.
Yeah.
2 minutes 50
Brad Scott
remain.
not doing proper coaching. Just make sure you guard your patch of grass, guys.
Yeah.
Don't worry about Jarman Impey breaking out into a wing all by himself. Just guard your patch of grass and we will win footy.
You know that coaching discussion that we had before about like legacy coaches, Ross
Yeah.
Lyon, Alistair Clarkson. I mentioned Michael Voss in that as well. Like, would you put a Brad Scott in that? Like, just an old school.
Brad Scott's a shit house, I reckon.
Yeah. The thing that I reckon the worst thing for maybe Essendon fans in that conversation around Brad Scott is he doesn't like playing young players.
Yeah.
I mean, I think when it comes to like Kako and Caddy, they just like he's going to play them.
He likes his 10 best players and doesn't really like the rest of the club.
Yeah. Do you remember at North when he was in charge of us? Like he really, really liked like a Ben Jacobs.
Yeah. And now he's giving him a
No
job.
one remembers that except for North Melbourne supporters.
He's like an elitist. Like
Yeah.
the development for young guys, which was weird that he wanted to shuffle on our older guys that had done so much for him. And then,
Yeah, I know.
yeah, I reckon he's done pretty well to get as many, years as a head coach.
Yeah.
He's saved by his brother's brilliance, I reckon.
I reckon, yeah. It's like he's another Scott. Like he's a footy person.
Yeah, he's
He
not
also
the same
like he
dude.
plays that really old school style of like kind of keepings off.
Yeah.
Like Essendon have huge uncontested mark numbers. Not sure what they really get out
But
of
is that great for a team that doesn't have? I mean, they got probably, I nearly reckon, one of the best kicks in the comp in Merritt. But then the rest of their team,
Yeah.
oh geez, what is that, Samuel?
Yeah, the half-back struggle for Essendon. I think that's a problem for them.
Yeah,
They've tried to move Dylan Shield to half-back this season. Like,
I mean,
he looked
yeah.
shot the other night.
yeah. He doesn't even really look as fast as he used to look either. Like
Nah, like he's always had Day,
Oh, well.
Day,
holding the ball.
good tackle.
Give us your 3-2-1 tonight, boys. Brownlow votes because we're not umpires. We've watched the game.
Yeah, I reckon
We
I'll
have-
probably be way off. I don't know. It's hard. I haven't looked at the stats as well. So
Yeah,
Oh,
me-
you're an
me
umpire
too.
now.
wow.
I've got to give votes to Chol.
Yeah, I rate it. I respect it. I reckon Chol gets 1.
Does Cripper get one?
I reckon Cripps has been good tonight. I
Carlton
reckon
have
he gets.
overperformed.
No,
I
I'm not
think.
giving Cripps votes.
You know, Motlop. Motlop's from.
he gets one.
He's been good, but I still don't know if I'd give him a vote.
Nah, He could get one.
Does Jack Silvani get a vote?
Motlop's had a better game. I reckon it's tough.
Wow, yeah, I actually, don't know.
Do you know what? This is one of those classic things from like a local footy perspective. This is like where you put down team effort.
Yeah.
Hawthorn in a team effort.
Team effort.
Yeah.
The old
Morrison.
The old whole Atlanta starting five make the player of the week. Does anyone basketball? Anyone?
I've not seen that. No.
There was one year when Atlanta had like, don't even get me started. They had like Kyle Korver, Paul Millsap, Al Horford, Jeff Teague, and Damari Carroll, and they all got the player of the
week
month or whatever it was because they didn't lose a game, and it was just like a bunch of role players. I mean, Al Horford and Millsap. Anyway, sorry, back to footy. Hey, who got your votes,
Big
guys?
ups Al Horford, my centre.
I've got to probably give a vote to John Newcomb.
Yeah, he's leaded the disposals.
Yeah, he's probably the one sitting on my head. He's pretty good. Mass has had some ripping.
Is it
kicks,
actually?
but I don't
I'm
know how much of
actually
it he's
blind
had.
because I have not seen John Newcomb do much tonight.
Really?
He's had some moments for sure, but yeah, I do agree though. Like I still don't think that
That's the game.
that is the game. 20-point win to the Hawks. Like on some level, with everything that happened, like the build up to this game and then how well Carlton played, that feels like a bit of a letdown to me.
Yeah.
What, that result feels like a letdown for Carlton?
I don't know. I mean,
us
yeah,
as a
definitely
fan,
for
is that what you
Carlton.
mean?
Yeah, like I don't know. It was kind of. I remember at the start of the game, I was like, "This game's either going to go like Carlton. There's a small percentage chance that Carlton are going to win the game, or Hawthorn are going to smack them." And it's kind of fallen right in between that. Like Hawthorn have won by 20 points. Just
I think it's just showing the fitness levels of Hawthorn and Carlton. We was talking earlier loosely about how Carlton's program has been more strength and power. Didn't have the endurance today. They forgot about that.
no, they did. I mean, Hawthorn are still a very quick team, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I just think it's pretty cool that they just do what they need to do to beat. That's what the best teams in history do, I feel. Like, you beat what's out in front of you. Like, you don't,
Yeah.
I don't know, you don't go, we're going to smash these guys by 100 points. It's like, no, just play each ball on its merits. And
Yeah, they're a team so much at the peak of their powers.
Yeah.
They're just operating on different levels to a team like Carlton at this stage. I don't think, as much as Carlton really were putting in that effort in the middle quarters, in a way, it was like, you know when like two brothers have a fight and one brother, like the big brother's just
Sort
like,
of laughing
and they're just like
and- yeah.
swinging and they're just holding them there. It's kind of like that.
yeah.
Where to for Carlton though, from here?
Well, I think that's definitely an improvement from last week, effort-wise. But I don't know. They're just, I think I got it all wrong picking them at first. Like, they don't have, it doesn't seem like a team that has an identity. Like,
I think you made some good points though off the top when you talked about the emotional element
Yeah.
to the way that they play football, and I think that was, you could see that, right, Drew?
yeah.
Yep. I was just thinking about people that have like picked Carlton to win the flag this year and thinking how silly.
Yeah.
Mate,
you,
look, maybe
you
I'm wrong.
didn't pick them to win the flag, Cookson,
Nah,
but you did.
yeah.
No, but I know people
I did
that
pick him to finish first.
I know people
Go
that
out in
did.
straight sets, though.
Yeah, no, they.
I've also tipped against Hawthorn every single game this season. So what does that say?
Why have you done that then?
I don't know. I just feel like they're just going to lose. I don't know.
This is like you in round one. You were like, I knew Hawthorn were going to win that game, but you still tipped Sydney.
Yeah, I went a bit better with my tipping last week. I think I got 6.
I got 5. I'm a shit tipper.
I got 2 wrong. I got Freo wrong, and I got obviously Richmond.
You tipped Freo to beat Geelong.
wrong. Yes.
I think I tipped Freo and Port. Yeah,
I tipped North.
I tipped North as well.
I tipped
I didn't
Carlton.
tip North.
I tipped Carlton. You tipped
Oh
Richmond.
yeah, I tipped Carlton. I would have got
No,
5.
no.
Oh,
I got
okay.
Richmond wrong, and I got Freo wrong.
Right.
They were the 2.
What was mine? I tipped Sydney to beat Brisbane, which was nearly a good one.
No, I tipped Brisbane in that one. That was quite lucky in the end.
What else did I get?
But look,
I tipped Essendon to beat Hawthorn. That's terrible.
to round out what this means for Carlton and where to from here, at the end of the day, Hawthorn are the hottest team in football right now, and they've walked away 3 goals shy without Harry Mackay. I don't think it's too bad. I think they competed really well today. Obviously, there's a lot of holes in their games, but they went toe-to-toe with the Hawks, and I think you can leave this game as a Carlton fan, not with your head held high, but definitely not at your feet.
So tapping into what you said there about Hawthorn, the natural question I would ask then is, if we've been waxing lyrical about them all night, who can match it with them? Who are the
GWS.
teams?
Giants, I think, are there
Freo.
fitness-wise.
Freo.
I would say right now the best teams in the comp are the Giants, the Hawks, the Lions and the Cats. Those are the four.
I think
Yeah.
the Suns are a bit of a sleeping giant as well.
And
They
the
could
Crows.
be. They could be.
I know they only played. What'd you say?
And the Crows. Yeah.
Maybe, but I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like the Suns have. I mean, it could be wrong, and I know a lot of people have said that their talents are there, but semi-statement when flogging West Coast away from home. Like, I know it's only
Yeah.
West Coast, but it was away from home, and they struggled to beat anyone away from home last year.
They're obviously not going to get the credit for a win like that. Like Drewzy and I have been pretty strong on the Gold Coast Suns because of the club's lack of success, lack of history, lack of even like getting into a final series. It's really hard, even with the quality in that team. Does Charlie Ballard's injury put a massive
How long's he out for?
season? It's an ACL.
yeah, it's pretty big.
That happened against West Coast.
Yeah.
I missed that.
Well,
Yeah.
who's like next man up to? Because obviously
Collins is there. Obviously,
Collins is stud, they're
Is
number one.
Newland a key defender?
Yeah, but he's more
medium,
like mediums. But he
medium.
probably could nearly do a job on a bigger boy, depending. I mean, you wouldn't want him if Collins is taking like a Charlie Kerner. You wouldn't want him playing on Harry Mackay. That's
Yeah.
massive.
There's no doubt that's a huge out for them. And if they want to do anything meaningful, like they just need to, I don't know, like they need to, I guess, like change their identity, their relationship to winning, so that we can actually kind of trust in what they do as well.
Well, they
Yeah.
made, is it People's First or Fortress last year? They only lost
Yeah.
one game up there. So they're going to improve.
Do you think, like, again, I keep going on about this coaching conversation tonight, but is Damien Hardwick, do you think the football that he plays with them is still football that can compete with the best teams?
What,
Or do
like the high forward half turnover, just getting your small forwards attacking the shit out of the ball carrier at the back line? I think that if done right, I think that's like that could be like an ageless technique, I reckon,
yeah.
personally. But I don't know if they have the guys to do it really. Like, I don't know. I think that's as far as like Hardwick's legacy, and if he's like still one of the great coaches, I reckon it's a little bit yet to be seen, I think.
I think pound for pound, midfield wise, they are right up there.
Yeah,
Like the combination of Anderson, of Rao. After that, I guess you've got guys like Flanders, you've got Tuke Miller still in there who could
Bailey
come.
Humphrey, who if he can get to where he looks like he could, which he's sort of lagged a little bit, I think. But
I think that would be the ultimate. Like, and you've got Witts in there, who's a pretty good provider from the
Bailey
ruck.
Humphrey's kind of like he's like a baby Dusty, isn't he? Like,
He is a bit of a baby. He's a bit of a Sam Lawler,
he's a bit of a Sam Lawler.
might I say. Powerful midfielder. And like Noah Anderson's a guy that can get around the ground, get plenty of the footy,
And he kicks the ball well.
kicks the ball very aesthetically pleasingly.
The
Rallies his
Blues
bulldog.
are arm in arm here. You're speaking about emotive coaching. You can see that they're actually proud of their effort tonight, I reckon.
Yeah.
They're all getting around each other. It's a much better feel than last
Do
week.
you reckon? Oh, sorry.
No, you go.
I was just going to say, do you reckon Voss is proud of the fact that he used Cripps in the ruck again? And he's going to win another Brownlow?
I think Voss is proud of the fact that he competed with the Hawks when he's like, football, what's football? My boys tackle football.
So you reckon Suns, just to go back on that, could make top 4 this year?
Yeah, I mean, it sounds a bit outrageous because they haven't really, haven't even made finals. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, their list is just about as good as anyone. Talent for talent, is it?
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit young.
I actually agree with that.
Yeah.
I totally agree with that. Maybe, like we said, forward half of the ground. Is it too young?
Yeah.
The other one I want to talk about in that frame of being a team that missed finals last year that could bounce is the Crows.
Yeah, I like the Crows.
Has been a bit of noise about him, hasn't there?
Yeah. And I don't think it's just off the back of the Saints win. I think that
Before that was,
they're a really weird one for me as a person who does draft, because I feel like their drafting has been probably what you would consider to be poor, but their recruiting off other teams has been outstanding. Like Jordan Dawson, what they've done with him, when you're talking about players that have come into the club and improved, to go in and become this all-encompassing centre-bounce midfielder. They brought in James Peatling, Isaac Cumming. They just keep strengthening the side. There's a lot more. Ben Keys even back in the day, like a nothing pick from the Brisbane Lions. And I don't know, it just feels like every player they get like that turns into a bit of a superstar, at least in their position, not necessarily a global superstar in the game. I look at that forward line. Isaac Rankin, didn't mention him. Another player that came in.
Rankin, Neil Bullen, Cumming.
Neil Bullen's huge. Neil Bullen's huge.
He looks like the most impressive pickup that they got.
Yeah, he's like the ultimate glue guy. Like,
so good.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know. So like, I don't see a lot of weaknesses in that team, and I think people forget.
Back six is a bit thin.
I think
don't
Worrell
think it
and
is.
Michael Annie competitors and a half.
Yeah.
Who is rolling as like their second key back?
So this is the thing. So Nick Murray is better than people think one-on-one.
Okay,
He's
yeah.
their not as good, but he's their Wiedering, if you will. Like he's their
Yeah. Okay.
their chode.
And then what? Like is Keane as like a...
So this is the question I think for Adelaide, and definitely was the question for them in 2024. Who wins the ball back? Who's the shield? Because I think it can be Worrell, but he hasn't really put up numbers of the best.
I like Worrell.
I do as well. I think he can be that guy, and he can kick the football well as well, Worrell. So he can be your sort of interceptor, a bit of a distributor as well.
Michael Annie does a job as well down there.
Yeah, he's wicked as just like a small lockdown. He'll take those Toby Green types.
Yeah.
So I think that back six is better. I would say that if there's one position back there that they struggle in, a little bit on the same mould as Carlton that we talked about. Distributor,
That's
Wayne
where-
Miller. Does he
Wayne
stay
Miller,
fit?
exactly. If he stays fit, he can kick the ball really
But will
well.
he stay fit? That's the...
Yeah, I don't know. He didn't do much. He was one I put in my super coach. I got called out for it, and he didn't do a whole lot the other week, but
Yeah.
I like him.
I like him as well. He breaks lines. The one that I don't like back there, and I see him as this like old school halfback, is Rory Laird.
Yeah,
like it.
Andy Munro's in the chat and he just commented Laird is the distributor.
Yeah, but he sucks. He doesn't take off. He doesn't
call.
take off difficult kicks. He's just a ball retention guy. He just accumulates. I think he even lacks a little bit of physicality back there as well. I think his end to last season, 2024, was appalling. I think
Wow.
some of his efforts were really bad. And yeah, I just don't think he's got it.
So what's his spot in that Adelaide team? Or you don't think you
Sandford.
don't?
I'd play him in the Sandford.
Wow.
Yeah.
Andy Munro, please.
Yeah, I don't see a place for him. I think I'd be getting someone in the team like a Nankervis, who's not playing at the moment. I think he's really athletic, can also intercept the ball a little bit. He's got a little bit more height. You could bring someone like an Oscar Ryan, who's
not too familiar.
Taken in, I think he was taken in the 23 draft, maybe the 22 draft. But yeah,
Right.
running halfback. Try someone like that just to get games into some younger players and rejuvenate. I think.
Rory
You have
Laird.
schooled me on Adelaide defenders. Thank you.
I feel like they would love to have like a Tom Duday there still. Or
Oh, yeah.
Is Ball Ace still on the list? Like
Yeah.
he comes in and he's a big athletic body, but sometimes it just looks a little slow. But
I think the three, like the perfect three for them, is Murray, Worrell, Keane
Right.
as a three, and
Yeah.
then like Butts as the backup.
Did you hear David King
really,
talking?
I think Butts has a bit. I reckon he could be.
I'd have him as just the next one.
I don't know. Keane. Yeah, I don't know. He's been good, but
Keane's more versatile.
Yeah,
and
right.
I think
Okay.
when you look at opposition forward lines, the way they're evolving with like
Yep.
these smaller hybridy forwards,
Yep.
I think he's the one that can take those
yeah,
guys.
can do it.
Whereas like a
Right.
Butts or a Ball Ace, they're more your big dogs. So
Yeah.
if like it's matchup dependent, I think
Yeah.
in a way. Like if you were playing Carlton with a Mackay and a Kernow, you'd probably go with one of those
one of those
guys.
guys,
but
yeah.
Yeah.
I reckon for Adelaide, like the biggest thing is I feel like Jordan Dawson. He didn't have like a bad year last year, but it was a lot down compared to his year before.
For sure.
And I feel like if he's like rolling as good as he was the year before, it makes that the rest of that midfield work so much better. Like
For sure.
Like he
yeah.
had a pretty good game on the weekend. It just makes like Isaac Rankin's job a little bit easier to go in as like a
Yeah.
like a bit of pace, bit of class going forward. Like
I almost
Dawson
like-
taking those big marks, big tackles.
The thing with Dawson, I almost like him a little bit on the Hawthorn mould here, but being able to use him as this like utility, I think is actually better than saying like you're just a centre bounce midfielder.
Yeah.
Like try to get. You obviously have. I think Adelaide have a bit of a weird situation with their ruck, and this is kind of like goes into a bigger conversation about their midfield as well. But they've got Riley O'Brien, right? Riley O'Brien as a ruck, he doesn't really do anything other than win hit-outs. He's good at that though. And then I think he activates. This is why Adelaide or Matthew Nicks plays Matt Crouch, because Matt Crouch is just a stoppage mid, right? He's a good hit-2 player, gets his hands on the ball, facilitates, creates for other players by hand. He's like not a meters gain guy. Those two kind of work together. And until Adelaide draft or recruit a ruckman that has more like athleticism, someone like a, Jackson-esque or a Rowan Marshall or a TDK or someone like that can get the ball on the outside, I think they'll continue with those two. So I guess like a wider conversation there is like the other players. I think you can afford with like having Crouch in there. I think Saligo's gone to another level.
Yeah.
He looks explosive this year.
He was like the only midfielder going at any sort of rates last year.
And then you can play like your defensive mid, you can play someone like a Peatling. Then you can run a Rankin through there as well. And then it affords you to maybe go like Dawson only does like 50% CBAs. And the rest of the time,
Deep forward,
he's
Will Day vibe.
well, a bit, yeah. So like create a mismatch in the forward line. He's such a good overhead mark. And then even flip behind the ball.
Yeah.
Win some ball off the back half and set up if you need to. And like game specific, if you're up, maybe he just goes behind the ball and just chops out a little bit.
So is Taylor Walker getting a game in your best Adelaide team as well?
He's tricky. He's really tricky.
I was going to come in with that. David King said move Taylor Walker to halfback.
Oh, that's...
I don't think he has the mobility. I don't think he has the mobility.
Fogarty,
He can kick the ball really
if you're
well.
looking for a distributor,
Yeah, but
why not? Give it a crack.
I mean,
I want to see
that's
that.
just like the whole bailout half back role. Like, is he just going to absolutely do nothing when the ball's down there?
I don't know.
But when they've got the ball, yeah, he can kick it well for sure. But who is he going to run with? Like,
Yeah.
David King
I think
said
that's.
it.
I think
back
that's.
it.
Yeah, no, I hear what he's saying, but I just think that's like such a cop out to make it
King-
5 on 6.
Yeah.
Kingy does love to do chuck him in the back line. He did it. Who did he was massive on that with
Oh, there was someone big last year. Wasn't
Norton.
there?
He's always been on with
Yeah.
Aaron Norton.
Yeah, I could sort of see that though.
Yeah,
he played,
like
he
some
played
of-
his junior footy as like a key.
Yeah.
He got drafted
it's-
as a key defender.
They're not like the worst shouts. He just says it a lot.
Just loves the swing, loves
he
the
loves-
change.
Loves the
Kingy.
swing, man.
Andy Munro saying Tex won't defend anyone. There
That's
you
what
go.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, Andy.
Well,
I think he could cause Adelaide problems though when you play a Hawthorn who run the ball out of defence really fast. Like, is there enough pressure from Walker, Fogg,
yeah, in the forward line.
and
too.
Thilthorpe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So-
who are their smalls rolling around? Like Pedler?
Rochelle.
Is Pedler? Oh yeah, Rochelle. Really. What's
Pe-
Pedler? He's like that high half.
He's not in the team at the moment. So the Keys, Neil Bullen.
I like him, Pedler.
Rochelle is the deep, and then Rankin.
Neil Bullen, that's a good one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got the high half forwards. I think you could do, if you wanted a like for like, they're probably like next man up's probably Nick Murray's brother, Toby Murray. They recruited him in the mid-season last year.
Wow. Just a wealth of knowledge.
Yeah.
For some reason I know the Adelaide Crows well.
I'm smiling and nodding.
He'd be next man up. I reckon you could.
Dan Curtin plays for the Crows, and he's a great player that we haven't mentioned.
He could be.
He
He could be
struggled
the
last
player.
year.
He could be the player
Dan Curtin.
What, the halfback?
for Walker as a forward. Like you could go Fogarty, Thilthorpe, and Curtin. Curtin's 197 centimetres.
He can play anywhere, Curtin, I reckon.
Yeah, he could. And again, you can use that, like to use Hawthorn as the model again. He could be your Sicily,
Yeah.
you guy that you're just flinging around. You got Dawson. And then the opposition's got so many problems to think about.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if Curtin's a key position player.
No, but he's saying more like that third. I don't know
Yeah.
anything about Dan Curtin. I
He's just
don't
like
know
a
anything.
skillful, very athletic.
Do you need 3 key forwards? Like, I know it's most teams
I wouldn't
wanna
play
roll
Dan
with,
Curtin
like,
as a key forward.
I don't think you do need to answer
I
that
don't think
question.
you need
I
it.
don't think you need it.
No, I don't either.
I think teams are too confined by structure sometimes, or coaches are too confined. But they're like, okay, we have to have these 2 big pillars, otherwise we're going to get outmarked. But you can play around it, right?
Well, look,
Yeah.
Collingwood won a flag with Myercheck and Jamie Elliott as their key forwards.
They
Like,
just did it with Fritsch and
exactly. It's a,
Yeah.
I hate the copycat thing. It's like it works for one season.
yeah.
Like a fair, if you've got someone, I don't know, it's a bit different, but like with Hawthorn, like every team wants to do that, have the James Sicily flick either
swing,
end.
yeah.
Yeah, I've used that as an example for pretty much all of my
But-
examples now.
And like if it can work, it can work. But not every team has a James Sicily. Like he's
One of a
pretty
kind.
phenomenal. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I know.
Like obviously, it's like if you can do it, why not? But like just because some teams, like you don't have to manufacture a player to be able to do that role.
Yeah. Kind of. You're saying like you should rather
Play
than
to
try
your
to,
player's strengths
Yeah.
instead of just trying to make something out of a player
Yeah.
that doesn't do that just because another team plays really well.
100%. Like you don't need to replicate the
Yeah,
same player.
exactly.
Like, oh, we need that guy because
Yeah.
that team's got that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's a really good point. I think we've just quickly, like we could give Geelong a little bit of credit for what they did to the Dockers. We've kind of mostly talked about how bad the
Why do we have to bring this up? Why are we talking about that?
Just quickly.
I
Just
wanted to
quickly. Remember Geelong Pump Freo last week? We did a whole 10 minutes on it,
I reckon
Dylan.
you can't even get a read on what Freo are this year at all from that game. They just did not show up.
Yeah,
Geelong are
correct.
incredible though.
Yeah,
Oh,
100%.
yeah. But you can't even really fully get a read. I mean, other than we sort of know a lot of the time what you're going to get from Geelong, you can't 100% get a read on what they're going to do this year.
No.
They didn't. They weren't challenged.
All
Like,
I can say is I think they're going to be good.
Yeah,
Geelong-
I tend to agree with that.
Bailey Smith is exactly what they needed. Just back on that Crows chat, because we got Andy Munro in the chat, and he's
sorry,
such a
Andy.
good Crows
Sorry.
man. He
Just
said
such a good man, really.
he is one of the all-time greats. He said
is.
Dan Curtin is a young Jordan Dawson, and that's how I see him. He's a silky, big.
Oh, well, there you
left
go.
footer.
There you go. They can just wax on, wax off through the middle.
Yeah, well,
with
that's
a bit of third forward.
I think that's a long-term plan. All of Curtin's football that he's played at lower levels since he's been drafted by Adelaide has been in the midfield.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
they obviously see that as well. He's one of those players that, and you always have these players in draft years, you know that the biggest question mark in their career is going to be what is their preferred position. It's sort of that Luke Jackson. It's like we're drafting this incredible footballer, this incredible athlete, but they still always have question marks. I think Curtin will always have that a little bit.
But then again, like we were talking about, like not getting stuck by the mold of two bigs, whatever. Like what is Josh Weddle? Like, is he a midfielder? Is he an outside player? Is he
That's
a
why
defender?
Sam Mitchell's such a good coach, because he's made all of those questions. He's answered all of those questions.
Josh Weddle went deep forward a couple of times.
Well, that's what I was
and,
saying before. Like Weddle and Dan Curtin, like I just see them as like utilities.
Yeah,
Is that the right
I don't
word?
know anything about Dan Curtin, but Josh Weddle. I mean, I think you look at Josh Weddle as like a Nick Blakey. I think ideal world is that like the kind
Yeah,
of
yeah, it's a type of player for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, I've heard him even compared to like Cooter. Like he could be like go into the midfield and play like that.
I wouldn't have thought he was as smooth a mover as Cooter, but fair.
He
he's
moves pretty
No,
nicely.
he does.
Yeah.
Like obviously he's quick and he moves powerfully and stuff, but
I know what you mean.
Cooter
Though,
can
like the
Cooter
agility.
was pretty agile. You know,
Yeah,
the
he
agility,
was he was smooth. Yeah.
Not saying I just haven't seen that as
No,
much
I know
from
what you
Josh
mean, because
Weddle yet.
Blakey's a bit the same too. Where you're like, is he?
One pace,
If he
sort of.
actually, he's one way.
Yeah. Like whereas Cooter, you think of like weaving
He's
and
stepping
could
in and out
do,
of
yeah,
traffic.
like,
He's more Sheasel-esque
yeah,
in
and
that.
just
Yeah.
big sexy.
Yeah, he was so good, wasn't he?
Suvakuda. He was good, Cooter. Come on,
Yeah,
he made
before
footy.
my time.
He made footy look pretty.
Before my time.
But the Cats,
Cats are good.
Exceptional.
the Cats are good.
The Cats are good. Can
Yeah.
confirm.
Can-
First hand can confirm the Cats are good.
Tom
Yeah.
Hawkins retires.
Yep.
Shannon Neal.
Yeah, Shannon Neal's pretty handy, but it's more for me. It's more like your Ollie Henrys, your Dempseys. Like Stengel contributes. Like it's always been like Tom Hawkins, but like they've got so many more contributors around that now.
The way they persist and develop is just crazy.
Oh, that's what you guys mentioned there, like that when I said about there's those players that always have question marks over them in their career. If North Melbourne drafted Josh Weddle, we'd be having those conversations.
And we tie it back to North Melbourne again.
I can't.
What the conversations as if like
If Josh Weddle was at North Melbourne, everyone would be talking about him, how he, like, oh, what's his best position? Is he a key back? Like, we wouldn't be able to turn him into this,
Yeah,
is what
just
I'm
be
saying.
another-
if he was drafted
Will
to North
Phillips.
Melbourne, would he just be a taller Sean Atley with a mullet?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Sean Atley, there's a name. Yeah, so I was really impressed by the Cats. I think like the recruitment of Bailey Smith is massive, and I wanted to have a conversation about who the best recruit is going to be. Bit of prediction time.
Weird one because I think Bailey Smith's like obviously a good shout because of the game he had, and I mean I think
He's like, if you were doing votes, he's probably winning, right? But
yeah, but I also think purely for what a team showed and what they need, I think like Barras.
Yeah,
I think
he's
that's the
big.
best because of like purely just on paper. It's like that just perfectly works. They played so well and they add the thing they didn't have as one of the best in the comp. So yeah, that's what I would pick. But
What about the silkiest, hardest forward to tackle in the comp, All-Australian high half forward Shea Bolton? That's about to debut for the Dockers this weekend.
yeah, it could be massive.
absolutely.
pretty handy.
To be honest, if I'm talking, let's forget anyone's kicked the football this season, and you went, what team needs that player?
Shea Bolton.
Shea Bolton's
that's not
a
even
Freo.
like that. I come across with a lot of bias.
No.
But I think he is exactly what we needed. That damage in the forward half.
He is. And like, I guess we've had the conversation a lot tonight about game styles. Like Freo are a bit of one of those teams where like very stoppage heavy. They need a creative player.
Yeah.
Someone can operate in those tight spaces,
Yeah.
break the game open. Shea Bolton, he can come into your midfield too and not do a Nathan O'Driscoll and kick the ball on the outside of your foot like
Yeah.
that.
Raid Mazray, I never can say that name right, has said the best pickup is Alex Neil-Bullen for the Crows.
It's a really
It's
good
a great,
shout.
yeah, that's a great pickup. But yeah, I don't know. It could be.
Do you know
He's
one
a
thing I
super
didn't
player.
notice about Neil Bullen when he was at Melbourne, and I did notice since he's been at Adelaide, is his agility.
Yeah.
Like he can step in and out of traffic and like really open things up more than I thought he
Little
could.
Dylan Moore, Switkowski, Joe Barry type.
He doesn't do a whole lot wrong, Neil Bullen.
Yes.
Like he's a pretty, you know what you're going to get from
Very
him.
functional player.
Yeah, just hits the kicks he needs to hit.
Bro, look at
glue
that.
guy, massive glue guy.
Sorry, just to go off topic here. Carlton's last 11 matches, they have only beaten West Coast and North Melbourne. I need to
Wow.
take a photo of that.
That is actually horrendous.
Drewzy's super excited right
I have wank material later on.
now. What were you saying before?
And the stream is now demonetized.
Oh my
What were you
God.
saying before Neil Bullen? What were you?
Are you oh my goding the stat or the statement that I just said?
What was that?
You were just like, oh my God. I thought you were just
The
like,
stat.
oh, okay.
It's incredible. I didn't know it was like I knew that their last few performances had been really bad, and I mentioned the Brisbane one. I didn't know it was that.
Yeah,
That
wow,
long.
11. Jeez.
Yeah, I can't wait to rub that in the face of anyone that says Carlton's good.
Who was the other before Neil Bullen? Who was the recruit we were throwing around? Oh, Shea Bolton.
Shea Bolton.
What if you get?
It's like a glove.
He does. Ideal world. What if you get an uninterested, lazy Shea Bolton, which is what Richmond had
No
for
way.
most of last year?
Because I reckon he can downhill ski a little. Like, the game will come easier to him at Freo than it will Richmond. I
Yeah.
feel.
Ideal world, it's elite.
And if not, we'll just get Cozzy Pickett.
I said a few times, like when people were talking about Freo, I was like, I don't know if I trust Amiss and Tracy. And it has only been 1 week.
Yeah.
But we both were sitting there watching them at times right behind where they were. And they looked like two blokes that never played together.
Yeah.
Like, didn't even, like, hey, bro, oh, yeah, you play forward, I play forward. Like, that's the kind of vibe you got.
Yeah. No,
That's got to go
yeah.
back to Longmuir though, surely.
Yeah.
I feel like it's on them out there. Like, there's no way JL said just stand around all day and do fuck all.
It was like really like, I don't know if I haven't seen it on any like footy shows. Like, what was it? Close checking and all that stuff they were doing in footy classified. But at times it was like two dudes that like, am I going to go? You're going to go? Like it was
Yeah.
really awkward to watch. And then like Tracy just decided at the start of the third quarter he was just going to lead at everything. But-
Tracy's a
looked
better
alright.
player.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And he was taken with I reckon it was a rookie pick. Was it?
We
Or a
had this
late
chat.
pick?
Nobody asked that.
No, I'm just saying. Amos was pick 7, and like Josh Tracy was like, yeah.
Yeah, no, it's well done.
Me and Drewzy were saying, I did a little quiz thing. I was actually trying to film a YouTube video, but my computer glitched.
Pick 7
It
of
was
the
a new
rookie
one.
draft. I'll have you know.
And it had, I think it was the Raw or something, had Josh Tracy ranked as like the 25th best player in the AFL or something.
Last year he was unreal.
25th best player.
He was. Well, yeah, that's what I thought. And Nick Larkey wasn't in it, which I mean, going off last year, maybe Tracy had the like best
Yeah.
set shot.
Dylan
accuracy.
hates Nick Larkey.
I don't
What?
hate Nick Larkey. I don't hate Nick Larkey.
That's like one of my best mates. He hates Nick Larkey. Well, he loves Nick Larkey. He just doesn't think he's very good.
I don't think he's him.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't think he...
What key forwards are better than him?
Kernow?
Yeah.
I'll
give you one. Jezza Cameron.
Why can't... Oh, yeah, Jeremy Cameron. Way better. Hogan.
Yeah. I'll give that.
I'm going through the Coleman. Oscar Allen from West Coast is better.
That's a coin
Is he?
flip.
Is he?
I don't think Nick... The thing... okay,
Natural talent, yes.
How about I just explain
Is he a
it?
better footballer out on the field?
Nick Larkey, I reckon he's getting the absolute most out of himself as a talent. A little bit like Waterman, I would say, at West Coast. They're not they play the same, but they're both like milking everything out of themselves. I feel like Nick Larkey doesn't give us like the best outlet as a forward. Like as a deep forward, as a goal scorer, he's really good. And I think he plays really smartly. And you're pretty much guaranteed that he's going to kick, a couple of goals a game, 2 to 3 goals a game. But yeah, I just don't think a modern forward, I think like the most important thing is that they can compete in big contests, bring the ball to ground, bring the smalls into the game.
Yeah.
I don't think Nick Larkey's necessarily the best player at that. And that's kind of what I rank them on more than just pure goal output.
Is that sort of like Nick Larkey is, I could be wrong here, is Nick Larkey Jai Amiss's ceiling? Is that
That's an interesting question. I probably don't know.
I put Amos in the Gunston category.
Oh.
Oh, that's even worse then, isn't it?
Well,
So you don't
Not-
see him
not
as like
worse, that
you don't
sounds
see him as
bad.
like a key forward.
I don't think he's.
not hating on
I just
Gunston.
see him as like that, like second
That's like a
or
third.
third option, but like really solid.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
Gunston's
Gunston's
like one
a
of the best.
massive ceiling though.
He's like one of the best third forwards of all time. I just
Yeah.
meant like,
But that's what I
like
say
Not
is-
even the same like archetype. That's like
Yeah, well, that's how I see.
Because
Amos.
but Amiss is like more of like he's a bigger guy, right?
He's like 194.
Oh, is that all? I thought he
What
was-
about the body on him? Like he's
He's
bulking.
bulked up, but like, yeah, I see him more like I don't see him as like the aerial that Larky is. Like Larky's very good
Larky's
on
not
the
super aerial.
No, not as like the target, but I feel like Larky's very good on the I've like when the ball goes to ground level, like you guys speak more about Nick Larky's ground level ability, but I think Amos can do some damage there when he's on.
I think Larky's biggest attribute is how clinical he is.
Yes.
Like,
yeah, same.
yeah.
He just puts like if you
I think that's so valuable.
if you give him any space, he'll take it
and he'll kick the goal.
and he'll kick the goal.
Exactly.
He'll mark the ball, protect the space, all of those sorts of things. I just sometimes think that he doesn't do a lot else that brings other players into the ground, into the game.
True.
And he doesn't get. I wish he'd get up the ground a little bit more. I know that's not his role, so he's probably not even being asked.
And he
to do
can't
that.
kick the ball very far.
No.
So if you get him up on the
no.
wing, like, I mean, he moves pretty well and he's actually a lot taller than you think.
He's tall.
But because he doesn't jump a whole lot,
Yeah.
he doesn't seem as tall as he is. Like when him and Jack Darling were standing next to each other, I was like,
Yeah.
Larky's like a head taller than Jack
See,
Darling.
I've already witnessed those two playing, and I'm like, geez, like Jack Darling is like he gets to more contests. Like
Yeah.
that's
Competitor, yeah.
yeah, for sure. And I know that's a lot of that's role based as well. So like Nick Larky's not being asked to do that, so it's that's in the conversation. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't see him. I mean, the best forward for me, the best forward in the competition, and I think he's almost the best player in the game, is Jeremy Cameron.
Yeah.
Just the amount of things that he can do.
Like Jez sometimes look disinterested when, like, he didn't look like he really cared that Freo game.
He'd still kick like 3 or 4.
Yeah, like he's
That just shows how
he's
good he
just
is.
a joke, and like he'll get him. Like if he's not kicking goals, he'll just get involved. He'll get 20 disposals.
He's super, yeah.
Could probably play like
Could play
I
in
don't
the
know
middle,
if you just
play
yeah,
on the wing.
just
Probably play
anywhere.
halfback if you wanted to.
He could because he can kick the ball so well.
Yeah.
and he's clutch. Like
Yep.
what about that goal against Port in the qualifying final last year? The third versus second qualifying final.
At Adelaide.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
ridi-
From
that
the
was
pocket.
literally goal of the year. That was the best goal. of the
Yeah,
year.
like, that was just
He's pretty crook, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel like he sort of, for how good of, this might sound harsh, but for how good of a footballer he is, has he maximised his ability? I don't think he has enough Colemans. I don't think he has high enough in like Brownlow. I just think like, how many All-Australians does he have?
Has that been injury though?
Yeah, potentially.
Jez Cameron injury. I don't know. Like I feel like he's underrated. Like I genuinely when you talk about I suppose like Coleman's, that's
Yeah, I mean purely resume. Like not,
Okay.
I mean, any football fan that watches knows Jeremy Cameron's like a top 3 player in the comp. Top
Yeah.
5, definitely.
yeah. So like more like output.
Yeah, just like, I don't know, when you're looking at a resume at the end of his career, like I picked him for the Coleman this year purely because my thoughts was he needs, like for how good of a footballer he is,
Yeah.
there's got to be more things to fill up that resume.
More
Do you think-
accolades.
Do you think it hurts him playing for a team like Geelong where it's so much on team success and they'll like players there are so like they'll sacrifice their games essentially. Like,
Yeah.
he'll get up the ground and
Yeah.
the Smalls will get involved and Stengel will be their top goal scorer.
Yeah,
at
potentially,
times. And,
for sure.
And probably he's facilitated Hawkins being as like the deep forward,
Yeah.
closer to goal guy because of his like lack of mobility and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I feel like that's a tough one. I just
Oh,
think
it's very pedantic, but because he's
Yeah,
like, to
when-
me,
when
one of the
you're talking
all-time
about-
greats, I'm like, well, you need to get pedantic because what else, you know what I mean?
for sure.
Yeah.
Or when you break it down, like
Yeah.
like Michael Jordan's got 6 strings.
Well, exactly. It's sort of like that.
It
It's
comes
like,
into that wider conversation too that we have with Cripps, where it's like, yeah, Cripps has won 2 Brownlows, but what have Carlton done?
yep.
So like you compare Jeremy Cameron to like a Josh Bootsma because it's just aura, just like a
No.
bad comparison.
No, I just mean like it's obviously he's a superstar, but like it's like how many All Australians does he have? How many best and fairest does he have? Like real
up the
fucking
stats.
real
Quick.
stiff like in between the lines sort of stuff. But for someone who's
Yeah.
as good as he is, it's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it should be a bit bigger.
I consider Cameron like personally one of the best players of a generation.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But doesn't have the accolades to back it up. Who
That's-
would you compare that to?
In like
In
football,
any sport, really?
Mo Salah? No,
Yeah, maybe.
no, he's actually the opposite because he's more
There's
like
less individual accolades in. Oh, like I'm sure Mo Salah's made team of the years and stuff. but-
yeah, he has. I think he's had play.
footballers.
I feel like Salah always gets knocked down because like for like Ballon d'Ors and stuff. Like his numbers are just insane.
Yeah.
But you're kind of saying the numbers aren't as good as what.
As what they are. Like
yeah.
Like, yeah, Jeremy Cameron, I don't know, in 100 years, are people going to go, Jeremy Cameron's one of the great players because they're purely going, I mean, well, we'll have footage, I guess.
Yeah.
But Gary Rowan, you look at Gary Rowan's highlight reel and you're going to go, was he one of the best players?
True though. That's true. Yeah.
Cam Zurhaar has a pretty nice highlight package. Like,
Yeah. Gary
Ryan Nyhouse.
who?
Ryan Nyhouse.
On that
Who
note,
was that?
I reckon he kicked 4 on debut against North Melbourne
For who?
Freo.
Oh, I don't even know who that is.
on that note, should we wrap this up?
Yeah,
my
it's
bad.
probably Ryan
Sorry, guys.
Nyhouse is
Sorry, guys.
probably
Getting a little
the.
bit-
All right,
Amos
guys.
Frank, anybody?
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Footy from the Flat. Cooko, got to say a big thanks for
Mate,
coming on.
No,
First,
I've loved it.
you smashed it, mate, and good to have a fellow North fan so we can.
The North Nuffies.
Hells
yeah.
yeah.
It's a bit of a psychological stuff we can bring up. And
Yeah. We'll get there one day. We'll smile.
Drewzy,
Yep. Nah. Great time. Good game. Better company. I think you're made for this, Cooko. This is you put on a clinic tonight, and yeah, Dill absolutely smashed it.
thanks once again to producer Vic
Yeah, big ups,
with
producer
the,
Vic
with
up.
the cans,
Yes.
and thanks everyone for listening in. I wasn't in charge of the chat or anything, but seems like we had some people in the mix there. So yeah, all right, guys.
Is that right, Drews?
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that was-
good, Drews.
I was just looking at the chat as you said
Checking
that.
Insta feed, just-
No. Chat is up around 30 for the whole stream. So, yeah.
Awesome.
all right, beautiful.
Me
Let's
too,
wrap that up.
Sorry.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Good night.
Oh, that was fun.
Good night, America.
Chatting rubbish.